lighting up the dark, but there's nothing I can do. I can never get to you, so I'm looking for a miracle. Like it's somebody to be so beautiful, yeah. It's only a dream, it's how I feel, that you deserve better than me.
हेलो। अबे पागल है पे क्या? ये अपने आप चेंज होता है भाई। पागल है पे क्या भाई? म्यूट नहीं हूँ भाई, माइक ही चेंज हो गया अचानक से। है दलाल, जय दलाल, जय दलाल, जय दलाल। व्हाट इज अप दलाल? वेलकम टू अनदर लाइव स्ट्रीम। व्हाट इज अप, व्हाट इज अप? कैसे 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 गाइस? आज हम देखने वाले हैं द बेस्ट गेम ऑफ ऑल टाइम, PUBG PC, द बेस्ट गेम ऑफ ऑल टाइम। जिनको नहीं मालूम है, यप, PUBG देखने वाले हैं अपन। हाँ, वैलो क्या है भाई? सुना हुआ लग रहा है, सुना हुआ लग रहा है भाई। भाई अपना लोगो देख रहे हो? इनवाइटेड टीम्स घर जाएंगे। ये डायरेक्ट क्या है? 8 कप टीम्स है डायरेक्ट। कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्कर्स, हाइव, ये दो डायरेक्ट, एकदम डायरेक्ट आ गए। एकदम कैसे डायरेक्ट आ गए? सीधा आ गए। आईडी पास मिल गया लग रहा है मेरे हिसाब से। हाँ, साउंड नहीं है, मेरे को पता है।
Undisputed best teams in the world. So it's scary for some of our cup teams to go up against this squad.
PEC is their territory effectively here, and we'll see if anybody can
किसके बारे में बात हो
upset
रही है?
that balance. Of course, we have new organizations coming in as well. Avenger. We've got Soul from India who has picked up the XBBB team. I am super excited to have Soul on the board. We've got S8UL, of course.
अपन भी excitement में।
And we've got Vitality in as well. Team Nemesis is here, so there's so many new.
भाई ये नो स्लैक का जो डीपी है उसके हाथ में क्या है भाई?
As well with the new English lineup.
Excuse me?
Usually playing with their German lineup. We have our big boy Kira coming in from Team Denmark. Tune in.
भाई पूरे इसमें मेरे को Vitality पता है,
He is a great
Twisted
player,
Minds पता है, Navi पता है, VP पता है।
It's going to be difficult to come in again.
बाकी सब
it's a bit of a change of a pace.
पता करेंगे।
For the other teams that's coming in our right hand side, they have been through the cups. They've been grinding a lot, and they could be, warmed up quite a bit to this format that we're coming into. Obviously, 5 games
right,
today
please
here,
look into
starting
this
in
matter very, very serious. Excuse me.
It's going to be awesome games starting.
Erangel, Miramar, Tego कौन है बे?
Of course, 5 games today.
Rondo, Erangel.
Rotating on through
Tego नहीं मालूम।
Erangel as
Oh my God,
so
Tego
नहीं
नहीं।
going on for the whole day. But Blank, when it comes to
Tego
those
मालूम है
teams
क्या
from the
मेरे को?
cups, obviously
खेला है क्या
construction
मैं Tego?
workers is a big focus point for a lot of people. Of course, they don't have Gustav, which is a bit of a hit. We know kind of what's been going on there. And then at the same time, Hive, who has had great results in previous TPP tournaments.
सबसे एक सेकंड अगर मेरे को नहीं मालूम तो मैं तुम लोग को बता दूं। आई थिंक रोंडो सबसे छोटा मैप है, उसके बाद टेगो, मिरामार सबसे बड़ा। और मेरे को नहीं मालूम, मैं तो तुम लोग को बता दूं. Just saying. आज एजुकेशनल स्ट्रीम होने वाली है.
But they do have players jumping in with a direct invite after all. But it was mostly a case of getting towards that late game. Once they're on that late game, they were gods. They were absolute
भाई मेरे को
gods.
एक बात बताओ.
But the amount of times they're getting past early into mid,
दूसरे गेम वाले सैबोटाज कर रहे हैं क्या मेरे को?
I think that's going to be even harder today when you go up against some teams who are going to give you no quarter in that early game.
दूसरे गेम वाले मेरे को सैबोटाज कर रहे हैं क्या भाई?
Fantastic online warriors, especially even through 2025, Martin. We saw them
ये क्या सीन है?
you know, in the Masters. We saw them being able to take wins against some of the big
सुनो, मैं सैबोटाज होने से पहले मैं अगर मैं आज कुछ भी गलत बोला, सुमड़ी में सारे मिलके ना रॉकेट स्पैम कर दो, ये मत बोलना गलत है. क्योंकि क्या अभी अपन बाहर की लीग में, तो कोई बाहर वाला नया बंदा आके देखेगा, बोलेगा बहन चो क्या बोल रहे हो, उसको नहीं पता. समझ रहे हो? थोड़ा ऑरा माइनस हो सकता है. तो सुमड़ी में अपन रॉकेट स्पैम करेंगे. ठीक है. व्हाट्सएप व्हाट्सएप में मॉड्स बोल देना कि गलत बोल रहे करके.
Bigger pressure on them compared to some of the cups, some of the player cups we had last
भाई
year.
ये अनिमे फैन है क्या? ये जेंडर पीछे पूरा अनिमे का वो दिख रहा है, मांगा
बुक्स. All the other
बुक्स.
teams know that there's so much on the line. We're talking Esports World Cup. We're talking the next two
भाई सबका
interactions
सेटअप देखो
of
बे.
PGS. So this is the biggest qualification we've had effectively in
Heavy
EMEA
setup है.
PUBG history. So, and everyone knows this. We have teams that's obviously going there already. We have some teams that's directly invited because of their
अभी गलत नहीं बोल रहा हूँ मैं कुछ.
performance and performance last year and their status as a team. But yeah, this there's so much pressure on for the teams here and all the teams.
अबे आजकल YouTube का भी ये है ना, और ट्रांसलेट कर देता है.
Again, this setup, these 16 teams that are playing against each other like
सिड
this.
भाई को रिप्लाई क्या रिप्लाई देना भाई?
This much on the line for him.
Well, of course, before we actually do get all to the games here, we do have some of our players having joined us from the Cups, going to give us some tips and tricks. So we've got Habibi from Vis, as we check in with him before we get the games rolling.
Hello guys, it's Habibi from Team Vis here, and today I'm going to show you how to find yourself in
Habibi.
one of the best elevated spots that's in Miramar without using an emergency pickup. First, you need to start from in between these two mountains, then walk all the way up until this ledge, vault and jump, vault again, then you have to run all the way up until this corner. You have to jump and vault, and then all you have to do from here is to like walk and vault over these things.
Language chat.
And then boom, you find yourself at the top where you can see everything.
लेकिन जो ये 30 मिनट ट्रैकिंग का ऊपर लगेगा और नीचे वाले मारेंगे
There it
उसका.
is. You two could be like good old Batulans, the mountain goat himself, being able to climb on up, and Habibi's teaching you just how to do that. Although that being said, most of the time Batulans.
Habibi भाई एक डाउट है.
So you know, snakes.
Habibi भाई एक डाउट है. जब मैं ऐसा तक चढ़ूंगा.
Got a lot to talk about here in regards to all of these teams. You're having a good time.
गोलियां मार के कोई कच्चा फाड़ देगा उसका क्या?
Like transition to the friend slop era. We were back to playing PEC for a second there. It was quite good. You know, we'd get to the top of the mountain. Yeah, it always surprises me the graphics these pro players are on as well. Just absolute.
इसके तो इसके ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है.
It's true, and actually, I mean, after I saw them playing like that, the way that they used to, like, this is way back when I was like, oh god, do I really have to do that to be able to be competing? And I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it, but I'm not happy about it. I'm not, especially when I'm looking at my progressive skins. Especially the new Car 98. I like that. Have you got that yet, Martin?
No, I'm not gonna use
that. Yeah, analysis.
I have my unicorn.
I think analysis is
okay, and that's what I'm going for. I will say this now. I'm actually a Dragon of Enjoyer recently with the Ace, with the tilted grip. It's absolutely disgusting. It's a laser, so that's what I'm grinding at the moment. I'll say this as well too. Habibi's video is great. Obviously, all these pros are on the YouTube, but it's also the way you're going to language. This ledge here, there's no ledge. It's just the same thing. Just one rock. There's no change there. It's just like, oh, there's a ledge here.
Second map se
ledge there. I can tell.
I was going to say, there's a pixel line. I'm not sure that counts as a ledge, but yeah, whatever you're going to call it, man.
Mountain goat's got a mountain goat.
Visiting आज क्या होता है भाई visiting?
But anyway,
PUBG is
we
the
are
best
starting
game,
things
bhai.
on Erangel and Martin.
Hello.
Before we actually get there, I guess I want to get your thoughts more on about how all of these teams are situated. Obviously, there's so many familiar names from us from the cups that have been able to qualify.
भाई लेकिन तुम लोगों ने देखा एक दिन में खेला PUBG एक दिन.
So who are you kind of looking at? Who are you focusing on?
सीधा लाइनअप आ गया.
What do you think?
किसने देखा ये चीज?
Go in and say you have huge expectations to
किसने notice किया?
मेरा
gameplay देख के
obvious ones, but I say Soul and a Deuce's squad as a general here. I think there's going to be a huge honeymoon period with this. These guys are
रात को करेंगे ना वो वाला बेस्ट गेम में करके रात को करेंगे ना बाबा एनए के टाइम पे
last minute big tournaments, he always comes in, I wasn't at the first two PGSs, then they qualified to that. I wasn't at Esports World Cup, boom,
मैं अच्छा तो खेला, सबसे ज्यादा डैमेज मेरा था. यूवी को गाली दो, वो 0 पे था भाई.
Lucy's always going to qualify to those kind of tournaments, and I feel like they have a big mountain to climb, but that's
तेरा गेमप्ले देख के बोले इस गेमप्ले से बेटर लगा. Excuse me, मैं बहुत अच्छा खेला.
Because we haven't seen them compete for the last half year.
First time था after so many years.
But these guys have been grinding, like it's insane.
भाई लेकिन मजाक सेट कर मैंने ये गेम क्यों छोड़ा पता है? जब मैं पहला गेम खेला ना ये वाला, जब पहला गेम खेला, पहला गेम में मेरे को चिकन डिनर मिला था. मैं बोला इसी गेम है क्योंकि मेरे को बाद में पता चला कि नए इसमें बॉट्स वॉट्स आते करके वो बाद में मेरे को पता चला पीसी में.
Actually went down. We have to mention what went down over at Tempo Dip and how that was going. Of course, Blank was captaining it with Mark as well. This was possibly one of the most insane games I have ever witnessed.
Yeah, it was weird, right? We got to like Cup 4, and then I think everyone just sort of lost their minds at this point in time. Everyone had Panzerfaust's particular location. I think it initially started off because one team had brought 2 Panzers to the scenario, and then everyone wanted a piece of the pie because it felt like a good spot to play, I guess, at the time. I'm sure there was other places to play here, but it really went hell for leather on this one.
Have you ever seen this many teams crash this dip Avenger in professional play?
I've seen a lot, but this takes the medal for how many. Obviously, it was rough for Hive, but everything kind of went off with the amount of knocks that they had. But the amount of kills that they got and everything that they lined up, and then they managed to get this up, and then more Panzerfaust just going ham. It was insane to see. And also, like at this point, you just have unlimited utility. Like there's gonna be 30 smokes, 20 grenades, 10 stun grenades. Like there's just unlimited amount of stuff for this area, right? So you can just up everything. Yeah, but it was a fun game. I really enjoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, No Slack was able to do quite a bit in there, at least dislodging Hive. And actually, when I talk about No Slack, Blank, I was talking to you about it before we came in. We used to have such a lineage, such a heritage of Finnish players that kind of died off to a certain degree. Not literally, of course. But now we've got No Slack here, who's a full Finnish roster, back trying to challenge here.
Yeah, ना अभी No Slack ये अपने lobby में तो है.
How do you see them in the cups? Do you think they've got some
technically हम लोग उनके lobby में.
Yeah, I really do. I think No Slack.
But you get the point.
Probably when we talk about potential for growth, they fulfilled that potential, I would say. I think when you look back on week 1,
कौन सा ग्रुप है भाई? एक ही ग्रुप है, 5 गेम खेलेंगे, 5 गेम. अगर अपन टॉप 2 आए तो अपन EWC क्वालीफाई, वरना बाद में वापस एक और क्वालीफायर के लिए, एक और क्वालीफायर के लिए ऐसा है.
Cup 5, they were a really fearsome squad. Hello. But yeah, I mean, Kovalevi is a really, really fantastic player. Obviously, I think you guys were talking about earlier that
India ने अपना roster नहीं, लेकिन Indian लोग पैसा दे रहे हैं.
In the past, right?
तो tension नहीं है, तो support कर सकते हैं.
Now he's playing on side. He can like translate a lot of that knowledge into the
game. और वो लोग tournament जीतेंगे तो prize money से भी थोड़ा Indian लोगों को मिलेगा.
Definitely keep an eye out for is IXC.
Tension नहीं लेने का.
He's incredible. As a clutch player, you didn't see better than him really, unless you were looking at the team nemesises or you were looking at construction workers. Outside of that, I think IXC had some of the most amazing performance.
Excuse me, are you new here? Top 2 is tough? Huh? Jan, Feb, March, April. अभी मैच चालू है कि नहीं? जो भी चालू है. महीने कम में ट्रॉफी ज्यादा है लाला. टॉप 2 इज नॉट टफ. समझ उनके लिए टफ है, उनके लिए, क्योंकि अपन मैदान में उतर चुके हैं, समझ रहे हो? जिस गेम को अपन चू कर दिया ना, मतलब चू लिया ना ट्रॉफी. Just saying.
Face and this superstar fragger of PTC.
आज का टॉप 8 आना मिनिमम क्या है? मिनिमम क्या है?
That's
एग्जाम्स के टर्म्स में पूछता हूँ 35% क्या है?
He stepped back a little bit in terms of how much he's playing PUBG
Passing
and gone
marks.
even more to the gym. So now he's going to be competing in the World Championship
Top 8 है क्या?
of arm wrestling in 2028.
मिनिमम टॉप 8 आना, टॉप 8 आना, ठीक है.
I don't know if this is rumors. I've heard this.
टॉप 8 आना है
I've heard.
in 15 matches. ठीक है,
Something
ठीक है.
to look at. But he's a
लेकिन टॉप 2 आ गया तो मतलब
fantastic
टेंशन
player
खत्म.
and a huge guy in the gym. So that's something to be
ठीक है.
afraid of when you go up against
समझ
the
गया.
pros.
Big
He is
arms.
stacked.
He has like an extra large mouse. 'cause
थोड़ा
the
जल्दी go कर
smallest
दे,
can't
230 को
handle
कुछ
his
और है.
grip, you see.
Right.
I've heard that. That's just rumors. That is just rumors, though. Okay.
The rumors, right? Okay. And Pixel
33% होता है. क्या 2 मार्कर को 2% वो मिलता है क्या? हैंडराइटिंग का?
Construction worker. So there's definitely a lot of pedigree on that roster for sure. Beyond all of that, though, Nemesis is another team that we kind of have to talk about, really, Xander, to get things rolling, because obviously
Nemesis भी
this
पुराना
is a
नाम
new
है बे.
org to PUBG PC as a whole. But
नया
not
नाम
new
है बे.
names. We have seen all of these components going through
पुराना नाम है बे.
quite the journey through PUBG. Melman is an ex-world champion and
ये गेम में भी है
oftentimes
क्या वो
very
सीन?
underrated as a player compared to the other names that were on that roster. Like
Top 8 in 5 matches. मैं वही बोल रहा
What do you think
था.
for Nemesis here, Blank?
Incredible team. Really good team. It's
वही तो
kind
बोला
of,
था मैंने.
weird though to put a finger to the pulse on this squad because they were very, very strong. I mean, Diffex, as everyone mostly knows, is an incredible fragger on side.
Goodbye.
Sunset as well. They all played
अपने
very, very well.
players किस
but
country
they
से?
were one of the few
वो लोग
teams that
अपने
actually
country
opted
से
to
भाई,
play
ये क्या
more for an
question
edge
हुआ?
play style in the cups, and this is why I find it difficult
Mods,
to really
can you
know
take
how
care of
well
such
they're going
noob
to do
questions
here
on your
because
own, ताकि
they
मेरे
were
तक ना आए.
one of the few teams that
ये
actually
सब.
really went against the mold and did it really well. But what I will say is I think this team has a very good grasp of TPP. And how to play it in that late
Why
game
is it all in
from an
EMEA?
outside
We've been
position.
डाला अपन ने.
And it was skillful. That was the cool thing about it. It was very skillful. The way they went about it, the way they closed off angles, the way they swept teams in that late game. When if the circle ever went away from some cover, they were closing that game out. So I'm excited to see how Team Nemesis does here. But again, you have to remember that in the cups, it was super central focus. And so you had this small group of players. They were playing edge. So I'm very curious to see how they go up against some of these.
भाई सुनो, वो जो वॉच पार्टी कर रहा था मैं उधर बहुत सारा
I hope that this kind of
चीज
becomes
था.
their forever home.
Disrespect
eventually,
नहीं
because it
करने
does
का
feel
ये
like
नहीं.
all
इधर ऐसा
components
कुछ नहीं है.
apart from maybe Melman, who did
इधर
have a home and
एकदम
made the World
पेलमपाल.
Championship happen for that team. Up until
इधर ऐसा
after
कुछ नहीं है.
that, these four
No
are kind of
filter
scattered to the
hashtag.
wind and really couldn't find themselves a proper home. And that's actually what we said about Diffex when he was on EK, and then he came along and won actually one of these PECs. So, but that's how I see them. How do you see them?
I mean, I see them as if you were a fan of Navi from 2021 to
भाई
through
Navi भी हर
2025,
जगह है
you're
ना
definitely
बे.
going to be a fan of this team.
I think
because
CS में
it's
भी
all
है,
Fulham.
Dota में भी
And
है.
it's
Rilo में
all
भी है.
constructed in a way it's like, I'm
इधर भी है.
surprised this works out as well as it does. So let's see if it is these guys are too good for
सब
cups
जगह है बे.
or it just works
हम
out
लोग भी आ रहे
perfectly, right?
लेकिन.
Because State, obviously, Sosa, Diffex, these guys have been through where it's like
On the
there's
way.
a certain amount of roles and synergy that kind of needs to check out before you make a team.
फुट जीत
If
गया
all
फर्स्ट
these
मैच.
boxes
मैच
check,
कौन जीतेगा वो
this team
बताओ.
could be like another Geek, where it's like, okay, they
Liquid
all
or
of a sudden just
Fnatic?
win a PEC.
Yeah.
And Diffex is an insane player. Melman, obviously, with the experience,
फिर
and
इधर 1
everything
मिलियन
that
जल्दी होगा.
everything
Yay!
molds, I should say, here in this team. They are gonna win a PC.
Starting
they're easily
time-
in the top 8 today, by the way.
मेरे को एक बार देखने दो,
I don't
कोई
even talk
दूसरे
about
लिंक
it.
पे तो चालू नहीं हो गया है ना.
So I'm not even worried about that.
Let
the
me check.
big thing for me is, can they compete for an Esports World Cup and a PGS spot? Once we come to that, that's really want to see. And
हेलो
I mean,
सिड
there's
भाई.
maybe not. And also
दूसरे
depends on
इसमें
how
मैच
many
चालू
spots
हुआ
the
क्या?
race are gonna get through
नोटिफिकेशन आया क्या मोना लिंक मुझे
PGS,
ऐसा
the next
मतलब आपका
kind of
क्या
iteration piece. How many spots are we
मालूम है
gonna
ना मैं थोड़ा सा
get through the
चुप
direct invites to Esports World
That's
Cup?
a good
Because
answer.
We might have a case where it's
बेसिकली तुम लोग ने खुद सुना है. देखो बंदा चूतिया है, उसको खुद नहीं मालूम. देख मैंने नहीं बोला, उसने बोला, मैंने नहीं बोला.
like, okay, if you get top 4, top 5 here in PC, that might be enough, right? So that's one thing that's cool. That's what we're looking at. Top 5, I could see team Nemesis.
जल्दी मैच चालू के लिए 3x कर दिया, टेंशन ना लो.
But the problem for some of these teams is now like that you just only have this lobby where you only have 10 world class teams. If you actually really want to make them stretch, as well as teams that are able to win on those world class stages as well. So the lobby, as much as it's great, this is
Worst timing.
another kettle of fish, I think.
Yeah, I think that is always the struggle as well. But they've already been through the ringer in the sense that every single cup that you play, it is such a sprint to
Arangal में raise है क्या best language?
do as well as you possibly can.
Breaks क्या करते हैं, loading हो गया
these teams coming through from the cup, they understand that today they have to give as much energy, as much vigor as they did during the cups to make it through. But you're right though, for Team Nemesis, it is weird. Same for construction workers.
Bhaga chat में
where
excuse me
you've
किधर है Bhaga जी?
essentially just been blasting the lobby, right? You have just been hitting them hard and fast, and there's not really much anyone could do about it. Now you move into here, it's going to be a very different beast, so you wonder whether construction workers
इसमें brimstone है, alt मारता red zone आ जाता सीधा.
For construction workers, I think it weighs a little bit more heavily on them because they're used to taking really priority positions on the map very early on. Team Nemesis don't really do that as much, so they might not feel this as hard as construction workers. But I think if construction workers want to do well today, they're going to have to fight some very difficult fights.
मैंने आपको 3x किया, 6x पे चल रहा हूं मैं.
I'm also not sure as to how exactly the drops are going to
Oh
work out
my
across a lot of
God,
these
the maths are
backgrounds,
not
because
matching.
normally, and I think it's probably been sorted out from be it scrims or kind of drop maps for some of the guys in Discord and things like that, but there could still be some overlaps. There could still be some inaccuracies about how those
लड़का जो chat में पड़ेगा language.
Yeah, I mean, obviously 5 games to go here, so you gotta come in swinging here. You can't have these bad games. You can't have your 1 or 2 point game. You gotta make sure you
Let's go,
every
boys!
single point here. Top 8, and you're straight to the finals.
All right, well, thank you very much, Martin. It will be me and Blank bringing you the first game of PEC 2026 to figure out who is going to be moving directly into that final. And we have a decent playing path here for all of the teams on Erangel. Maybe a little bit of a stretch for people going northwest. But aside from that, all good and dandy to start things, Blank.
अपन किधर है?
Wonky one to start.
भाई स्लिक को तो पूरा military base क्या पूरा वही मिल गया, island मिल गया बे.
It is the afternoon. But we've all had
those days.
Okay, so it's time to drink this. I'm not sure everyone's had those kind of days, but it's time to drink your coffee.
It's every day for me.
What, waking up at 5 p.m.?
No, absolutely not. I'm a morning boy.
I think you're mistaking 5 a.m. actually.
Middle of the screen, ऐसे?
But yeah, we're going straight into this one. Like you say, it's a little bit wonky. Getting over towards that northwest side, slightly more difficult, especially North George. Potentially over towards Severny, which I imagine Team Nemesis is making a quick shoot over towards. And I think that's something I definitely noticed from the top teams over on the cups, is that they weren't taking super aggro positions on the map. Jogo Benito, on the other hand, loved to go for those aggressive positions, and that's where they might struggle slightly.
Oh my
God. We get the circle, it's hard down towards the southwest side, which means the Sand's going to really benefit from this. They get started very early into the game towards Primos. Got a lot of looting time, a lot of decision time as well, which is great to see. Jogo Benito, though, Calaris, extremely aggressive team.
Oh, yes. Yes, they are. I've seen them be aggressive throughout a lot of the cups. They were basically ram-raiding some of the teams that they do go against them. And currently, the Mythar is dropping next to the Minyaz Naya. So there is potential where we do see this almost hot drop become aggressive. Now, the one thing that does exist, though, in some of these top scenarios, is that sometimes a location like Yasnaya, it's so big that they can stalemate out, and you don't actually take the fight at all, and then you eventually just rotate completely unscathed. This thing is, though, if that still will slow down your rotation to a faraway circle like this, so either you get aggressive, clean it up, and then be able to rotate quicker, or you're kind of biding your time and wasting some time in some of these kind of situations.
I think the onus right now is on the Mythov, right? Because the easiest would be West Yaz Bridge, right? And you're sweeping over the top of Georgia Paul, Everest, and you're trying to get him through there. If they want to go through past Potato Hill, Rosok, there's a lot of teams they could run into, even over towards Pachinki of X-Howl. But luckily for them, Jogo Benito's going to make an early exit. They had these moments over in the cups where they were overly aggressive. It took too many fights, and I think they were sort of memed on for this as well. But I'm glad to see that they're taking this very seriously. They're not going for funny business here. Which opens things up here for TMO.
Well, they had their ups and downs.
ये लोग strong रहेंगे ना, ये लोग strong रहेंगे ना.
Playing too much.
Very high ups.
And then
Oh, ये वो है.
they'd had their first
खुद का plane बुला के जाने का.
Like, oh, okay, they're kind of cool. It's fine. So I won't extrapolate any further on that.
लेकिन problem ये है कि अंदर जाके वहाँ पे गाड़ी ढूंढना मुश्किल है.
As Martin
that is the only
in
problem.
the pre-show, is a new Ascend, and actually they might already be running into Versus Pro here. They've got to be very careful. But T-Bone being on board, Keta being on board, they have for years been a German-speaking only team, and now they've flexed out to internationals, which I think
I would like to say
have an exciting circle to start.
Ace last आने वाला है.
Yeah, for them it's very, very good. And I think that Virtus Pro
Nothing
takes
personal.
a really cool approach to this one, immediately trying to cut off the approach
Just
from Primos
asking,
towards
इसमें
a more
recoil होता है
centralized
क्या?
position with a bit more prio on the map.
Dear mode देखो मैं तेरे को गाली दूंगा ना अच्छा नहीं लगेगा. Recall, अरे God.
Insane, but finding T-Bone on the cross is disastrous work. So Nixie already finding that one for Virtus Pro is a really big deal, and Virtus Pro will take the first kill of the tournament here in PEC.
I'm getting flashbacks. 2 days ago in scrims, Virtus Pro was the first team that Ascend ran into. And now we're back again. Of all teams you don't want to be running into, yeah, the PGS3 champions, yeah, they're pretty good at the video game, maybe not the best.
अभी उसको
so
कौन समझाए
कि
गलती उसकी नहीं है, नाम की है.
I'm wondering if they want to try and
कौन समझाए उसको
back and see if they can get them back on board. They've got time. That's the thing.
हाँ तो mod में बोला था recoil और recall दोनों अलग चीज है. Just saying
there might be a world where they get T-Bone back on board. But we'll see.
जो तू बोल रहा है वो सिस्टम है कि नहीं पता नहीं. शायद से रोंडो विंडो में रहेगा. Recoil system. Recoil तो normal रहेगा ही रहेगा. मतलब वो सिस्टम एकदम अंदर है.
See if they can find a place to play. But yeah, for Ascend, I think it's just the speed
भाई
of
लेकिन
which
उसने
this
कुछ
game
crispy
takes
नहीं
place,
गिराया
right?
उसको.
Once you start to get these bigger teams involved, I think Virtus Pro was always going to try for something like that, get ahead of the pack there. I think for Ascend, maybe they had to cut looting time short a little bit. But they'll know that in future if they ever get this circle again. But that's the difficulty, right? With only 5 games a day, and it's short and sweet. These 3 days, are you going to see another circle like this, or have you just lost that home advantage due to being a tiny bit slow? And it's not even that slow at all, to be honest with you.
ए भाई ये चाहिए, ये चाहिए.
Even oftentimes the Primos team wants to be out of Primos because of the way circles work.
ये जो लिया जीता, simple है.
Circle advantage, it's not
सारा level 3 और AWM.
Okay, we could just stick around a Primos and hope for the
best. Best like the AWM.
They did move pretty early.
They did, right?
A little bit, yeah, a bit more of a northern position. That
said,
though, it's getting very congested on that west side now.
Team
and
zone
that might not bode well for Nemesis, who's coming in much later than other teams from that north side.
Hello, my bad.
Play edge play, but you were saying in the pre-show that they were okay with the edge play.
They loved it. Yeah, this is the thing. For Team Nemesis, I don't think they minded too much. And most of the time, when they weren't getting the big wins, they were still getting quite a few points.
अपन direct final zone में entry मारेंगे. Hero
getting a 4th or a 5th
place. Hero की entry last में आती है.
And they beat out the competition by consistency. And I think that's what Team Nemesis is very good at. Which is why I like
सब लोग ने अपना private jet मंगाया है बे zone में जाने के लिए.
Every single angle we get now, you're likely going to see Team Nemesis coming in a little bit later. The difficulty with this type of play style is it doesn't
basically इतना easy नहीं है दूर मारने का. इतना याद रखना.
It's more going to be a case that they
मेरे को नहीं लगता कैमरा इधर होना चाहिए कि सबका नाम और kills इधर है.
All that really matters is
उधर नहीं होना चाहिए क्योंकि उधर वो है. तो मेरे हिसाब से अपन इधर रख सकते हैं.
We were just on board previously with another regional
This is the best spot.
that we haven't been able to see play
समझ रहे
in the start of 2026.
नीचे वो लोग का नाम हम आ रहा है इधर. नहीं sorry इधर मैप है इधर. और उधर नाम वहाँ आ रहा है. ये बेस्ट है, ये बेस्ट है, ये बेस्ट.
I think it's a good squad. We haven't been able to see too much of them at the beginning of this year. Mostly like when we think about Turkey, we think about S2G, who had their foray into PGS.
Cockroach को towing कर रहा है वो पीछे से.
They did alright in PGS1, but PGS1, 2 and 3 were a bit of a disaster. So Turkey's traditionally, Blanca, a very strong region in terms of their individual skill, but they've not been able to mesh in the past couple of years.
अपन निकले boys.
Maybe kind of that writes itself a little bit.
अभी तो हम लोग को आराम से zone मिलेगा. Main problem है कि next zone ना.
Yeah, XHAL, you're totally right. In terms of Turkish teams, like they have a lot of skill on board, but they do press the panic button quite a lot. Where it's the full send moment. It's either we wipe the enemy squad or we die trying.
Yeah, अपने पास गाड़ी का skin नहीं है.
Went down for XHAL, and I think that's fairly true for a lot of Turkish teams. But again, I think TPP does require you to have a little bit more patience.
Quality बढ़ाओ.
Full sets.
यहाँ पे दिख रहा है ऐसा HD लिखा हुआ है HD.
Can really spot you out coming from very far away and take those engagements a little bit more safely.
इससे ज़्यादा quality बढ़ाने के आदि को लेके जाना पड़ेगा वहाँ पे कैमरा के साथ. और फिर उसका live stream. ये weekend zone ये हो या PUBG कभी साथ ले देता जेरी zone का साथ नहीं चाहिए हमको.
Those full sends don't work
सिर्फ
quite as
तुम्हारा
well. They're
साथ
not
चाहिए.
backed up
सिर्फ
with good
तुम्हारा.
utility as well.
ऐसे सुपरसेट करते रहे जोन में चले जाएंगे टेंशन ना ले.
Bonita, 2-2s for S2G. The Mythov got down all 4 alive onto the edge of where we're seeing the quarry as well. As Virtus Pros just
एक क्वेश्चन है
more of the position on the east
क्या अपन
side
नेड
there,
मार
with
के
Virtus a
गड्ढा
little
कर
bit flexed
सकते हैं
over
इसमें.
on that left of quarry, so they were definitely entering treacherous territory with the Mythov.
कवर बनाने के लिए नेड मार के
negated a little bit of the
या वो जो बंदूक उसने पैंजर लिया था. अगर ऐसा क्वेश्चन तुम्हारे दिमाग में आया तो let me tell you,
they should have heard maybe the vehicle, so but it was only one vehicle, so I'm not quite sure on the proximity of that, but yeah, they're in. They just don't have vehicles, and that's a bit of a problem later.
Yes, बना सकते हैं.
Yeah, you are sort of banking on the quarry finish at this point in time.
Kinda, yeah.
Around this area, at least. I mean, you could hike over towards the eastern side, pick up some of the buildings there. But I don't mind the play too much going for the emergency pickup. If they found it early enough on that side, and you just think
you never played PUBG, bro. I have played PUBG.
Like this,
but देख रहा हूँ मैं first time ना. तो मैं देखने में ज़्यादा मानता हूँ. समझ रहे हो?
You could essentially nestle yourself in between a lot of these squads, which is really, really nice to see.
ये मेरे ज़माने में नहीं था.
It's the DBS. Mark says I bring the DBSs to the loot boxes. I am so sorry, guys. We've got one again.
Yeah, they're almost never successful. Jeez, hardship. No. They're almost never successful. Apart from like one time in a BGS, like which just happened. Like actually, a DBS in late game crate did make something happen. I couldn't believe my eyes, but it did work.
दो बंदे सामने.
Let's talk about this shift, of course. Twisted Mind, surprise, surprise, finds themselves straight on in the middle of this one, and actually they're taking an extreme 2-2 split here. I guess gambling on the compound south of Chopsticks, but still holding on to the position directly in the middle. I wonder if they get together. I feel like this is quite ambitious if someone starts crashing on them. We'll see, we'll see.
अपन सबके
It is
बीच में से
very
जा रहे हैं
ambitious,
क्या?
right? I mean, it's such a hard shift over towards that north side as well. Is that at least the guys over towards the east,
अपन mountain में. तुम लोग अगर नहीं मालूम रिच के बारे में
they
मेरे
have
को
a
पूछो.
lot of time to spot players and teams
RCM
coming their way.
क्या
But
बोला?
they also know a huge amount of teams from the
मैं देखो तो
Southampton
membership.
right now.
जब
A lot of
खेलते हो
players
तब आधा
want
टाइम
to
देखती हो.
be around quarry area, so there's going to be a lot
Goal
of
भी कौन
damage.
रहा
They
है?
might be able to get some little pot shots in
जो पूरा
between.
split one देखा
For
है.
the time being, it is S8UL coming up against a squad right in front of them in Seoul. We're taking heavy damage here, unfortunately. Flores does have to back off. 8 HP, Kalaris.
No. Don't want to see this go down for Seoul just yet. These boys are fearsome. BGS champions, fantastic pedigree amongst them as well. But they're gone already. No, in 16th. What a disaster for Seoul on these rotates. It's always difficult to make this work. There's so many players alive. Or once you get these big hard shifts go down, barrier teams abound, and they fall.
I mean, it's unfortunate, right? They did try to
मेरी गलती नहीं है अभी बोल रहा
try and rotate through the tree line, get a little bit cover for yourself. But there's so many teams coming up this way, and it is
उनको ignore मारा था, वो लोग ने मारा.
which heavily heads over towards that northern side. This is always going to create problems. Obviously, we knew it was going to move away from the water. We just didn't know how viciously it was going to do that. So Seoul does get caught on that rotate, in which case a lot of teams were going through that fielded area in the first place.
अपना zone नहीं था,
Twisted
अपना zone
Minds
नहीं
are
था.
going to hold this split. And again, it does seem
अपना
to be
zone
just
नहीं
fine
था.
right now with the way that teams have sort of melded each other in place. Which is hard. This is hard, but it's great for Twisted Minds. Gives them fantastic options going into the next phase as long as they can hold on to it. And I think for most teams, they're sitting pretty for now.
Yeah.
एक क्वेश्चन है चैट एक क्वेश्चन है.
I was talking about before. They were just
एक क्वेश्चन है अभी जैसे कि तुम लोग को देख के मालूम पड़ रहा रहेगा कि ये गेम थोड़ा स्लो है. ठीक है एकदम. अगर मैं गाड़ी पे नेड मारूं, मैं गाड़ी के पीछे कवर में हूं, मैं गाड़ी पे अगर नेड मारूं तो पहला क्या फटेगा? नेड फटेगा, गांड फटेगी या गाड़ी फटेगा?
Quarry, if like Virtus Pro's overlooking you,
सोचने वाली बात है.
I'm not jealous of Justice right now down there. I'd much rather be elsewhere. Just saying.
Yeah, I think that for
Gaff, पहले
A
Gaff.
lot of the squads. Oh,
Hey, cash on delivery.
S8UL trying to go up the stairs.
अरे बाप रे, hello.
Nasty word from Mogo.
अबे ये क्या
I think
spray
Mogo was a
है?
great pickup for Hive. Obviously, this came in a little bit later, and we've seen him previously, even on international now. So definitely a great pickup for them. Very skilled indeed. He did, of course, try out actually with James' squad, and he's completely actually destroyed Howl on this push on through. Brilliant stuff by him. Very skilled indeed. It felt like though, and I was kind of hearing out how those shifts were going from team to team, that things just weren't working out elsewhere. So finding a home on Hive, hopefully this does work out.
Yeah, I think for Hive overall, they're very good when they get into a compound like this. Obviously, moving away from here eventually is going to be a little bit difficult, but you have the heals at least on this western side. So nice and cut off from a lot of the action there. Eventually, he finds it. With the help of his teammate Celtic, as Slaven does go down there. No Slack trying to get away as well as Scav takes some shots from Baron here on S2G. It's starting to pop off a lot. Again, this is a horrible area of the map to be working around.
Yeah, especially with
Haters, हम लोग को 5 में से एक अच्छा गेम चाहिए टॉप 8 में आने का है.
Exact middle of this. The whole team can do the whole one in the middle in a lobby like this. It's definitely going to be Twisted Mind. Code Marker will take a few shots over towards the observatory position. Trying to move in on the northwest side of their position at the moment across the swamp area. Kovalev goes down to Schiller. So unfortunately, he'll have to be.
ये लोग का लेकिन एम नहीं हिल रहा है ना बे, क्या सेटिंग है ऐसा?
From the heavens.
ये लोग जो स्प्रे मार रहे हैं.
Needs to be done as well. I'm trying to figure out this one. It's always a little bit more difficult. I mean, Twisted Minds, they've regrouped now. They allowed Viz in, which is fair enough.
Bro, Nemesis
you make some space, and with this circle, I mean, this is a great place to be playing for them.
Nemesis
PP over towards their western side. Good position on 2. Really, a lot of the action is going to be happening down towards the south side now, Kalaris, with TMO, Navi.
Tigon मरने के बाद थोड़ा वो क्या लग रहा
है? Trying to find some spots to get in.
We're not even on the patch with the tilted grip and the Dragonov kind of little tweaks and changes here and there, but people still hitting some big old shots in Levante. He's gone though to no slack, as mortars will rain down on what is a very common location for people to try and rock up on this dip. But as you can see, Bushido has been able to spread themselves out quite extensively here to make sure that they can negate some of that damage coming in. One thing's for sure though, with Yoga Benito trying to make things happen from the distance, it's not quite going down just yet. And they're also bottled up in observatory here that, wow, okay, they were carrying a lot of weight in emergency pickups, which aren't going to be becoming useful. So that's actually going to have cost them some util, some ammo down the line.
drop हो रहे बे.
Yeah, it's
मेरा गेम अपडेटेड नहीं था क्या जब मैं खेल रहा था?
It gives you some options, I suppose, but yeah, not having the utility, not having the ammo, it's very, very rough here. TMO though, Justice will find Navi. Speedroad does go down. Gidrox also taking shots from no slack there. TMO, this is a tough push for them, but just open a slight gateway, but it's now time for Navi to really hit some heavy shots back towards them. The blue is not ticking too hard just yet, but it will do now, in which case TMO needs to get a move on. So either they move north over towards Ascend, or they try and dismount.
If anybody's looking to hire
rough circle to be working with.
Zone
But
Predator,
Nemesis, I love this spot for them.
Yeah, we see sometimes, quite often in fact, where the Mailman compound currently is one of the very high winning spots, if not like top 3 in a lot of these games. And also what becomes very much a focal point as well, as Twisted Minds is actually dismantling the Mythos, moving in underneath this. Bear in mind, Twisted Minds was still in kind of that 1-3 split, leaving Batulians up in that tower, and they were holding down this roadside gap. But the thing is that eventually, a team might try and move in underneath Batulians' tower, up alongside that hills, but you got to have negated some of the lines of sight from the east, for example, from the north as well as the south, if you want to make that happen. And it could yield the top 4 for a team down the line.
Akatori looking down towards Ares right now.
अब थोड़ा अच्छा लग रहा है क्या वो भी बहुत पुरानी है एकदम.
Right, and especially with that play path we had at the start here.
नावी आ जाए बस अभी. फिर एकदम प्रॉपर जो भी टीम को मैं जानता हूँ ना सारे एक साथ.
Most teams are on the south side of the map when they're wrapping up here, and this is a very big focal point for them. Like you say, realistically, the only place
mostly some DMR चला था ना, mostly
a lot of damage is on the south side, and they set themselves up perfectly. Now they even expand out a little bit further, looking over towards the hillsides. They probably know teams are going to be coming out of. Also having a look over towards the high compound.
आजा
The shots have just been so disgusting today. It's nice to see.
It's Chris with the big gun, with the M249. Good stuff from him. Maybe they can't get Keda up, unfortunately, so Boostic will be able to take that scalp. It will just be the two German boys here from Ascend. They go back to their roots to try and keep Ascend going. With just one kill on the board at the moment.
अब मेरे को कौन है लॉबी में मेरे को कोई नहीं मालूम VP पता है बस
make a meal out of this game because coming in from this south
मेरे को
side
अभी VP
where
पता है
Hive has
बस
that compound, where Twisted Minds has that spread, where VP has got compound and being able to try and work on through, I don't know. They're
VP
going to go
बच्चा
for a
मेरा
mad dash here
पहचान
on
का
the
मेरा
south.
वीडियो
And they have to go for something. And this is kind of a not terrible timing with Twisted Minds actually in pursuit over towards that top side. But yeah, going underneath the hill is not a bad idea. You drop the smoke.
SN
Vehicle's
वाला
likely going to get exploded
को
at
पता
some
है
point, but at least you have some cover to work around with here. And with how nightmarish this zone does get if we head over towards the eastern side, it's not a terrible spot to play, Ko.
Yeah, not too bad at all. I did see, I think it was Nemesis actually charging up a mortar to try and shoot a S2G.
वो जान उसका टायर तोड़ रहा है बंदे की जगह पे
going on, understanding some of those dips in the hill on the field that is a bit north. But anyway, Perfectix is going to peek on over against that position, knowing that that is pretty annoying, and you can actually dislodge people quite easily. This is making a big move as well on the other side. That's an amazing play from Perfectix. He's back on Twisted Minds. Yes, it's so good to have Perfectix here on the squad.
मस्त लगता है देखने को
Oh, goodness me.
That's awful.
Yeah, I mean, Team Nemesis, that's a nice win. That's a
clean nade bay.
Rashida Wildcat, Celtic over towards Pains from Viz. Good shots, double back quickly again. Batulins will find Lucarux as well as they attempt to move up from that western side. They're taking names all over the place, and like you say, lovely nade will take down Habibi. Couldn't quite climb high enough to get away from that.
गया Habibi गया
No ledge for you. Move on to there, Habibi.
ये तो है Habibi.
This is going to be Bushido trying to dislodge exactly what you want.
भाई एक बात पता है
This was a bit more of a Hail
इतना
Mary
फाइट हो रहा है मैं अभी तक एक बंदे को रेस्ट होते हुए नहीं देखा
entire circle to make this work, knowing that the fields eventually will be an absolute killing floor in a game like this. The kill feed is popping up,
नेड दिख रहा है नेड दिख रहा है भाई
but construction workers is going crazy.
बस वो चला रहा है बबलू
PG3 champions.
I mean, they have backstabbed here very
nicely.
They've been sneaking in the shadows of the wild. And Virtus.pro does go down, and that's Pains, like you say, getting a nasty nade across over towards Nixie and Beamy. And to be honest with you, Viz typically do play better on low player count.
Let's go. Let's go, VP.
Really, because it's such diverse individuals. Pains, for example, was previously on that full all-German roster towards the very end of them being an all-German roster. So great individual players, just not really found a true home. Nailup's taken down Pains. Now he's gone, but Metabay will be able to continue that against them. It's just absolute anarchy here up on the hills. As Twisted Minds has lost the majority as well, but they've kind of done enough, right? 8 kills for Twisted Minds, who's always staring at the championship.
One of the most stacked team.
With this, considering the way
किधर है दिखा ट्विस्टेड
I mean, a 9.
Oh, ये क्या twist ये perfect जिसने बाप नेड मारा था वो क्या?
Absolutely obliterated. The nades come through. If it wasn't the nade, it was going to be the vehicle.
कसम 10 kill मारे भाई.
Today already. Coming straight back in and hitting
the fat strike on these players. It's
great to see. But yeah, everyone was on a ticking time bomb on this western side. They know they have to clear out as much as possible. And that puts the pressure on. Bushido Wildcats, though, they have come out looking pretty. But I think the team I'm most surprised about is Joker Benito. Pretty calm right now.
Yeah, they know what they need to do, I think, by the looks of things. Just play it a bit more steady, a bit more calculated compared to the smash mouth style that we may have seen in some of those cups sometimes. I will say, though, for Perfectus, just to round this out, amazing. It feels like he's a man possessed right now. We kind of crowned him the unofficial MVP of our last PEC season with good reason, because he was the highest damage dealer, kill leader, etc., and things like that. So to have missed out on PPMI, missed out on PGF, and look at what he's able to do in this first game, I'm so happy.
AWM और वो है अरे बाप रे
not terrible grenades, slightly further than you would like here from Joker Benito. Looking for that air burst, they are hard to hit, but yeah, full fields, it keeps Team Nemesis still in.
अभी zone shift हो गया ना गया zone आता है तो मरेगा.
Just looking down upon a lot of these players. on the south. S2G is going to have to move from that northern edge, as is Bushido Wildcats and Jogo Bonito. Currently two angry neighbors.
I do this thing every day, bro.
The local council in Team Nemesis along the way.
I do this thing every
they're
day.
Causing some sound disruption, never mind anything else. I think fair to say. We're going to have to call the cops on them. All that as well, yeah, that's also explosives, not necessarily useful for a neighborhood friendly.
और क्या चाहिए? Winner prediction दे दिया, zone prediction दे दिया.
That is true.
जो team बाहर आएगा, जिसको support किया, सारे बाहर ही आ गए.
These fields, and I think this goes a
और
little
क्या
bit
prediction चाहिए?
the fact that you can get away. It's not exactly
इससे
flat.
ज़्यादा कुछ
It's a
चाहिए.
field, but it's not flat, so there is still cover here for them to play with, and they have a lot of room
इसका
with it,
क्या नाम है?
especially
शिमला?
down S2G.
S2G's getting a little bit closer comfort. That's a nice shot. She hits through there. Tags in very heavily in the backlines as well.
Gloves
we'll find a little bit more. Baron goes
down.
Pata also flushed out the back of this one. Hive's going to push this, and this is good timing from them. They know they need to go. The quicker they get rid of this team, the better.
Yeah, there was also a Nemesis looking at them whilst Hive was looking for that cleanup as well. So for S2G, they had almost no option.
I
don't think it actually did that. It was well, Nemesis is the one that cleaned up everything.
Yeah.
But it looked on the money. It really did.
I wonder if that was a body shot.
16 point pe.
It felt good. It felt good. You really did feel it there. And now Team Nemesis is looking to clean up. And again, for Team Nemesis, typically this would be a much higher point game for them. Because some of these teams are so willing to fight and just absolutely crush other teams underfoot, a lot of those teams that they were going to pick points up
7 slot left.
Western side, they don't even make it here, Kalaris. A lot of them are taking each other out, so the points are spread much further through the lobby. Either way, I think Team Nemesis will be very happy with a chicken dinner, but this is a situation where they sort of need that chicken dinner for this game to really be worth it to them.
और भी मिलेगा ना उनको.
And because of that, it ain't all said and done just yet. Although they do have a BRDM.
ये final zone का भरोसा नहीं है.
Normally, actually, if you get pushed out of this compound, sometimes it can be really bad. But they might just run over this hay bale, and that's actually a really smart move. Just remove the cover from them, and they know that they're going to be shot from elsewhere. That is technically the perfect play coming in from Stade.
You quite like seeing behind that hay bale, did you? How about this is fantastic, you know, bringing the old bulldozer to the mix. Still have the Orm in play though.
ऐसा भी यूज होता है गाड़ी?
But
no,
the circle,
it's not links.
The circle is lovely, actually. I love this circle. It's not beneficial for either team, but it means both teams need to fight on an equal footing.
नहीं, beneficial for Hive है ना लेकिन.
Could I say equal footing if there's a BRDM in play? I'm not sure, but they are laying bullets into it, like you say.
Yeah, those shots very important here. But the problem is that has Nemesis been able to keep repair kits down the line? Are they going to be able to keep that going? It will be basically a mobile wall when it comes to some of the middle parts of this field. And they've even been so cheeky enough as Diffex to go for some loot over by where Bushido Wildcats was. And he has an MG3 as well. This is, well, the thing is that Mogor has done amazing this game. 7 kills so far after what we watched him clean up with Excel is insane. And which proves even more the point of what a pickup, right, for them.
4v4 बस अभी zone fight आएगा, लेकिन Hive already zone advantage पे है.
Pushed off the roofs here. That makes
ये लोग को अभी जाना पड़ेगा बस. जाते-जाते अगर left right हो गया.
Apart from the BRDM.
Yeah, the bullet count's looking very bad right now.
Main ये कि उनको नहीं मालूम 4v4.
I mean, move to Diffex, you know, 90 bullets still left there, but on the old DMR for Diffex, I think he's around about 30, 28 bullets left there for him. They tried to take advantage of that high ground roofing as much as possible, but not meant to be. They're going to instantaneously try and center off the back of this. The Team Nemesis do gain a lot of ground off of this one. Hive's a little bit slow to react.
I don't mind what Diffex was doing. Scared of potential snakes or anybody on the other side of this. I don't think they had a full read on the fact that Hive is indeed 4-man on the opposite side of the battlefield. They've not been able to get full information on it just yet. But now this means that once Diffex actually needs to move in, hopefully for Hive, they've been able to keep an eye on the fact that there was that car moving over for loot, and that potential off angle could become a factor. Look at Mailman as well. creeping on forwards. I think they're hoping for the, the classic play of the distraction BRDM. Keep looking at the BRDM, guys. Keep looking here. Nothing else to see. Distraction can't affect in Warhammer.
Stick a little clown horn on the back of it, hope it really does distract them long enough. Again, this is kind of awkward for the Team Nemesis because you're playing into the side with a lot of I don't want to say tree cover, but it does have bush cover, these small little saplings that are available as well, which do make it a little bit harder to determine where to place your nades, and utility is so incredibly important in this late game. Luckily for Team Nemesis, with that forward push they made and the lineup they have now, it's a case where Hive has to come to them, and Team Nemesis is happy to invite them to that party.
Yeah, it's as if Nemesis was like, okay, we'll make the first move, and you took no shots at us at all. We've been able to seize what is priority ground, and now they're saying, all right, Hive, what are you going to do? Because you weren't proactive on this side. I understand it, right? Because suddenly you're then moving into lines of sight from the players on Nemesis that might have been on roofs and things like that. It's difficult. So the upper hand has very much so been on the side of Nemesis, and they continue to hold it with BRDM and position.
This is interesting. That's a bit of an alarming thing to have in hands at this stage of the game. Vehicle to place it on. I don't know if it'll come to fruition, but it could be funny.
I'm not keen right now, because the thing is that you're going to have to gain some decent momentum, and I think Nemesis is going to shoot you out of it.
Yeah, likely. But he might create some space. You never know.
Knock करने बाद finish में भी तो bullet लगता रहेगा.
Still, it's 2 bullets left in the chamber. 2 very important bullets here at the late game. He's going for it. He's going to send it round the side here, Kale.
Okay, this is actually a complete sacrifice, because he's not going to jump out unless he gets knocked. But he's going. I don't know where we're going. Are we going for the BRDM? I guess we are. This is. He got out.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, Stade does not go down, somehow lives, right? He's a little bit more tanky hello? But I think they're absolutely okay with it. I mean, it's a heroic attempt, left remaining now for Hive, as Mogul will hit the deck. And Team Nemesis is looking to lock this one down in an incredible game from the northern side. From Severny.
Nemesis जीता लेकिन Hive
with 5. Yeah, I'm convinced Hive knew that they had very little chance here, and they will even deny towards the end as well. That's Team Nemesis.
Nemesis जीता लेकिन W Hive bro. Language.
As we bring Martin back on to talk about that one.
भाई C4 गार्ड में डाल के चला दिया बे.
Let's have a little bit of a chat with him whilst we watch some of the highlights here from this game as well.
उड़ा दिया बे.
And for my money, I think Blank, as I say, I think Hive knew that it was kind of lights out.
For
Hive, it's that question mark of, I think we need to start denying points. It's totally fair at this stage of the game. I think the craziest thing though is I'm not sure people expected 2 of the cup teams to be first and second place for the first game of the day. Really well done. And I think from if you look back on this game, you look where Team Nemesis and Hive, they have a distinct advantage, but they played both those positions very well all the way throughout that game. Team Nemesis even taking that approach where they left the effects behind on the
S8UL की औकात नहीं है हाइव को टक्कर देने की. भाई वो तो ठीक है भाई, S8UL और हाइव के बीच में देखो औकात की बात आपने की, आपके पास 150 रुपए का मेंबरशिप नहीं है, तो क्या वो थोड़ा सा एकदम औरा माइनस सा हो गया आपका. ठीक है, तो ये सब एकदम खतरनाक वाला जो आपका लैंग्वेज है ना, और एकदम खतरनाक वाला थॉट है, उसको आप गांड में डाल दो सीधा.
They can actually get some kills. They had the roofs. They were able to push S8UL out without being breached with them. That was actually one of my worries for them. But S8UL sent it all the way around and somewhat gifted it to Hive. But what a performance from Mogul. That was insane. I was a little bit sad to see this sacrifice from Dantex not paying off. They got the rest in the state. The kill didn't come through. So that was a little bit sad for them. But still 11 kills to boot on a second place game for them is huge.
Yeah, and so it'll be 18 points for Team Nemesis, 17 for Hive, so as much as they couldn't round it out towards the end, 11 kills will be fantastic. And of course,
मैंने तो attention के लिए comment किया, सोच तेरा क्या life रहेगा।
Even if they're not getting the wins, even if they're not getting the
घर
placement
बैठ के
points, they
attention
keep
के लिए
their
comment कर रहा है,
averages
मतलब
up
तू
so
सोच
brutally in PEC.
तू लाइफ में क्या कर रहा है और आगे जाके क्या करने वाला है, मतलब crazy है। Your mom dad will be very proud of you.
Yeah, I mean, they look like a force to be reckoned with, right? With the way they set up, look like 4 Spartans out in the field.
पहला मैच शुरू हो रहा है S8UL का, अभी चालू हो रहा है। हम लोग तो अभी ग्रुप बी में, ग्रुप बी।
The way they lined up that late game looked
ग्रुप बी में
really good.
अपन जैसे कि आप लोग देख सकते हैं, हम लोग है, वाइटलिटी है, वीपी है, एसेंड है, नावी है, ये साइड वाले सारे ग्रुप बी में। अभी ग्रुप बी का मैच चालू होने वाला है।
In a race against the clock, and I think that they do get a ton of points regardless. Here's our game changes of match 1 with Diffx from Team Nemesis getting hit for 74 points, which is to be expected, but there you go. 7 kills for Mr. Mogo himself. What an incredible game from him.
Yeah, really good stuff. Really good show.
वो नहीं दिखता है क्या damage?
Which Diffx is this Avenger?
Oh,
is this
damage?
Diffx 1 or Diffx 2?
Diffx का है सबसे highest damage.
It's Diffx 2. Yeah, his twin Diffx. It's the older twin Diffx.
लेकिन वो
but he's
basically सारे squads को भी मार रहा था, वो एकदम center of the zone में था।
Yeah, he's this kind of guy that just comes in.
मोगोरे कुछ ज़्यादा
even though, you know,
खेला,
you have a center compound, it's somewhat, you called it even here, Sand, and you said, yeah, guys, it's a free event. Let's just see how much we can get out of it, right? But they're greedy about it. They had a player inside Gatka.
एकदम top team perform कर रहे हैं। मैं कितना दे रहा था? मैं 200-300 तो दे रहा था मैं। तो मैं ज़्यादा दूर नहीं हूँ मैं।
The Sharks were circling the waters of the fields early on, and that's what I really like from this style of play, right? Because they made sure they kind of somewhat herded the S2G guys away from.
Remind to like करो chat,
towards the end, right? I love the
मोगोरे और perfect इस नाम याद रहेगा, ये दो नाम याद रहेगा।
PRDM, you no longer have Habibi play. That was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's not. You can't really actually make that work in too many other locations other than fields where hay bales are destructible, right? So, not easy to be able to.
What level में था वो just saying?
Also just got moved. Like you come in with 50-60 kilometers an hour.
क्या बोला
इसने? Oh, you're laying behind this burning car. I'll remove that too.
Really tough for them as well because they had like a P90 to Bushido. They had like loads of stuff to be able to try and make that game work there, Blank. But just
इसमें same point system है क्या बीच में टाइम से
point system रहेगा? One of the last teams from the north side. Admittedly, they do have a little bit of an advantage in that they get some north hard shifts, which definitely plays into their game for that one. No discredit to them though, being able to hold down that compound and everything lined up for them in such a brilliant way here for this game.
But again, I think that it's sort of a cool game to watch.
ये लोग अपने बारे में बात करेंगे, लग रहा है मेरे को feel आ रहा है,
which is that they play this edge play style, but they're not afraid to take that chicken dinner positioning towards the end game, right? They look for consistent points overall, but they can close down the game as well. It's not all about just playing on that edge and just sweeping a little bit and then going down eventually to a team that's better positioned. If they can have a spot and the circle does come to them, they're very happy to take that game and they're very capable of doing it as well.
FNC नहीं होने वाला 2-0 पे क्या FNC?
Feels like nerves. I think that they just did not take enough
मैं
positioning.
तो कुछ बोला भी नहीं यार,
They
कैप्स
started
में
seeing
करेगा।
the guys from Team Nemesis coming off those rooftops. I think they had to start pushing up. They had the cover to do it as well. It just happened a little bit too late. And Team Nemesis, it's like the
player है क्या कोई S8UL में है ना Falafel?
It's a toughie. It's definitely a toughie here.
Falafel first.
A lot of other SR teams coming in, of course. You got a team like Construction Workers that got a few kills here and there. In fact, we can actually listen in from their comms here from that game and see what they were up to. Good old Construction
Binks भाई मेरे गॉड कैसे हो हम लोग का बेस्ट मैप कौन सा है? वेट लेट मी स्टडी जैसे कि मैं यहाँ पे देख पा रहा हूँ।
All right, of course, as we take a look at Construction Workers' position and how they were able to play things out. I'm not sure whether or not you guys are hearing comms, but we take a look at them as all 4 cars were trying to move on this west side. And it was a tough one for them here, Avenger. Of course, a lot of teams were going to try and congregate on that west hill because nobody really wants to have to go down into the field early.
वो हमारा बेस्ट मैप है।
If you cut that circle prior to circle pop, 7 out of the 10 teams were on the west side, on the 40% that it cut away from, right? So you're gonna have absolute mayhem here, and obviously construction workers trying to make the most of it here, but it's just super rough, especially with Bashir Wildcats that have this uphill angle where multiple teams can just lay onto him, and then Twisted Minds also kind of jumping in with Perfectix, of course,
circle
with the barrel and the nades just cleaning them up here. So yeah, super well executed by them. There's nothing to do here. Like when you're so late, unless you do a Hail Mary and die, you do a try to fight on the edge and die here in this case.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Definitely not the game people wanted for game number 1, I would say, right? Like,
a full field ending like this, knowing that there's going to be so much killing over on that west side, you're just going to be collateral damage for all the teams that were coming in. I was sort of surprised, Blank, when you think about it, because Vis was over in the same direction that Hive was, and they felt, I guess, some pressure from Hive or anybody on that east side and didn't really want to play out the fields. But if you sit there and you somehow win that fight, if Hive is going to be putting on aggression to you, suddenly you're potentially making podium. So to send it the other side of a circle where you know that there's probably a lot of teams on that west side is somewhat debatable, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think when you're in that situation, there's lack of confidence, right, to play that position. I think for Team Hive in particular, like, you have to just hold that spot for a long time. That is scary. That is scary, just hold that spot and know that if the circle is too far away from you, you just lose the game. And I'm also not entirely sure why Viz made that move. I think they could continue to play there.
They're pre-driving before the circle pop, so they anticipated the circle going west, and it went exactly to where they were, right? They had hard shift super far east, so they're pre-driving, and then they're like, oh, guys, we made a mistake. I guess we're fighting here. So yeah, I just double-checked that that was a little bit rough for them, but yeah, I mean, it would be cool to have a fight with Hive, but I wouldn't want to be going up against the Moko that was absolutely slamming everything here. 7 kills for him.
Ice back coming up huge with that
watching him hold down exhale and then being able to get a few more conversions off the back of
Ice back को छुपा लगाओ और
OP he's a fantastic pickup for Hive.
Bro, Mogore is
individually very skilled.
Mogore is insane. Mogore is insane.
You can see that as well last year, PGC with Team Nemesis, like,
for sure.
If it wasn't all for Levante, it was
headshot percentage देखो hello.
If it wasn't all for Levante, then Moko was just at a different level, right? I think if you look at how he plays now, he has bloodlust, and that's really what I think he's leaning into at this point. And also after what we heard with he was trying out the genes and everything, I think he's got full bloodlust going on here. I wonder how long it lasts. Maybe it's 40 seconds. Maybe.
Sure, I'm wrong as well. It was Orchid he was playing.
Last case like
those two teams blurred together for me so much because of how kind of they entered PGC. But anyway, thank you very much, Avenger, for that. We are going to game number 2 now, as it will be Miramar on the cards, and we'll be blank once again, bringing everything as much to the behest of Avenger because he loves good old Miramar. So bye-bye, Avenger.
अपन कहाँ पे जा रहे हैं?
I felt bad. I felt bad. He was talking earlier today that he loves Miramar and stole away from him, but I have gifted it back to him, I believe at some point. I kind of go with the flow a little bit here, but
okay, all right.
Hello.
Go on,
I was just agreeing with you.
No, have it out.
I'll let Avenger be mad about Miramar. He'll get it tomorrow or something like that. We'll see. But no. No.
Have it out.
No.
Okay,
oh no, there is a world where technically this is possible. Like,
there's a big world. It's a Jupiter-sized world right now where this happens.
Just stop that. All right. So okay, a lot of the time.
Please ये मत बोलो वो island जो side में जो नीचे तो island है वहाँ पे भी zone जाता है. अगर वहाँ पे zone जाता है ना अंडी मंडी.
More northwest than this, and like the islands in like a 0.0 some chance could happen. But actually, with how far east this is, with the center of this circle technically being on the coastline of mainland, oh no, there is a world where it could happen. It's probably not going to happen, but it could.
I hope it does. You know, I've seen this circle before. Out of the finals, I would quite like to see it again because I have a better idea of what's going to happen. So, for the time being, though, you have to set yourself up for it, though. That's the unfortunate truth. when it is this far over towards the eastern side, you have to set yourself up for that inevitability, which is why you're going to see a lot of teams instant moving. And if they're not instant moving, they are getting a lot of utility on board as quickly as possible. Foldable shields would be nice as well, because what they have to do is get as many kills, because they're not making it towards the end game if you're late to this next circle, and it goes to the island. But we'll wait and see. It is phase 1. It could easily as much just not happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a terrifying prospect. The thing is that if, as you're saying, if you do set yourself up on an island, then suddenly you know you're like guaranteed top 3 with 15 kills, like, or something like that. Like, because then if people have to come to the islands, it's unfair. And already Twisted Mind, whilst we take a look at Cristiani doing a big amount of damage here to boosting the boys.
Bro,
oh dear me. What a bit of a camp here. But I will say,
Twisted
Minds is already emergency pickupping. If they go to the islands, then all hell is breaking loose.
You take a chance, man. You take a chance. This is classic Juggernaut. They were tricking everyone. They're tricking everyone in that game 1. They were like, oh, we're just a calm team, guys. Just a little calm team. And they're coming out swinging here.
Oh my.
Ferris goes down to Jugger Benito. They're getting themselves 2 kills off the back onto Navi. Yeah, it was all a prank. It was all a big prank. The wolves in sheep's clothing.
Hakatori's got something to say about it, but misses. Oh no! I will say it is kind of funny to me, the idea of like Jugger Benito, you know, through the cups looked super aggressive. Game 1, they're like, all right, guys, all right, play it calm, play it still. Didn't quite work out. All right, full balls to the wall. Let's go up against the PGS2 champions and maybe even beat them. Although Hakatori have something to say about it.
Okay, lovely shot from Hakatori over towards Cyber.
What the fuck?
Very long range as he hits that. Gets behind the hay bale. That is a nice setup. All right, that is aimed lovely. I'm surprised that didn't hit.
Leave my friends alone.
This is
bro, गाड़ी फोड़ा तो वो लोग वो player को गिरा सकते हैं.
I'm very curious to see where Twisted Minds actually drops whilst this is going on, because there's every part of the world as well where they just... Man, Hakatori's mental. Where they just go coast, right? Where they just show coast, maybe kind of like say, okay, there is a boat there just in case. And maybe see what they can do there. But still putting in some work. 200 damage done. Now he's trying to pop the tires.
He's blasting them. He's absolutely blasting them. Twisted Minds, though, they're going to drop out early. Not going to head over towards the island. Again, like you said, you have to set up in the chance that it does happen. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to go to island, but I think this is a good spot to set up on. Gives you the chance to be on that coastal side, have a boat or something ready to get across with.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's still technically way more chance of main island, because when it actually draws these circles, there's far more potential for the middle point of these circles to be on mainland than any island situation, despite us kind of theorizing. But here's Virtus Pro once again going up against Example. Luca is already down. Luca will finish it off with Flexible Trading Kind. What was going to happen here? Beamy needs to do something a little bit more about this to try and shut it down. We'll send a flash forwards into that smoke, trying to shut down some of the vision here of Example. Makes the cross. Find Example. Sprays on the corner. That's actually a really good potential prediction there, but Example's kind of subverted that quite a bit, moving straight into that smoke. Maybe they can weed him out here.
Yeah, you don't have to nice.
वॉल के उस तरफ था मेरे को लगा मैं बह रहा हूँ दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है
on that top side.
भाई ये नेट मेरा बेस्ट लगता है बेस्ट
An Example does go down.
He is on best like the blue zone.
Some of these players, by the way, at the start.
Right. It's nice
the way he moves on that one, where he actually delays the first aid kit by getting a little bit further behind the wall to give him a bit more time. TMO does send. TMO does send across, yeah. Team Nemesis on that northern side. Team Nemesis feels like a team that would head over towards the island, if I'm honest.
I think
just us.
I think in theory right now, if you've come to this East Coast, I think it's too late now if you've not already done it,
I miss her.
Thinking, well, maybe a team has already gone.
Him.
Especially if you're coming in from far arrays away on the map like this. And currently only one player has, as you say, with TMO and Justice going over. I like the Virtus Pro kind of double blue naded that smoke as well. When they were taking no chances.
Just want to deal with this guy,
Put him in the grave.
Come on.
Yeah, they certainly electrified the fella.
Just
minus the chair.
But
We're going to have construction workers on the southwest side. Team Nemesis do have very similar rotation paths to construction workers a lot of times. And Team Nemesis do end up being the slower to these ones. But they're happy just to sit out on the sidelines for the time being, just hold their position. You know what always annoys me about this kind of circle is how slow phase 2 feels to get to.
हम लोग 5 स्क्वाड के बीच में कैसे बे?
Shift to see if it really does happen. Ascend though, it's Chris.
ठीक है, चलती गाड़ी से मारना टफ है.
Cross doesn't quite hit too many, but there is a swerver here on Bushido Wildcat. Sadly, T-Bone does go down, and he makes a full 180.
Oh, he doesn't want to be the first one to go down on Ascend 2 games in a row, that's for sure. Of course, that would be quite burdensome here to Ascend. And, well, it's Chris is going to be able to take Celtic down. Oh, Keta with the Balti on Crossberg as well. I'm terrified of this next shift. Justice actually coming across the water once again. I think they realize that technically, if they need to,
well,
they would be the ones that will be able to move
just
across
T-Bone
first,
things,
right?
guys.
They know that they've got Lynchpin there. They know that nobody else was there. They're the ones playing with the most information. And in fact, tucking the boat away, hiding it a little bit, just in case it needs to be played. I kind of like this for them.
Yeah, it's not bad, just whacking the boat in Smuggler's Cove. See what we could do with that one.
So sad.
A couple of pirates on TMO looking to raid the islands later on, but we'll wait and see if we do need that boarding party. But yeah, you can't get your hopes up. You just can't. Because I've been disappointed.
Are you saying should I temper my expectations here, Blank?
I think you should temper your expectations. As should I. I'm getting a little bit too excited here. I need to calm down.
That would be a crazy way to open up PEC.
It really would be.
सीधा वो plane लेके land के लग रहे हैं वो लोग.
Rendezvous with the rest of Na'Vi, so at least they get one res off. Unless do my eyes deceive me? Where's Na'Vi? Okay, yeah, they didn't get Ferris.
Drop तो पानी में बनेगा क्या zone?
I mean, it'll be okay. Ferris will kind of lead from the skies, as it were, be able to kind of jump around on those camera angles and see what's going on. There is another emergency pickup coming up from the north, and I think it's Bushido. Yeah. So they're kind of trying to time this out with Circle Pop and see what they can do from there, which actually could work out, right? Like, it might be one of the better ways if a silly island circle actually does occur.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I was very curious about the
phase
amount
2,
of
phase 3 में है ना सारा boomba
coming through into phase 2, just in case we do get one of those silly circles.
हम लोग मार रहे हैं, हाइव वालों को मार रहे हैं.
It's not that many.
गोलियां पड़ रही है.
There's no way, surely. There's no way. Where are we going? Where are we?
ये लोग का मार खाना
You
fix
gotta
है.
temper them. You gotta temper them.
That's fair. That's fair.
मार खाना fix है ये लोग का.
I'll put it. It's disappointing.
कुछ नाम नहीं रखने होते हैं इस.
Apart from the teams.
कुछ नाम नहीं रखने होते हैं इस. हाँ ना.
Any time you get a circle like that, they're hating life, but we're enjoying it. The best times in PUBG are when you watch the players and teams suffer. Thankfully for them, they're like, oh, okay, well, we've kind of got some positions in the field and we'll play it out. So they're okay with it.
plane में.
Yeah, it's not too bad. For Twisted Minds, still not a bad position to be playing on over towards that high ground on Impala. Works out quite well for them. They've got good sight lines down towards construction workers who finally made their way in. Now you know you can play a little bit more aggressively over towards Impala. The construction site that sits on the northern side as well.
center में, लेकिन यहाँ पे वो वाला zone वाला system नहीं है.
Zero back in.
Last game देखा ना कैसे zoop zap zoop zone shift हुआ.
Because this is where the narrative changes, Blank, from a potentially silly game to a very, very normal game. So much so that these positions are extremely common. Jeez Louise, knows, like, calm down. Trying to take Boostic out from... He's only just got back in the game. But as you said, Hive has an amazing position currently on kind of where the jump is along the road, as well as potentially the kind of long building. Navi technically also has a really valuable compound as well in a circle like this. Some of the compounds north of that road are not taken at all currently. S2G actually get a win at each guess from a circle like this. So this becomes what is a very thought out normal circle.
Impossible.
I always find that this is kind of a weird one as well, because it's sort of that three-way pie chart where you look over towards the northeast side, that position over there, over towards the coast, you've got Longhouse, you've got the construction site, then you've got the basically barren fields with a couple of compounds on the northwest, and you come back down towards that south side with the high ground, sloping down over towards the big warehouses. But it is one of the situations where you can't really only focus on one of those three areas. And it's sad because I do think that this is one of those circles where it's hard unless you have some incredible plays to win from one of those outside areas, transitioning across the pie chart.
It's a tough one. I mean, especially if we get the circle like suddenly shifting towards Impala, and then all hell breaks loose out there. Like, I mean, not only the fact that Twisted Minds still has the high ground, which technically speaking, like, normally we see the shifts away from and how that all works on out. S2G's controlling kind of choke points and checkpoints on that south side with gas station. But it is so common we see the field be the finish, that in my mind I'm almost biased towards it. Like, I feel like it's going to go there, even though it doesn't necessarily have to right now. So we'll see.
Again, I always feel like it is a bit magnetized towards that field as well, and we start getting a little bit fizzy over on those ramps where Hive's kind of playing around. It's a tough area. I do think that for Hive, especially that position, it's almost surprising they don't have Mogor towards where Dante and Schengen are, because I think you do really need a significant fragger to hold out that spot versus teams that do move in. But eventually, I imagine they all will start moving that way as the circle gets a little bit tighter over time. But yeah, if we move towards Impala, that roadside trying to traverse over towards that direction, it's horrendous. And then you have that fun game of how many teams can we squeeze into Impala?
Of course, they technically had a very okay position on that compound, which sits on the west side of these fields, but that's no longer in play. Usually becomes very conflicted and very contested, but that's been the case in this one. As Virtus Pro, only 2 alive in this game. Not the best of starts, but you know what? They are keen to shoot everything, apparently, as Vis is going to be flying over here with the glider. The problem for Vis is that they are going to have a right tail ahead of them here. How are you supposed to play in here? I guess you're going to play on the south side, seeing that S2G has rendezvoused on the gas station, and then from there try and play it out. But, I mean, if the circle shifts anywhere else other than directly south, I know it's tough for Vis.
Yeah, it's funny because Vis is like, from the times I kind of want to look back on this because does hit his shots, and he's still causing problems for him and from TMO. Look, he's taking out the other tire. Oh, he is cruel. He is cruel.
He's hitting him as well, and now I feel like he has to get out after that spin out. He would have been on the same target. Him and no, okay, no, still, you're gone. Sorry, mate. The one problem I do see for Twisted Minds is the high ground still in play, but only 55 shots after that clip go down there on the MK. So not exactly the most amount of bullets to start working things with.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough. It's a good name. Scatter immediately. Very, very terrifying there. I was going to say about Viz is that from watching them in the cups, they have very, very exciting and creative endgames for Miramar that you might not expect. So we'll see what they've got in the playbook here. But again, it doesn't look great for the time being. Jogobonito, though, starting to move up. Through Simon will open up onto Levante from Vitality. It's a good start. And after taking down a couple of players from Na'Vi right at the beginning of the game, this is a bit of a war path that Jogobonito is currently on.
Yeah, they love to fight. I think if I had to gamble for this, I would say you make a send on one of the high 2-2s and see what happens later on once the circle moves away.
Give it a crack.
That's probably what may end up going down, considering their position and what is actually vacant, etc. But Jogobonito trying to make this completely vacant for themselves, as Vitality has backed off. Now the circle plays in Vitality's favor, right? They're a little bit further deeper into the circle. But eventually, Nemesis is having a little bit of a nosy over here with So said. So if they're not careful, transitioning from building to building, they could have a little bit of poking.
Door
parachuting.
If it's affected, or So said, sorry, always likes to have a little bit of a nosy. Right, always peeking through the curtains. This guy likes to see what's going on around the map, but that does always play back in their favor. I think so providing that information is fantastic, and like you say, we do get that magnetization over towards the western side of the map, and suddenly Hive's compound becomes really, really high value. TMO managed to just about sweep in on the south side here, but a lot of open sight lines their way. But Hive is loving life with this entirety of the eastern side kind of cut off in terms of sidelines, focus teams over towards their northwest and south, which is very, very nice to see for them.
Yeah, perfect timing to make the move, because if they didn't, they would have been crunched down by maybe even multiple teams. But it was No Slack that takes up the position on the jump as well as the middle of the road. At the same time, there is the dip southwest of Hive's position on the kind of intersection of the road that does actually provide some cover for teams later on down the line. So maybe we'll see someone inhabit that for the moment. As Quizzy now taking a lot of damage, and he will go down here. Joga Bonito is once again just ramming into these positions. Take some casualties along the way, but not bad.
I mean, the So said not doing terribly at the back of that, honestly. Getting some good damage done, looking for a little bit more, like you say.
Oh,
Vitality just go
pop.
Vitality आ गई.
Hakatori special. Bam, there he is, Hakatori. You open your fridge, bam, there he is, Hakatori. He's everywhere.
I'd hate that, but
it's happened for a few years
किल मिला किसका मिला?
Yeah, you open up appliances here and there, bam, there he is, Hakatori, and then he haphazardly became the MVP of PGS2 because he's Hakatori, you know. He's pretty good at the game.
Some Hakatori control on that one, get them on the line, and deal with that. But yeah, I think Hakatori so far has already shown off exactly why people fear him so much in the game. First Pro now starting to make their way in after being pestered, bothered by Joga Bonito, but Code Marco will be the one to take him out there from Shield Wildcats. A little bit of unfortunate start swerving on their road path past Ascend, who were able to find a couple of kills their way, and now it's just slowly petered out a little bit. But yeah, it's a hard approach now. How do Seoul get across here? Which position do they take? Do they try and go for a Hail Mary? Do they try and get rid of X-Howl first and then sweep up on the north side? Because technically these buildings aren't outside the circle just yet, but you'd expect in the near future they will be.
Yeah, it's a tough one because generally when I would think Seoul and the XBB team, I would think to myself, okay, them coming in relatively late, but being able to shoot at everything that moves and actually winning out a lot of those fights is usually their forte. The only problem coming in from Impala is it's a road and then a downhill into fields. And then everyone chases. Yeah, it's
आधी मैप तो हम लोग को बिल्डिंग से दिख रही है.
It's a real problem. And that road is not small. It's one of the widest ones to cross.
सामने वाला वो ले सकते हो. दो तीन कुछ तो है वहाँ पे.
Now they have to move. X-Howl though, going for a classic X-Howl maneuver. They're going to immediately send out. They do have in the Na'Vi camp a mortar set up here. Now I wonder what they're going to be doing with this one. They do need to use it shortly though. And we'll have to move.
It's a very extreme angle on it as well, so they were looking for a far-off target with that. But at the same time now, a big crash on through. X-Howl, I should say, does manage to clean up this position and get themselves to spot. There's technically still that dip that I suspect Vis might be the ones to try and move into below the high compound that does exist.
Proud to say, yaar, India's best watch party streamer, Valo mein bhi badhiya karta hai.
On the side of the road, using that as a transition point, but it's not as easy to be able to play the field on this side. I guess they want to go big or go home because they're going through the middle.
PUBG is the best game ever, bro. What do you mean?
Up the monster, but you're right. For Viz though, they're sort of the Bob Ross of games.
Wow.
They're very creative. They look for something interesting, and they try and peg that picture. It's going to be a hard approach here, and there is all across the canvas, but they are in.
It's not working. It's not working, Blank. Abandoned ship. There's two down already. As Diffex is able to put in the bit of damage as well. Whilst Hive is able to shut a lot of it down. But X-Howl is being peppered by some of these mortar shots.
Please,
Navi. Be very careful. They're trying to spread themselves out a little bit. That extra smoke thrown down means that they could spread themselves out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough to spread yourself out in this area. The mortar shots are a little bit far off though. Kale, it's kind of unfortunate for Na'Vi, but that would have been
अपन गोली चला रहे आवाज आ रहा है
actually from S2G, sorry.
Yeah, those were the S2G.
But for S2G, if they were able to grab those, they would
have
been able to pick up this position.
It's
too little too late to set up another mortar shot for them. Already the nades are in the hands of the boys on X-Howl.
The issue is S2G really needed those mortars to land because they need that dip. Currently Hive is looking at them, and if they couldn't actually dislodge a team from the dip that they would most easily be able to transition to, then it might be absolute lights out for them. That said though, Soul is putting in a lot of damage against X-Howl. That's an absolute red zone being down on them. Oh my days! Howl the man is the only one left alive here to try and make something work against this, but he's being shot from the side as well. Spiro can see him from all the way over the edge. These teams want them gone so that they can try and hold on to this themselves.
I mean, the Mad has had some pretty pop-off moments, but he's looking more and more like a balloon himself here, ready to be popped with a pin, one of nades, and he will be out.
अभी वो लोग को जेन के बाहर से आने का प्लीज शीला विला सबका किल ले ले मार बैरन को मार कौन मारा बैरन को कौन मारा अपन ने मारा कि नहीं मारा
immediately taken out of the picture. Very nicely done by Soul. A really patient approach there that works out fantastically well for them, and they can nestle themselves in on this side just underneath Hive and kind of use them as the guard dogs for the rest of the lobby. So potentially Hive placing circle boosting away from them once again, and now Soul needs to figure out a different path in.
Yeah, hopefully for Soul, they've got some smokes there from the body boxes that were down in that, because they're going to have to make a push on towards Hive's compound in a few moments' time. But Hive realizes that. Hive knows that a lot of threats are going to be coming their way. Not only depend on the fact that they're up there as well, but also Nemesis is going to need an answer. Where are we going to be going from that northeast side? And there could be some significant crashes. And this is still alive. You can see them here in this picture at the moment. The fact that they are still alive means that there's just kind of booby traps here for any teams that might want to also approach this and try and deal with Hive.
Yeah,
the smokes are going down.
It's hard, right? I mean, I think the funny thing for Soul at the moment is that it's technically the most high value play here for them would just be to crash the south side of Hive's compound.
अगर ये पीछे जाके हमारे एक भी बंदे को नॉक किया ना,
they're gonna get caught up in the razor blades that are Ascend as well as Viz. It's a really, really difficult decision.
Maybe even trying to go for the backstab. Phil first turns around. He was a prodigy a few years ago, and he's been a mainstay ever since. The VV team going into Soul now. Soul looking fantastic on the position that they're in. So said trying to shut down the rest of Ascend, who was calling the shack, and they are being blown to smithereens at the moment. If more guns come from Nemesis, I don't know how Ascend gets out of this one.
Yeah, I mean, Nemesis are just so good at suffocating squads out, just slowly applying the pressure until it's just a little bit too much, and they don't often have to send too much utility in to do that either. So already Ascend's down to 2, and Nemesis feels like they've got a lot of time to work with here. A Doozy, though, has been spotting this out from the south side. Spots over towards Team Nemesis as they start to move in, but Chris will go down. More shots from a Doozy. Smokes are immediately placed to stop the shots from coming through, and now Team Nemesis might need to double back.
Yeah, Ascend, you are the meat in this sandwich. It is no go for you at all. Kiliakai down. Ascend is gone from the sheer pressure coming in. That was a blue zone from Phil first as well. Phil first found his foot in 2 games alone here for Soul. The first one all, but more nades against the Oh my days! It continues! Bye-bye, Nemesis!
पूरी टीम उड़ा डाली बे
perfectly placed nade after another.
पूरी टीम उड़ा डाली.
So lights them up. What
like this team. Man, Binks is on language.
Onto the scene here for Team Soul. It looked a little bit dreary in that last game, but what a play from them here. A Doozy provided information all the way back from the very beginning of that fight, and they capitalized. It's a really nice blue zone grenade as well that they threw out towards the start of the fight as well, where not only did they finish off the players in that building, but it provided a lot of more space for them to move up where Team Nemesis couldn't gain ground on them inside the building. Very, very smart plays from them.
By 12 points.
They're no doubt one of the biggest pickups in PEC for Soul, for BB team.
जैसे कि जोन देख सकते हो हमारा नाम का जो लोगो है ना वो जोन में.
So Soul has got some real
एक
high
बार पूरा नाम जोन में आ जाएगा ना मेरे हिसाब से OP.
They have shown that they are championship material.
ठीक है सर्कल देखो.
What
अभी हमारा लोगो एंटर हो रहा है.
And now, Navi going to be trying to move around on the south side.
अच्छा है उनको मार Navi को मार. Love you Navi, take one for the team.
Shut down boost stick. There's not many options here left alive for Spiro and Hakatori down in that south side.
वो क्या साइन है बे?
Most like looking for an entrance.
गाड़ी के नीचे से धुआं वाला साइन क्या है? गाड़ी उड़ा है या? Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Hive भी है इधर. Oh shit!
Phil first is down. Molotov as well.
भाई क्या दिखता है बे? 10 kills वाला.
Just about crashed themselves into
this one.
I think they've done so well, critically and analyzing exactly what they needed to do to be able to move from dip to dip. I mean, as much as yes, they're not going to be able to win out this game, in a like 0.5% chance basically now being able to win it, they're good enough, considering they had to come from Impala, had to make those transitions. I did see a smoke route for them trying to go towards the Hive position, but realized, okay, we're not going to be able to do that. But here, regardless, Hive once again in a decent position position with this compound, having the pick of the litter for it. And this was early that they had this. They understand there's so many finishes in these fields. Just hold these positions, hold them strong.
जो मुबारक करने का कैपेसिटी अपने लड़कों की है वो और किसी में नहीं है. रुक जाओ, अभी मत बोलो, ये कट्टे में अपने यहाँ पे आ सकता है. बिंक्स हो सकता है. रुक जाओ आयुष भाई.
They've set themselves up in a spot now.
Oh my God.
It's a likely second place if they can hold out versus No Slack, and they have the help of Hive here versus No Slack as they make their way in. It's a great nade though from IXC over towards Bestalok, and now it's all down to Phil first. Another nade will tag him pretty heavily, and Hive's nowhere to be seen actually.
He must be gone.
Hive थोड़ा help करना ऊपर से.
Soul, but trying to deal with the torrent of aggression that's going to be coming from No Slack should
थोड़ा help करना. Hive क्या कर रहा है?
First, now he's gone. Satta as well as IXE are able to shut it down. I've been quite impressed by the fact that Navi's lasted for as long as they have on the other side, but they haven't really had many to compete with them on that west side because nobody really wanted to be over there in those fields. That was kind of the last
not bad.
Straight on the road, Blank.
Hive qualified.
Yeah, I mean for Hive, this is now time to take some notes from last game.
Hive qualify हो गए भाई.
Just yet.
यहाँ से वो लोग
this high ground on the long house as much as possible from teams moving out, and they might just.
नावी तो गया. नावी वहाँ से मोटर खेल रहा है. वो लोग अलग चल रहा है.
Immediately takes shots. It's insanely well placed as well. Very short time frame. Really well done from Dante there to find one kill.
एंटी था भाई. सेक्सी था बे. एंटी क्या सेक्सी था.
They get the res off there, I believe.
पहले मार देने नहीं हुआ स्मोक में.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, the thing is that in the end, Blank, this is classic Hive gameplay. Let the game come to them and have, in the previous game, of course, carved out a pretty decent spot for them to be able to play it. This time around, stay far alive. You don't really need to be shooting at a lot here for a compound like this to work, right? Because nobody really wants to approach it. Look how open it is at every single angle from this compound. As we have a little bit more going down here to be able to try and make some of these transitions for Na'Vi, knowing that they need to try and get into the circle, get Spiro up on board, and see if you can make the move with some of this deployable cover. I don't know, man. There's going to be a lot of people looking this way.
I thought it was a little bit further over this hill.
कितने दिन का प्लेऑफ है? आज 5 मैचेस में हम लोग को टॉप 8 आने का है. टॉप 2 आ गया तो ओपी. टॉप 8 आ गया तो चलेगा वाला सीन है. और कंसीडरिंग अपन ने जो खेले हैं ना अभी अपने को एकदम शांति से 2 किल 1 2 नेड ऐसा. इसमें 12-13 पॉइंट बहुत ज्यादा होता है. अभी मालूम है वो हाइव को देख के एक्सपेक्टेशन बढ़ रहा है कि भाई 20 किल मार सकते हैं 30 किल मार. वैसा नहीं है.
Yeah, it can get a bit dicey there. I mean, like, especially with smokes involved as well, you're like trying to judge some of those distances, and sometimes these things happen, especially in desperate moments where you're thinking to yourself, every second is going to matter against you. It'll be interesting to see if they can make anything work from this. I mean, technically, if you're No Slack and RV, your prime target right now should technically be Hive. Otherwise, they're guaranteed winning this game. They're taking some shots at Dante as he transitions through against this. They do have some smokes still available here to them to No Slack, so they're not being shot just yet. And they are trying to make moves alongside this road, but eventually these will dissipate, and eventually it will be open here.
I'm trying to get the Murado through as long as possible. Surprised this thing's still going, honestly, with the health pool it has. But yeah, more smokes engaged here. They've kept a lot for this late game to try and make their way through. And there is a world where No Slack can potentially make this work. That is a nasty nade over towards Hive as well as they're attempting to leave here. Luckily, they had the emergency cover flares, but as do Na'Vi.
Bro, अगर सेंटर में वो डाल दिया किसने जोन ग्रेनेड
few smokes available to them. I saw. तो लग गए ना सीधा. Just Satta had 3 available still. Never mind who else has some. Double nade, coordinated forwards. Will it be able to connect? Does do a little bit of damage, but not enough. Everybody knows now that Hive is moving into dangerous territory for them. Like, they are now being a bit more vulnerable compared to any moment in this game. But they go down to the blue, does Na'Vi. They're done. It's up to No Slack to do something against Hive in number 1.
I think the thing is, for No Slack, they have these trees actually to work with. I know it's very, very minimal, but they do. And it's the smokes as well that are playing a big part into this one. The amount of smokes they get on board. Dante goes down as he attempts to make the cross. We're still in a 3v3 here. It's very possible. Dante flushed out now as they continue to send some more their way. There's stun grenade, binds them a little bit. Trying to keep things alive. Turns away from the stun grenade. Not quite enough.
Oh, No Slack! Play from them, able to hit their shots. They knew Hive was going to be vulnerable on that move out. And No Slack does take the win there. And
Jeete wo
bear
log.
in mind, Blank,
Do
this is
photo
the
hum log
team
ka hai.
that moved in behind Hive's 2-2 after they all rendezvoused on that longhouse. So very important.
Kaisa
It
lag raha hai?
really shows how much control in inverted commas Hive had on the prime positions because they were in both
Logo
of
spam
them
karo bhai.
until No Slack pushed them away.
That is that potential.
Yeah,
growth,
hoti hai
that's what it's
ura.
all about. They're really growing into the shoes
lekin-
of PEC. What a
Kya
wonderful
baap ke lab hai
moment
No
Avenger,
Slack?
at the end of this game. I think for No
Kaise
Slack, the
chicken ne mara
big
bhai
thing that
Hive ne?
struck for me was the
ऐसा भी नहीं है
utility
कि कोई
usage. I
random
can't
भाई,
believe
बाप
they managed
team
to
है।
get through all the way to that end
Four
game with
man
actually
थे
nothing to work
ऊपर से
with.
सब कुछ दिख
Yeah,
रहा
the
था
potential growth and the
था
potential bait for the
गाड़ियाँ
island
थी।
circle. I had you guys excited for a while. I was excited about it too, guys. But yeah, this Impala ending here.
Double
The so-called
खेला बे।
Diamond Dogs shacks here that Hive were in for so long.
Map तेरे
The
कौन सा है?
reason why
Take
these
out,
have
take
been,
out.
you know, contested for years and years. But yeah, what a
Three more
explosive
maps.
game here. But I'll say this though. No slack.
भाई
Them
मजा तो आ
taking
रहा है
the
देखने
Rams
में
and
कुछ भी
taking the amount
बोलो
of
बे
control that they had,
मजा
then
तो आ रहा है
back
देखने
though,
में
to take control again and again. What
ये
an
बाप था ना ये
amazing game.
fight
There's so much action
खतरनाक
throughout.
ले नेड एक तेरा ये ले
There's
एक
good
तू
reasons
का
why these are
ये ले
such
एक
high
तेरा
priority
एक ये
positions
ले
in
तेरा भी
circles like this because aside
Last
from
वाला
you know,
बंदा
the
तू
high
कहाँ जा
compound,
रहा है?
aside from
ये ले,
having the
catch.
roadside on those ramps, what else do you really have to play with? You see as you watch the highlights here, Blank, and all of these teams just
पूरा red
dated
zone
out
बना
a few
दिया बे
dips here and there, and it will be interesting once actually like the destructible terrain really comes into play.
आज को पता नहीं उनको हराने वाला जिंक्स पर बैठा है वाह मेरी गलती है अभी भाई मेरी गलती
just absolute carnage here, but No Slack victors. Almost 32-minute game. Jeez. Okay.
It's crazy.
15 point बोलते placement point 4 मिले अपने
by
को
some of these cup teams coming in. I mean, I had high hopes for a team like No Slack, who I've always said has had a lot of growth over the weeks, but how surprised are you guys at how well they're doing?
vitality कितने मार रहे बे vitality पे बाप
I'm
टीम है
not
ना
too surprised just yet because I've always said
हाँ,
like, our
vitality,
region
VP ये सब
has the
मैं भी
most
तो
depth
अच्छा खेली
out of any region, and I've said this ever since we go back to 2019 Avenger, and I think it's fair to say like these teams can still hang, and we're 2 games
Top
deep.
4
They've got some
में
good
अपन
positions, and there are no pushovers. They're going to be able to work with them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the
एक सेकंड पहले गेम में कोई तो बोला था ट्विस्टेड माइंड पे नजर रखो नजर बहुत बाप टीमें नीचे Just saying. Stack team. Huh? I just want to say. W.
So you're slightly exhausted from traveling, from everything that went on with PGS. That's also been exhausting. It's tough to compete. They're at their rest of their home and just chilling out.
कोई तो बोला था औकात भी नहीं है करके वो उसको भाई पढ़ी भाई उसको जाने दो ना 2 बार पढ़ी ना उसको जो बोला था पढ़ी ना उसको मेरे से पढ़ी चैट वालों से अलग पढ़ी बेचारा अटेंशन खाने के जगह पे 4 गाली खाया उसने सोचा रहेगा मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ लाइफ में करके उसको पढ़ी हो जान दो अभी वो मैटर
To yourself, we should be there. We should be the ones that are able to try and rival for these spots, and there's gonna be a lot of hunger behind those barrels for sure.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff. It really is beautiful stuff.
basically
looking at some
main
of those cup teams and
ये game
how
में
hungry,
एक
like you said,
mortar
they
है,
are to get in. And they're voracious
एक
at the
bazooka
moment.
है,
But it will be interesting
और
to hear
nade
some
है,
of these regional teams
और
and what they're thinking about
zone
these
nade
games as
है.
well. As we do have a
ये
listening
4
with
ये सब
VP,
याद रखना नेक्स्ट जब
and
हम लोग
hopefully
खेलेंगे
this
ना
time,
हम
you know,
लोग
it's not just
स्पेसिफिक
the
यही
silence
चीज
of
लूटने वाले
construction workers. They're
और
just
सारे
super
टीम्स
focused.
वो चला रहे थे
Hopefully we'll hear
आउट
something this time.
Let's
उसका
listen.
आवाज गया क्या
One more.
ओ कॉम्स हो रहा है
You
कॉम्स
see him, Nix? Just shoot outside. Shoot there. Outside, he's outside, Nix. No.
I'm blue zoning it 4 times. Come.
He's on that wall.
I'm blue zoning everything, chill.
Yeah, give me a second.
Nice.
Nice teammates on the fucking top.
ओ वो अंदर ही था
They knocked
ये रहा
someone.
रिकॉल इसलिए रिकॉल नहीं करते कोई
Did you rest?
समझा
No.
The 2 guys. 2 guys, no? Did rest?
It's the EP. It's the EP.
P
Yeah.
coming in, they're coming in with a lot of expectations on them, but also they're coming in somewhat
Bro,
cold,
what
right? They've
if-
just traveled, they've just haven't played all.
व्हाट इफ अपन ऐसे जगह पे कूदे जहाँ पे बाजू में रिकॉल सिस्टम है लेकिन हम गाड़ी नहीं ले, क्योंकि गाड़ी अगर वो लोग कंपाउंड में दिखाई देगा, बहन चो 4-4 जोन ग्रेनेड मारा बे एक बंदे पे, आत्मा गिरेगी उसकी। हाँ मैं बोल रहा था व्हाट इफ अपन रिकॉल के बाजू में कूद के लूट के उधर ही सुमड़ी में बैठे रहे, कोई ना कोई तो आएगा। देखो फ्री किल। हाँ क्या बोलते हो? गाड़ी सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है, गाड़ी सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, वो इंपॉर्टेंट है प्राइवेट जेट। प्राइवेट जेट, जो भी टीम जीते ना, सब लोग अपने प्राइवेट जेट से जा रहे, नोटिस करना।
Into that one as well. He let him feel the hope of bringing his team back before cutting it short.
I think it's because it took 7 seconds to kill him, because he was only shooting his toes. It's like 5 damage, 6 damage,
अरे
5
पर ये
damage,
विनिंग
2
मेंटालिटी
damage.
नहीं है। वाह भाई, क्या बात है, क्या बात है।
Let's not have this conversation that we have PGS of like, what does constitute as 1 damage in real life? And I'm like, well, I don't know, like a nail being ripped off. And everyone's like, no, it's not that, it's not that. But we also do actually have no damage to you guys at home, because you've got half a code to redeem. Now, what do I mean by that? As you can see below us, half of the code, you've got to go on a scavenge hunt. You've got to go on social medias and find the other half of the code. So make sure to write that on down and then go and find the other half of the code.
Recall करना, 10 सेकंड नेट पे के रिकॉल करेंगे, ऐसे थोड़ी होता है भाई।
Free G coin, right, Blank? I know
बाबूराव का स्टाइल थोड़ी हो रहा है।
What the hell?
What
the hell?
Strays, I know.
मैच चालू तो 30 सेकंड पे है, चले क्या? अभी क्या मैप 3 है ना, मैप 3?
Yeah, I would love to go on a scavenger hunt myself, but being on the broadcast and a humble guy, I'm not going to pick this up for myself. Obviously, it's all for you guys. All for you guys. And I might look for it just for the competition. Okay, maybe I get there first. Who knows? But yeah, you can find the other part of the code over on social media. But I will glow that if I found it today after the next couple of games.
Well, we are moving on to Tago next. And so far, I think Blanks really hit the nail on the head, Avenger, is that our cup teams looking fiery to start things off. 2 games, only a small sample size, but it has definitely gone their way so far, looking good.
Yeah, but also you can't take away, it's a best of 5, top 8 goes through the finals, right? So at this point, I would say that, again, we're talking about a cutoff for top 8, but somewhere between 25 to 31 points or something like that. 3 of these guys just need a few more points. Then they're literally in the top 8 and they're literally in the grand finals. Yeah, true. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, unless they go 0-0-0 and the other teams go popping. I think Hive is in at this point. Also, the confidence from these 2 games is going to be easy for them. So now, you know, the 13 other teams that are not guaranteed, don't run into Hive at this point. They're absolutely going to destroy you. Mogo is an absolute tear at this point. So yeah, avoid them at all costs.
Yeah, not too surprised that again Mogo being picked up by this team has been able to make some waves. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense, right? Because the thing is that they technically could have huge impacts on this lobby here, Blank, despite just already being in a great position to be able to advance on. And I don't think they'd mind at all being able to take out some of the top dogs and send them down to some of the lower portions of this tournament and see if they get unlucky there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Hive, like we said at the start, if they get towards those late games, they're very, very good. It's been slightly disappointing where they're not able to quite close some of them out, though, right now. But I think even so, the amount of kills that they're getting, the way they're getting towards the end of the game, I really don't think that if you're a fan of Team Hive, you can be very disappointed with this. I think you should actually be very elated considering the teams that they're going up against. I think Martin brings up a great point as well, is that, you know, maybe some of these top teams, they're feeling a little bit of the exhaustion slightly from travel days, which absolutely is the case for a lot of teams as you go through a grueling circuit. But even so, I still think they're doing fantastically well against some of these very, very seasoned players.
One thing's for sure, PUBG it doesn't sleep in 2026 is the best way to describe it. Martin. There was Master Series going on this morning. There was PWS in South Korea going on this morning, which I was watching as well and watching some crazy stuff go down. But here's some numbers of Mogo going up against Satta from No Slack. And I'm very impressed if we see, Martin, another fantastic Finnish roster finally rise on up, I'm not going to complain.
That would be great. I mean, we already have Crazy firing at all cylinders, but we need some to join him, right? We need to see some performance coming in from some of the Finnish guys. So it's good to see No Slack coming in here. Sapta, some of the guys. Kovalevi, obviously a legend in the scene. Only 20 years old. 28 years old. And yeah, and at this point, for me, he's still got
some
years.
हम एशियन और गए तो EMEA में कैसे वहाँ का फॉर्म भरा
that he has available, then coupled also with he's actually still a great player. I can see great things with him coming.
All right, well, thank you very much. We will let Blank join us after this game. It's me and Martin going to be bringing you Tago here to figure out how it's all going to go down. We have a decent playing path for all of these teams to get situated and good to go for game number 3.
Yeah, but it's also an easy plane to go all the way over down to Yang here, James. And Tago to start things off with. This game could solidify 3 to 5 teams in that top 8. We have had an insane amount of performance here coming from the teams that have Hive here looking good, especially if we have, I'm just saying, we're starting Northwest. A lot of teams are up there. It kind of feels like one already. So, yeah, let's see what happens.
Let's see indeed.
Character दूर है उसका नाम दूर है character दूर है बे कुछ पता है कितने तुम
around that terminal position. So I mean, normally for the usual split of Twisted Minds, any potential threat will be coming from terminal to start things off, but I don't know if X-Howl wants to be rumbling with Twisted Minds just yet.
Bro,
again, not had the easiest of starts here to this tournament. They had a brilliant game 1, obviously.
But
that south side was a
private jet. Please.
That's a circle that almost no one has except for this is actually in a good spot to take some high prior here. So let's see what happens. Also, get some stuff in here. But yeah, good to see good to see these guys coming in and doing great things. Obviously, we saw Scav last year.
Mad boy.
We saw him throughout some of the rosters, right? We've
big
expectations with him. Kovalevi, obviously a legend, Face Clan analyst for a few years, and then he had some hiatus hanging out in Thailand, helping out some of the teams in the Southeast region. So that's cool, but yeah, now back playing. That's awesome. I love that. I hope they do well. I hope they go through. And I would say, if you have after 2 games, 25 points, 31, 32 is your safe spot for top 8. You are chilling. And that's awesome to see for them to join into the grand finals, obviously.
That's how you know somebody's got real passion for the game, right? Because Kovalevi has been a name in the background for so long.
Right.
And we didn't really get to see him on like PC stages and things like that. But he was like, I guess he was like, you know what, screw it. I'm coming back to play. This is going to be great fun.
So coming in here, Nixie Hive. Oh, this is a big one to take down early on here. We're talking about, is Hive safe yet? We would think so with 29, but not if they go out like this with 0 points in a couple of games. But VP coming in and they're thinking we just need 1 or 2 pretty big games and we're actually into the top 8. It's all to fight for still games and a best of 5. We've had it already in PGS here and we've had it throughout the year so far. What is your thoughts kind of in this? Do you think it's a lot of pressure onto the teams, or is it just like this kind of new grind set that's coming in for the teams? It feels like it's a little bit more difficult compared to what we had for the prior years.
Yeah, it's huge pressure, I feel. Like, I mean, the thing is that, well, okay, when we had like group stages and go towards finals, everything was quite elongated compared to what we have now. It's such mad sprints that you're gonna have to somehow prevail on. And in a region like ours, where I'll say it, exactly the same thing I said before, our region is the most deep when it comes to skill. In 5 games, man, anything could happen.
Yeah.
I think the teams are relishing the idea of getting to the finals and being like, please, get to the final. By hook or by crook, at least there we can show across longer portions of games that we're the best.
If you told me this was going to be the top 3 after 2 games, I was going to be like, no way, that's not happening. Like, we're going to see a VP up there, we're going to see Navi up there, we're going to see a Twisted Minds up there. They're close, but still not the top 3. That's insane. So obviously, also still, again, only playoffs. It's not the finals, but still there's PGS points going on here.
Oh my God,
Hive eliminated in 16th here, James. We're talking about it. 3 back-to-back 0-point games could be huge for them, but this means that there's some other teams that's going to be getting the big points in this game.
Yeah, it was an interesting one, right? I think Virtus Pro obviously challenging for the vehicles that they were. It made a lot of sense that coming in from GoDoc that maybe Hive would lose 1 or 2 if they also wanted to challenge for those. But then going to this bridge when they did feels like a very bold move, like as early as it potentially is in this game. And you know, TMO
अभी अपने को ये गेम के बारे में इतना मालूम नहीं है, तो ऐसा फुक्कट ऐसा ज्ञान पहले से अच्छा देखो कि क्या हो रहा है करके.
This was easy to clean up for the lobby against Hive. Very easy.
टेबल टॉपर्स रोटेट कर रहे थे, देखा ना क्या हुआ?
See what happens with that.
हम रोटेट नहीं कर रहे, देखो ना क्या होएगा? कुछ तो इंटेंस होएगा.
Let's see if they're able to get deeper than this here. Very open on this kind of western side of the map. It's very congregated towards the center now. Just vertical line straight down the middle. A lot of space in the open compound, and actually, I see a lot of teams kind of taking these compounds, especially we saw in PGS, it was taken early, but now I think a lot of teams, they kind of realize, like, if you take this early on, it's going to be crashed, and it's just like a full four-way split between the north, between the east, and the west, and the south side, and it's so easy to crash with all these walls, especially in 2026 here playing TVP. Like, it's so different. To lock this down is very difficult. I like this though from Ascent, locking down school here. They have a somewhat central position. We have a lot of water in play in the southern side, so no, doesn't make sense just yet. Something big, and here they can actually get tons of information from TMO though. Another great team. Good to see these guys coming in. Vitality and Levante, a dangerous player to put on some 3 gear.
Drop के बाजू में 4 और drop.
What was surprising me more than the top 3 actually is the fact that Vitality has 0 points in 2 games. Like, I have high hopes, high aspirations for Vitality throughout this year for 2026. And of course this org does too, right? Like, we kind of alluded to it and we're very direct with it during PGS. It's very clear, Vitality wants a team to try and make to EWC. They want points on the board. They want to beat Falcons at the Esports board. Never mind be successfully. So hopefully the guys can get back on the bike, get themselves a rolling down the hill.
ये सीट चेंज करके मार रहा था, क्या कर रहा है? वो किसे मार रहे बे?
Oi!
Bonk.
That's huge. That's Divix down. That's a big player to take down. CCINX though, under tons of pressure here. 17 HP. He's gonna go for the flush. He's gonna go to get in here. He actually Sosis catches him. They might be able to get Divix up and save here. Let's see what SG does in this one here. That's a mayday I've ever seen one here. Coming in quick. Coming in with a lot of damage. Already half HP. Melman finds CCINX here. Are SG gonna commit to this one here? Or is Divix actually gonna survive this one, James? I'm a little bit questioning this one here. Now on the other side, Diogo Benito and Kristalny trying to get some shots towards Slack here. No, Slack is not slacking for this one, that's for sure. They are, I think, coming in hard.
I think both teams are quite concerned about the potential of a rotate in from the north, for like Nemesis as well as S2G. So I think they're a bit cautious about how much they want to take this fight. Wepa and Chilla were repositioning themselves, and it looks like they're going to disengage from it, knowing that there's the potential that somebody could quite easily come in third party. But also where Nemesis was, with the potential for them to be able to pick up Diffx much easier than them be able to get their blue chip out. Then yeah, they kind of had the upper hand in it for sure, right?
ये लो ऐसा पूरा टीम पूरा ऐसा गोल घूम के लोग पीछे के टीम को पकड़ना है.
Nemesis here, not really the angle I'll go for if I was in this spot here. Again, they have pretty high prio from where they are currently, James, and yeah, sending it out a little bit. Obviously, school is under the red zone, but still, I would be hiding and waiting a little bit inside school. Don't lose cars, don't lose armor. You have a great spot to lock things down, and maybe with if this next circle locks in down on the southern side to school, they could have a great game. I don't want to see them lose any players. Survivability is so important. Having 4 alive towards the late game is so impactful compared to being 2 or 3 if you want to win games.
And if it wasn't for what happened at the beginning of the game, right, I would say that they're normally very good at keeping 4 alive into the later stages of the games and just being able to somehow work with it for there. We saw some magic from them, honestly, when it came to the Masters at the end of 2025. Somehow able to thread the needle with 4 alive was Hive in a lot of scenarios. And again, I think that they've just leveled up with having Mogo in 2026 but not the best start in game 3. As for now, we're just waiting for all of these teams to slowly come in from the north. 3 big names, Soul, Virtus Pro, as well as Twisted Minds, trying to find themselves a spot up in the north of this circle.
Circle closing just shortly, and I'm kind of guessing myself here with this 2-2 split here. They could be having a great game. They're locking down some of the 2 highest prior position with this one. Twisted Mind moving in slowly. Virtus Pro moving in slowly here. They're also like, okay, we don't have a higher prio. We don't know where the circle going with this much water. We're not going to commit too much just yet. We're just going to get info. Just going to try to get a little bit deeper, step by step here. And yeah, it might be a slow start for VP, but these guys have huge impact. Rolling here.
This game's slow start for everyone, isn't it, really? Apart from Hive being torn apart, and then a few fights here and there on the west. But our circle is about to close. Where are we going to go? As already, actually, you see, as Ascend moved out of school preemptively a little bit here, a pre-drive, and looks like they're going to turn the right bomb back to school. Listening to T-Bone's comms and Ascend's comms throughout the scrims and stuff like that, they're all about the pre-drives. As should a lot of teams be, right? It is the best way to try and get you to where you need to be, and be totally okay with going back if you need to. Having that one anchor player still there just in case.
Yeah, and they didn't get punished for it either. Now, on the other side, we're talking about this compound always being crashing. Now, construction workers coming in, TMO also coming in here. It's going to come out on top of this one. Justice finds Fix immediately. He's not the big player to come in. The Welsh Dragon himself, now Pixelating the guys, needs to try to reverse this.
I think exactly what you said means that there's some urgency about taking this fight, right? Because a lot of teams might be eyeing this up. Like Seoul, for example, might be eyeing this up. We've seen like 3 or 4 teams co-inhabit this compound, knowing that you can get away with it for a long, long time here. So the Mythov currently trying to dislodge them as quickly as possible. Smokes go down, but construction workers is dug in like a tick at the moment. Heyman's gone. The rest of the Mythov, I don't know. You're going to need a lot of nades, and you can't even necessarily throw them right at the window. That's a perfect one, though, but it doesn't do enough damage. He's able to get a bit of cover.
Also disengage the fight a little bit here for Naleb. Tries to get into the other spot. It might be daytime here, but the fog is heavy on this compound. Smokes everywhere. Justice trying to get a little bit of more information from now on this with the guys on the same side of the road here. Pixelic with a shotgun. It's going to be a little bit different with the engagement here. Levante takes down no slack. Absolutely destroyed here. Vitality starting to level up just a little bit. Points on the board for them here. One big one could be huge. Smoking up inside. I like this for them.
Okay.
That's a good engagement here, James.
Yeah, you can't give Levante a FAMAS. That's illegal. Because look what he'll be able to do with it. But yeah, more attempts at trying to be able to either slow them down or continue to put the boot in. That's double blue zone, but it's not really covering much of the building. So what they're trying to do is push them into other locations in that building and then nading it out, which is a smart move, but nothing's connected here for the Mythov. They're wasting a lot of util here to try and make, unfortunately, nothing happen.
I'd love to see these either go in the roof or in the middle, obviously coming inside the house here. It's always hard to, in these kind of longer houses, to get multiple of it kind of locked in, but yeah.
Coming
out on that side here. The disengage might be happening just a little bit sooner than we expected here, James. TMO getting off of it, popping all the tires, and now, just taking the advantage of this, that they locked them down. With all your utilities spent already here, James, it might not be worth committing further.
I think if this compound stays in for more circles, I think it's inevitable that Seoul has something to say about it later on down the line. But we'll see, as construction workers still waiting on out. Obviously, Pixelic, the one that's joining on this team here.
No, top 8 will advance for the next. I think top 2 will straight up
pick up overall. I mean, Pixel, he loves the game. He does. He loves the. Did you see him dressed up as his construction worker on his socials?
Top 2 will qualify.
He's a funny one.
I was actually a little bit sad to see him step back a little bit here, but now with him in, he's a TPP specialist, and with this circle here. They're going to be inside this next one and fighting a little bit more with TMO.
Mostly
side here of Sangam, we're going to see, oh my god, Lou taking down Quizzy, clearing this one out here. They're going to be fine as well. On this southern side here, they actually have quite a lot of space to go ahead for this one here. And also, if they want to get the rest of the team in. Oh my goodness. Hello?
Well, we came a little 1 second too late to the party, I think.
It's like strike a post stance and you're dead. And they're out. Yeah, it's Na'Vi being wiped out here. 10 points so far, James, in 3 games. Is this the Na'Vi that we know and love? I don't feel like it just yet.
No, not yet. I mean, it's funny as well when we look at the overview of what actually just happened there, where they died, where the vehicles are. Okay, they tried to crash, it didn't work. That's pretty much the tail of the tape for that one. Virtus Pro. Okay, you guys have a BRDM coming in from the north side. There's a world where you could do something with this, as Licorice is going to use it to scout on forwards. I think you're right, though, about Na'Vi, but again, it's so hard to tell from 2.5 games, 3 games. Like, two smaller sample sizes is what I kept saying during PGS. Like, it's hard.
And then
to,
the day's over.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Bhai,
Best of 5 here is a different beast, and
ये लोग बीच में आके drop
I'll say this
मंगा लिया
though,
क्या?
once we've
Drop
seen
क्या पे
VP, once we've
इसको
seen
देखो.
these guys have a BRDM, they usually have a very, very deep late game. So for the VP fans out there, I think
भाई
they
ये
might
live
be able
जीतने
to
का मेरे
grab
को ये वाला.
into the double digits. How deep they get into the top 8 for this game here.
Boys, center clear. कोई tension नहीं, आगे बढ़ो.
Full 4-man squad coming in from Songam. A lot of information is able to be shared here from Betulin.
ये सामने वाला mountain खाली है, आजा boys.
And let's see the direction that they're kind of ending up going to here, James, because they actually control the vast majority of the southeast side.
What's funny about that is that's one of the latest glider pickups I've seen in so long, like from Mithul. So he's very okay with the idea of like, okay, I'm going to go out, I'm going to get this much later in the game than usual. Still have it available to me and try and scout forwards. I mean, it's either that or you try for an emergency pickup, send one up, but even then you're kind of slow coming down, so you'd be way more vulnerable. So it's good here for Betulins, but I mean, unless they get a hard shift, there's gonna need to be some moves going on here. As you say, he's gaining some valuable information.
So it's a parallel timeline between the glider and
ये लोग इधर fight चल रहा है, plane लेके चला गया.
But we have to swap over to construction workers and TMO with this one. Pixelic finds Justus. Nice. And now Micah with a big one here finds Pixelic. Vard does get the confirmation on Justus here now. Neil has to run through. He's on fire though. He can only. Oh my God, Micah so well executed here with the Molotov being down. Vard is just 8 HP here. Can he make something happen?
Good question. He's been the clutch master in the past as Vard for be it FaZe before and now be construction workers now. He is phenomenal. But will he be able to do something against 3-man at the moment for the Myth-Off? Coach tries to go around flashing himself. Trying to be kind of cheeky with it, but realizes now that Vard has gone on for another angle here, gone into the interior of this building. Where's the rest of the Myth-Off? Man's coming down. Vard actually does take down Mika. As I say, clutch factor control.
Up and आ
It's just a different beast here. Now Soul comes in. You can see it. He-Man actually coming in too. From the backside of the parachute, but this is rough, man. With Soul just coming in to clean this up. Bart's just going to be dead. Phil first finds him. Construction workers and TMO in a mutual destruction situation here. Him and coming in with this one, obviously, with the pickup here. He's going to get a helmet, no vest, and a gun with 15 bullets. Yeah, he's going to try, but it's not going to be a lot.
This was like, you know, when you see like the nature documentaries of whales kind of spinning around fish for a while to boil them all up and then eat them. That was what Soul was doing on that compound. They were just waiting, salivating over the idea of being able to hit that. And eventually they did get in for the cleanup here. Not too many kills available to them. We're not obviously doing that, but you want to do it as cleanly as possible. And obviously they took no knocks, took no casualties. And are now trying to shoot down Ares, who's deep in the blue. Whilst
I'm trying to see if you can get the explosion here. Maybe the timing is good unless he crawled away from the car here, but let's see. No, it's not enough. But, the cover! Oh, it flipped in the wrong way. Oh, he hit him! He actually got him. That's the point coming in from Medusa here now. Jogo Benito in a big fight with Bushido Wildcats here, losing multiple players here. Slaven trying to survive this one. It's a 2 versus 2 effectively between Marco and Rosberg and Jogo Benito. And you're just, you know, sitting in a barrel at this point here, James. It's rough to defend for this, but let's see if Simon and Slaven can do something. Good nade, 37 damage done.
Yeah, it's like the suburbs of Songarm, and it does actually see quite a lot of fights going down towards the later stages of this. Okay, so there's no opening on the position that he actually ran on past. Yes, Co-Marker will be able to get out of dodge here for the moment. Jogo Benito not been too aggressive on this one, but they do have 13 points. And as I mentioned here, it is just top 8 cutoff. Top 8 and you're through.
Geometry, physics, chemistry,
you don't necessarily have to be blasting out of control to be kind of all the way up to the top here to be able to make something happen across these 5 games. And currently, Jogo Benito is doing enough. We'll see if they can continue that on.
Yeah, we will indeed. There's a continued in sentiment though. 16 PGS point for first and 8 for 8th place here. So you gotta make sure you get as deep as you can. But sure, grand finals is the main goal for the direction here. P90 and full 3 gear for Perfectus. That is scary for S2G here. Can he do something? That's a great nade. Does 37 damage. Can he continue this one? As for Joe Wood to push it to Wildcats here. Twist might continue with the utility here, James. Can they get an opening on S2G? They're trying to lock them out on the southern side here. Trying to get control of this and a perfect circle to continue this fight without having to disengage for the circle.
That's a good nade against Practice, but it actually does bounce exactly on him. Yeah, if I was S2G, I would be quaking in my boots. Slowly running the game, they lost CC next, of course.
player down Timo नहीं कैसा हो रहा है भाई?
Would be deadly here for them, especially with
अभी भी अगर
Practice
उसने नाम
laying
change नहीं
in
किया.
wait. He is just waiting for them to pop their heads over, and that P90 gets straight into their faces. But
और तीनों बार उनका टीम का पहला नॉक
here to try and get a
टीम
little bit more information behind them, just to make sure that they're not going to be backfilled on.
The scary part is that Factories doesn't have a big amount of cover already. Oh, would I love to see those Dorito fall onto S2G and just roll them over? That would have been fun. But now the engagement comes to a little bit of a great stun grenade here. Multiple smokes open up as well. Nate's coming in the corner. It's going to be down. Example. And now the sweep from Perfectix on the other side here. He's going to come in and confirm this one. Lou actually gets it. Now he swings in, reloads, and tries to go for another one here. Perfectix can see multiple of the guys, but doesn't really open just yet. He's waiting for the other guys to come in on the left side. Utility being committed again here. That's a great nade on it. 58 damage done.
Including around the right hand side against them as well here with the P90, trying to do something where he can. But Baron actually beats him out with the AUG. Perfectix down. It almost looked like a brilliant SWAT team maneuver coming in from Twisted Minds, and they do finish off S2G here. And they need to get out Perfectix as fast as possible so they can be far alive. Looks like the smoke goes down, and they do get this res off. It almost looked a bit dicey there for Twisted Minds, but they do execute here and get everybody up.
अपने तो लग गए.
Okay, that's actually huge for
अपने
them.
पास ना zone है ना
on the
कुछ
southern
है,
side,
सारे लोग मार रहे
Killer
हैं,
doesn't make it out to get an impact on it. So Twisted Minds being fall alive with the controller they're going to have here. This looks like a Twisted Minds qualification to the top 8 here, but they will continue their campaign for this one here. Nodi though gets down to cross, but Simon goes down as well. This comes in and Habibi opening up in the mini.
Yeah, VP going really kind of aggressive on this one, making sure that they can actually leapfrog ahead forwards here. Unfortunately, he's down to the explosion of his own vehicle. More nades will go forwards, trying to get rid of X-Howl across the way from them. Does it bounce? Actually, I mean, they hit the shots anyway. It doesn't matter. It's all on Odin here to try and do something about this. He's on the other side, but he's more concerned with the fact that Soul is about to bombard him.
That's a great nade here. Tons of damage done here. Is more being committed? No, not just yet here. Soul needs to have this fight on the western side here. They need to engage onto Ascend. They're going to do that instead. Maybe they're thinking a quick kill could open up the door here. Adusi goes down too, and Bushido Wildcats actually eliminated.
This is very bold by Soul to try and make this work, and Keta actually does straight away as they're trying to crash on forwards. Down as well. I think there's only one left here for Soul really to try and make something work with it all said and done. Might just be Phil first once again, but Molodoc's here with a nade actually knocks Phil first. It's all gone awry here for Soul. Oh no.
He dropped the nade after he got knocked, and it confirmed himself, knocked a teammate, and exploded a car, and Soul's out sadly. I actually love the campaign that they had throughout this one here. Eodon Mavesi managed to survive to 6th place here. That's huge for X-Howl, but 3 gear outside the zone. He's going to have a hard time getting into this next one here.
Can we get 2 points?
Capitalizing on the Songham suburbs. I've kind of going for all of this. Still have a little bit of a compound available to them just north of Songham at the moment.
That's their qualification, James.
Yeah,
it looks like
absolutely.
Right. dead center, uncontested, all 4 alive. But we'll see what Twisted Minds has to say about that. If they engage on the southern side, crash into that, what's going to be happening?
Yeah, that's exactly the thing that I was thinking, right? There is a world where I think that this might get a little bit overzealous with this split and might get punched down. We'll see. Looks like actually they're already moving back to try and reinforce their own position here. So giving up a little bit of that roadside, I think is a mature decision from Vis, while these teams are scrapping on the northern side, as Odin is trying to do something about Virtus Pro, but it's not working out.
A lot of damage done here already. Now they're just looking at trying to get eliminated quickly here. Beamies taking down Odin, and X-Howl is out on 6th place here. That means the VP 4 guys strong on the northern side, and now with the fight ahead of them, it's going to be a sin. But 3 kills for Nixie, 4 overall here for VP. It's a big game for them. They did indeed jump into the double digits. Let's see how deep they can go, though. This campaign for them, and how far they can take it, relies on the fight that they're going to have with the Send just short. But they are 4 guys strong. They've been having inside school. There's a lot of loot inside school, so they have plenty of nades, plenty of utility. Nixie has a dangerous rock to sit on here, though. That could be the first opening knock onto it's Chris here. Some damage done.
Trying for something. Pop some tires as well. Trying to limit any potential movement coming in here from Ascend. It's an interesting one from Ascend's POV because I feel like they kind of had the choice of where they want to go, and they've been in school for the majority of this game. Being able to try and do something about the teams that lie ahead of them is difficult. You've got Virtus Pro, you've got Twisted Minds with Perfectix that has a Lynx as well. Have they just given the entire armory to Perfectix? What is going on?
He's just got a Lynx, he's just got a P90. He's like, no, this man's not stopped. Yeah, you might have not gone to PGS, but here's all the loot. Go absolutely ham here. And now with this one here, it is a home turf circle for a cent, but you're coming in and coming off from this western side here. You don't have much control. You don't have a lot of cover. I think they're on tons of pressure at least so far. Back to a mini as well. Shooting with the Lynx, then back to the mini. Tons of pressure onto this one. The Nodi actually takes down correctly. Lots of damage done to VP here.
Yeah, Nate goes forwards as well. Yoga Benito trying to be able to be dislodged as well as Virtus Pro is just rolling in against this. They actually do quite a bit of damage to Virtus Pro. Good stuff by Yoga Benito to try and deal with it. But Vis is pushing on out to try and grip this as well. Simon oh no, here's the BRDM. Lucarooks, get away from us.
There's 2 free points here. Lucarooks wants it. Wants to get one. And then C, can he get the other one too? Drive back. Oh, can he get that too? That's going to be a pretty easy one. There's one more point here to have from Nodi. And that's going to be fun. Look at this. He's going to try to explode him up, but not. Can Lucarooks get another point here? It's also the clutch. You have to remember 1 point for placement, 1 point for the kill too. With an 8 in hand here, Nodi. That's, oh my god, he's just going to jump in. Super well executed here by Nodi, actually jumping in. Oh my god, Lucarooks takes him down. Joker Benito out in 4th place, and VP gets the top 4.
Got some salvage points from Lucarooks. Good stuff here, but having a BRDM, it makes it a little bit easier to make that work. As Twisted Minds on this west side, still on the warpath. This Habibi is going to be shooting some shots against them.
No, there's no way. He gets another one. There's another knock inside. Oh, a Molotov. Oh my god. Oh, he's going to get so much damage done. If he's feeling it. If he's feeling this one here, he could take on a total domination onto Twisted Minds. But it's Example. He's up against Example. Says no. He sees his feet under the back tire and actually gets out. Now this though, we're talking about it. Can they hold it back? Can they lock this one down? And it's been everyone but themselves that's been doing all the impact and all the damage done here, James.
Surely this is free. Now, that being said, that's what I said for JDG when they were going up against Twisted Minds at PGS, and that did not quite go their way. Twisted Minds was able to come back from it. I think, though, this should have this one. They moved out at the right time to be able to put pressure on Twisted Minds, but they've let their foot off the pedal a little bit here to shut down what is the 700-time PEC PCS champions.
And 15 times MVP for across this entirety of this roster here. But yeah, locking this one down, and you know, all the cup teams, these guys are home and they're like, we're back, boys, welcome home. See if we can lock this one down here. 13 kills, 3 more to be had here on Viz, 2 on the side of Twisted. But it's looking like a little bit difficult. Viz actually has a really good lockdown on multiple angles for this one here. Habibi taking down some smoke cover too, alongside the rock that is sitting on. So much cover already for Viz here. And damage done to Badul Su.
इतना बड़ा zone है, छोटा zone नहीं है.
Things off for Twisted Minds. They are fully aware and cognizant now of the fact that there is quite a few angles here from Vis. That said, 1-1-1-1 in terms of split, although Habibi and Iron have now actually rendezvoused together, so that makes it even harder. I guess a lot of focus will now be on trying to shut down Pains, because if you do shut down the off angle here, they've done quite a good job of doing damage there. That really could even up things against Vis's current position with Twisted Minds still out of the circle, so there's going to be some push on them soon.
I don't see them winning this one unless Example gets on the southern side, honestly. It's difficult. He has 1 stun grenade. It's not a lot of smoke cover here, but they get Pains down. Pains know exactly where he is. He has a 3 helmet though. Damage not been done just yet. Oh my god. Look at how much connection is done though.
Yeah, the thing is that as soon as they he relayed information back, the Example had no cover and lying down in the open, he relayed that over to the 2 and was able to do tons of damage, just plus that nade as well. It's good execution here by Vis so far, knowing that he was completely exposed, and you might be the greatest IGL of all time, Batolins, but I don't think your knowledge, your execution, your know-how, your willpower is going to be able to get you out of this one.
Just trying to see if he's Habibi. There's no way he's doing that. The angles are big. I'll see if he can get this locked down with a scissor move. Pains has 1 angle. And yeah, it's going to be Can he get another point out of this, or is it just a full deny here, James? I don't really see if there's a point. And does he know the angle on the left side? Does he know that Arton is there? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They know
at this point with 13 kills in this game, they're qualified, right? So that's going to be the GG here for Twisted Minds. They're gone. This was a very important win for them in game number 3.
Twisted Minds is a qualifier. 101%.
Came their way in, but it is a win nonetheless, Avenger.
It is, and they were able to lock this down. Obviously, being early on in Song and the home turret circle for them paid off. Huge. But what an impact Twisted Minds had. Once they turned on 13 kills for them. An impact that they had here. Even though that they had to clear out Song Am with Chrissy and how late they were, and the glider play that they had throughout. They actually managed to step up big here. Also, Virtus Pro, huge clutch from Rookarooks. I'm not sure how many total points he's actually able to get from driving over multiple guys and also surviving for that deep. I think he got a 3rd place plus the kills you were able to get for both Twisted Minds and some of the other teams.
Yeah, of course, as we do have Blank joining back here to talk about everything that's going on from this. And I think when you look at how it went down here on Tego, how all of these fights were going down, initially a bit of slow rolling ultimately, but they were able to persevere with this when everything, all the battles were going on elsewhere. They were sitting low, sitting steady.
Yeah, it was pretty explosive towards the end. This sort of just weighs things out, but you could tell they were giving a huge amount of respect to these teams. Huge amount of respect to these teams, honestly, on the other side, from this to Twisted Minds, which overall is a really big deal. And again, for Twisted Minds, the fact they were almost able to kind of live this one out was sort of insane, and Perfectix also juggling 8 guns. It was a wild, wild situation.
I love that visual.
AWC 2025 PC winner कौन था?
While shooting them like a circus trick. But it will result.
क्या question है भाई?
It results in 19 points going the boys' way for Twisted Minds, who after that first game of Avenger, it felt like a joy to have Perfectix back on board, because we just hadn't, we just hadn't had regional play. We'd not seen him in PPMI, we'd not seen him in PGSs. It's great to see them back as full format.
Yeah, I love the instant impact from day one that we have from Perfectix again here, and obviously juggling all the guns, but you know, it's probably going to be him on the very top once we look at the rivals. Once you look at the overall impact we have throughout this one here. But 33 points, that means that Twisted Minds is guaranteed top 8 here. There's no way that they're going to be taken over here by 8 other team. So that's massive for them. The question is, can they hold on to first place? The 16 PGS points that's actually given out in this one here could be massive. It could be the tiebreaker. It could be the last couple of points to go through.
Vitality क्या हो गया यार मेरी favorite team?
PGS points has been going through these next 4 weeks.
I think one thing guaranteed though is I think Nemesis, I think Hive, to a lesser degree, I think no slack if they don't let their foot off the pedal as well. I think that these 3 teams should be able to be making it through already into that final, and it's great to see the competition coming in from those cups looking as strong and as well versed as they do. They look warm. They look warm into the game.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it is kind of sad to see Hive at the beginning of that game just fall flat on their faces. But regardless of that, the other games that they've played today have been fairly good. I think for no slack, again, that clutch factor I was talking about of how well they can play under pressure really comes into play on the Miramar that we saw there. And again, I think that that's really, really nice to see. Like you say, though, you don't want to see them take their foot off the gas, right? You want to see them just continue pumping those points, continue having those late game performances. I mean, they don't need to be going for a first, second, or third. 4th place with some kills is absolutely fine. It is great to see, though, Twisted Minds doing insanely well.
EWI is already qualified.
I think Avenger bringing up the point
last
of the
year
PGS
EWC PUBG winner. Love you, Rutik bhai. I already knew about this. Love you. I was testing the knowledge of my chat, if they know or they don't know. As a Battleground PUBG PC expert, the best game to ever exist. हाँ, उसका जो एनालिसिस्ट जो हूँ मैं, आई न्यू इट दैट दे आर क्वालिफाइड, क्योंकि आपने नोटिस नहीं किया रहेगा, लास्ट ईयर मैं उधर ही था. समझ रहे हो? बाजू में गेम चल रहा था उनका, तो I know about all such petty informations. समझ रहे हो?
That is here year on
Thank
year
you for the
on year.
40 minutes and good
It's a
day.
bigger surprise that someone else wins PEC than Twisted Minds wins it. Like, there's 15 other teams in the finals, but it's a bigger surprise that someone else wins than they do.
Gali
Right?
nahi do, gali
That's
nahi do.
the big one for me.
Is
but
it day,
yeah,
first day of tournament? This is day
I'll
one.
say
This is
though,
day one.
Twisted Minds coming in and they have something to prove. You have
Please,
to remember
Mumbai
the
and
grand
Sid ke
finals
saath kar lo.
of PGS 3, the
Pehle
last one we
bolte.
had, obviously. They got second last place. Like, they were in the bin directly.
But decent
And
games.
yeah, now they're back to prove that, yeah, they need the points. They need the PGC points to go to PGS, to go to Esports World Cup. No, they're not. They don't need it because they're the Esports World Cup defending champions. So if they get top 2 here, it's actually third place that goes. And also depending on what happens in PGS, we might have more teams coming through. So, but still, PGC points is important. That's your way to PGS. That's your way to PGC at the end of the year.
ये सब बात पहले बोलने का बेंच.
No, for sure. I will say as well, we can actually check in with Ascend from that game, of course, who had, again, pick a litter in terms of where they were kind of going, considering it was kind of a home turf circle for them.
पहले बोलने का भाई.
As much. Let's check in on those comms here and see what was going on for Ascend.
The Uzi is also driving.
किधर गए दोनों? अरे दोनों किधर गए?
Headshot one there.
छोड़ के चले गए बे.
One's 1 HP on the wall, vaulting in. Revival.
आप तो बुरा मान गए. मैं क्या बुरा मान गया? पागल है क्या? मैं जब भी बुरा मानेगा तो वापस टाइप नहीं कर पाएगा. ये कंफर्म इधर का मेन है.
Here, just put it south of me here.
अनलिमिटेड बख्शीदी करो, लेकिन उसके बाद जब बख्शीदी नहीं कर पाएगा उसका मतलब मैं बुरा मान गया.
Nice.
है कि नहीं चैट?
Blue. Nice try.
Gosh, imagine if Keter had come around that corner with that Panzerfaust able to do damage against Twisted Mind. That could have changed the complexion of those fights that were going down in those moments there, Avenger, but not to be the case here for Ascend. They've still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, they got some work to do. 641 damage though from Kera. He did have some impact here, but yeah, not a lot of kills to come through, James. And that's what I'm really worried about. Again, somewhat of a home turf circle for them. It ended in between Sun
हो गया चैट. दो गेम और. ये मेरे
you have to lock down school.
ए कौन बोल रहा था ये 2 बजे तक चालू होगा? ये मेरे हिसाब से खत्म हो जाएगा आधे घंटे का. 12 साढ़े 12 बजे तक खत्म हो जाएगा. मेरे को लगा क्लैश हो जाएगा इन्हें के साथ ना. 12:30 मैक्सिमम 1 तक खत्म हो जाएगा. इन्हें आराम से कर सकता है. वो बात अलग है कि एनर्जी की आत्मा गई है मेरी.
Work of them not getting a lot of points, and also Lou getting killed in this one here. That's what was really the rough start in this.
Yeah. Going up against Twisted Minds is going to be able to push on you after something like that. And did, of course, connect there with Perfect.
फर्स्ट किल है टीम, लेकिन लास्ट जोन तो उतना ही चल रहा है. मतलब लास्ट जोन एकदम एंडिंग जोन तक नहीं गया. वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा 4-5 मिनट बच गया.
I mean, the nades finishing them off here blank as well. It's always tough for Ascend. You're basically running into
कितने बजे है क्या भाई? इन्हें क्या होता है इन्हें?
Yeah, can I just say though, that Panzerfaust kill that he gets is like the aftermath of an episode of Grey's Anatomy. Like, straight into the gut is insane. Yeah, that's rough stuff. But well played. I think you're right. For a lot of our teams, when you get towards these late games, especially on TPP, it's when you're not fast enough transitioning from that position. And again, it happens so much where it's so stressful holding down a position like that for such a long time, and then having that play in the back of your mind that we have to leave and we have to get further position into the game. But as long as you're picking up points, picking up kills, and getting something on the board, it's not the end of the world. And although I think we'd all agree that Ascend maybe could have got further into that game, I don't think it's a horrendous showing from them.
No, I think so. Well, it's the stress isn't going to end there, Blank, because we got 2 more games remaining, and those 2 games will determine who is moving through into that finals already. So we're going for a break. When we return, the penultimate game of day number 1 for PEC is on the other side of this.
Port Desire, a city that don't belong to anyone, but everyone wants a piece. No laws, no oversight, just the jungle creeping back in, both the vines and the people. The mayor stepped in where the government couldn't. Said the city needed order, and they'd be the ones to bring it. Keeping the peace on their terms. I walked away from it all. Kept my hands in dirt instead of blood. But desire is a fickle mistress. The city won't let me go. It won't forget my name. I asked for nothing, and they still came and took everything. The mayors and anyone that stands in my way.
क्या बात है मूवी बे इसमें तो
They're gonna learn something
अरे
real
बाप
simple.
रे ये क्या है ये क्या है बे डायडू लात मार रहा है सोल का साइकिल रोटेशन देखो देख रहा हूँ नहीं क्या नो लो देखेंगे रोटेशन देख रहा हूँ
Running back towards nipple.
1 HP, knocked.
Run to the car. Let's shoot together.
मस्त
Fuck, he's proning again.
I'm netting.
वो क्या क्या मेरे इनके क्या मैं क्या
I'm putting rock headshot. I'm driving it rock. He's banned. That's yeah. Calling banned. That's yeah. Let's put left side, guys.
I'm stopping in front of me. And it's only smoking, okay?
Should be a solo guy somewhere. He's solo guy in front of me in the smoke. I'm driving on him.
I mean, they're probably 2 man.
Knock.
bro
I'm gonna be safe.
I'm gonna try to rest local.
माँ कसम
Reasonable. I may be reasonable. No, he's pushing you guys.
Push it from north.
Bro, we need to get the
माँ
yellow, guys.
कसम
Inside
Nice.
yellow. You can rest me. Care of yellow line. There's a guy in the open there. You can smoke to me.
2 up. 1 up.
यार बसर में भी एकदम क्लीन कॉम्स है बे सबका
You got knocked. They're dead.
I'm taking a smoke first.
फिर भाई सोल के प्लेयर्स कहाँ से खेल रहे हैं
Two
पागल
first
पीसी
aid
से
first. I don't know. So many bodies I think around. I mean, pixel.
बट ऑब्वियस वाले क्वेश्चन बट ऑब्वियस वाले
Both outside. Fuck. Both outside here. Outside like both of them. One more.
I'm getting shot by the row.
You see him, Nix? Just shoot outside. Shoot there. Outside. He's outside, Nix. No.
I'm blue zoning it 4 times. Come.
He's on that wall.
I'm blue zoning everything, chill.
Yeah, give me a second.
Nice.
Nice teammates on the fucking top.
उसने क्या डैमेज दिया बे उससे ना
Smoke me. Should be fine.
Leaving blue.
Right, they're all driving.
Knocked him. Nice. I'm driving.
Go straight
Above
down the
me?
road now. Come back down.
No. He's dropping already.
Get out, you're a fuck.
बाप रे उसने सब सामान ही गिरा दिया
Knocked someone.
They're not.
प्लेयर कौन मतलब गुड टीम ना
Did you rest?
No.
Oh, the 2 guys. 2 guys, no? Did you
It's
rest?
the EP. It's the EP, I think.
Yeah.
Let's go to yellow, but we need to be careful of down.
Knock on green if you guys can see that in the deep.
What do we do?
Can I go yellow line? But we need to spread out and use smokes and so on.
बाप रे गाड़ी से उतार दिया कौन मार रहा है कहाँ से मार रहा है
Same place. Down right. They didn't.
Don't waste it. Knock them. Oh, get the fuss.
भाई लेकिन इसमें नेट्स वेट सिवर विवर बहुत खतरनाक है बे बिजुका क्या कर रहे हो चंगा
The use is also driving.
Headshot 1 there. One's 1 HP on the wall, vaulting in. Revival.
तो जानते हो कॉल जहाँ ना बहुत सिंपल और प्लेन
1 HP.
Where how to shoot?
Here, just put it south of me here, so I can play here.
Getting fucking 100 here, Nate. You got flash.
हल्का सा ऑस्ट्रेलियन वाला एक्सेंट आ रहा था ऑस्ट्रेलियन प्लेयर्स है क्या इसमें Ah, yeah.
Oh no. I'm not sure I can answer that question. Let me think.
Answer kare, answer kare.
Overrated player.
Spicy. Underrated player.
Good question. State.
Most underrated player is I think Cristani from Yoga Bonito team.
अपना कोई है क्या?
Luka Rux as well. Correct.
वो अपन भी बोल रहा है.
I guess Quizzy.
Quizzy.
Fairest.
Sosed. His name is this.
भाई ऐसा लग रहा नावी में young players है सिर्फ.
Two in here.
Team on
I'd
die.
say Scav and I'd say Keda in my team.
मेरी चैट इग्नोर क्यों हो रही है क्या? कुछ किया भी नहीं. तो पागल है क्या? अभी से इग्नोर होएगा.
Nice.
I'm gonna say
Indra Ben, वो क्या है?
Yoga Bonito as well.
Oh, most overrated. Maybe James.
बाप रे.
I actually don't know.
नाम वाम ले रहे बे.
I'm gonna say Boostic for now, just because he doesn't have enough experience.
Say Boostic.
Oh shit.
Quizzy.
हरामी बंदा निकला.
From our team.
Underrated, overrated दोनों दे दिया बे.
Well, welcome back to PEC. Of course, we had some interesting answers there, some crazy answers. But anyway, we have got 2 more games remaining, and would you look at that? It is not the usual names you will be seeing taking those victories so far. One Rondo and one Erangel will now determine who's going to be top 8 moving on forwards. But despite those wins, Nemesis getting a win in second. Looks like getting a win, and Nemesis getting a win. It's still Twisted Minds Martin at number 1. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, look at the 8 placement points, but 25 kills, enough to be in 5th place on its own. Yeah, huge game. It's actually kind of crazy to see, but yeah, Viz on the other side, 8 kills only, but 14 placement points, leading the lobby here. Obviously with the win, the consistency that I've had so far. But yeah, it's looking good. But even for Team Vitality, guys, one big game, you're into top 8. Like it's not done with just 2 more games to go.
No, I totally agree. With it being such a short run of it all blank, there's still everything to play for here. And for a team like Team Vitality, we saw pop-off moments from them on international stage at PGS as well. So even a team like them in 16th place could easily make this happen.
Yeah, I think they're at this stage of the day, right? This is
the finals, top 8
after
the
the
finals
breaks happened. You know, everyone's feeling a little bit more calm. Code Blue. It's a Code Blue.
Code Blue.
In the Grey's Anatomy Hospital. Right.
All right, so we've had...
Stop that! It's not about Grey's Anatomy.
हम लोगों से एक गेम बहुत गंदा है ना. पहला गेम जोन वाला. बाकी सब
where
में
they
अच्छा
removed
निकला
a
है.
shell from somebody's body. I'm like,
They did. Yeah, they did. It was a big deal. It was like one of the I'm sorry, carry on.
Sorry, how old are you when you watch Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Bottom it doesn't get eliminated.
Show. Okay.
You go to lower.
This
top
is
8
a better
finals में अपन वैसा.
We've got the code down below. Now, you can only see half of that code. You need to go onto social media and find the other half of the code and redeem yourself it. Put them together and get yourself some G coin on board as well. Martin, do you agree?
उसको चाहिए chat coin.
What was that? What
That's
was...
like the codes coming together. Ka-clink. That's a 300 G coin right there. Ka-clink.
Oh, I thought it was like another Grey's Anatomy.
I thought it was another Grey's Anatomy thing as well.
The scalpels.
He loves Grey's Anatomy.
Free coins, free coins.
I love the Grey's Anatomy episode, but they're stitched together an abomination that's been exploded by a Panzerfaust.
all I had in my head, by the way,
I'm losing him.
Yes, you're definitely losing me at this point. All I had in my head when I was thinking about that is like, if you could create a Frankenstein of all the best components for like a PUBG player, put them together, who would you do?
Questions.
Yeah, well,
you
we should
combine the arms and legs of one player. Who would it be?
The problem is that I was thinking about it, and then I started thinking about the answers. It was like, well, the brain of Patulins, the shooting and hands of example. I don't know. I guess the legs of perfecting. Basically,
the
Twisted Mind.
What part of the body's that?
all the really good fingers. And Perfectix has got loads of those, as he's got himself 9 kills. Alongside on the opposite side of this, for Nemesis Avenger, So Said, who is in Nemesis, who actually also got some of the most underrated player from an old teammate.
Yeah, it's cool to see this comparison, but we also have to remember examples on 10 kills, guys. Mogor's on 9 kills. It's cool to see Nemesis up here, but
last game
holy.
Well, the game's starting. I'm glad we filled that with hard-hitting analysis.
Amazing stuff.
Blank, we'll see you after this one.
And the eyes of So Said. Bye-bye.
Yes. No, stop that. Get away with you. It's time to Rondo. We are getting going here, Martin, for game number 4. It's getting a bit urgent now for those teams on day number 1 to be able to make it through into the final.
Yeah, it's time to show up for this time here. And, with the circle start, this play starting over here, I could see a Jadina ending circle. We had one of those in PGS, actually one of the first ones. But yeah, it's a little bit rough one for the rest of the teams. They need to get into the far south or the far north. You're gonna have to grab cars or try to get out and get one of your all spots. Luckily, there's plenty of space to be taken here. Bushido Wildcats and S8UL though are dangerously close to each other, James. What's happening with that?
Yes, they are. I think maybe they'd be challenging. Okay, Danching is going to be the challenge point. Let's see if they're going to be able to do anything about it. Tommy's on board. Uzi's on board. Vectors. I don't know about this one just yet. So we're working with very limited loot here for this fight so far.
Yeah, Code Margo is winning it so far with an UMP pump action shotgun. Let's see if CCINX can close the fight onto him. Only a best. No helmet on CZI. A little bit scary for this engagement so far, James.
Don't want to be coming around and getting that shotgun. It will rip you apart here. Code Marco, all too eager to be able to have that peek off against him. I think that when you look at how it works here from Danching, there's kind of a high ground, low ground dynamic that S2G is more than happy to sit just on a little bit more of the high ground compared to the Bushido Wildcats, but the issue exists as well as Celtic technically has that roof that can actually overlook a little bit of it. There's just that building in the way slightly. You can see some shots coming in from him now, realizing that maybe something was open there, but nothing hit so far.
Yeah, and again, I mean, sure, the circle's on them here, but James, eventually, some team is going to rock up, and they're going to third-party this fight, or whatever remains of this after this one here. It's not really worth it. Best of 5 for Hot Dog here. It's not really what I would be going for if I was in the team going for it at this point here. And S2G, actually 11 points. They're fine. Bushido, 17 points. They're fine. They just need a decent game, and they're actually staying in the top 8 here. But this could be mutually assured destruction, and I don't really like seeing that in a best of 5 for sure. But let's see what comes out of this one here. Schiller and the boys. Some performance out of their PGS, but now taking on Bushido Wildcats. These guys know each other extremely well. If we see Turkey at a PNC, these guys are most likely going to be teammates. So, yeah, true. Let's see how this can rock this up here. But once we're done with this fight, James, I'm going to have to ask you a question. Who do you think is the most underrated player? I'm not going to ask overrated. That's dangerous. But underrated, we need to discuss once we have this hot drop done.
One semi-final.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we're in a bit of a stalemate.
Crazy, my
guy. I got asked that question that they might show on the video, so I don't want to say.
Okay, yeah. That's you might be wearing a shield, and that also reflect or deflect even.
The blue.
Yeah, they just never show it now, and I'm just like, I got away with that.
Yeah, that's well played, sir.
I did say a name.
That's good. That's good. Okay, yeah. Well, I'll be waiting a couple of weeks to see that when they announce that in week 4 finals.
Sure. And then you miss it. You're like, oh no, where is it? You'll have to go through hours of VOD. But anyway, we will see. As
no, there's no way he jumped into that. Oh my God, he actually hit him a little bit. Okay, you can tank that a little bit, and then he's not on fire anymore. Now half HP here for sure.
That was such a clown fiesta.
That was a little bit of a dangerous situation for Marco. He's 8 HP. Now he has to get a first aid from one of his teammates. And the Crossbow were like, what's going on?
I think both parties were like, you know what, it would be better if both of us, if all people involved stepped away and healed up after that.
Alright, Jogo Bonito. Exhal actually only heard one guy.
Insight.
Yeah, Exhal actually only heard one guy here, so
राहुल तो अपने बाजू में था, वो लोग तो कल्टी मार ले, अपन किधर है?
They could have pulled up if they wanted to, but they were drive scouting and didn't want any of it. They thought, we're going to be early. We're going to be prior 1 or 2 on one of this compound here, so we're just going to take something different.
कैसा वहाँ पे लिखे देखना top 8 qualify करके है बे, हाँ production तो है.
It's a steal, and already look at how many sharks around in the water.
Yeah,
looking to capitalize on this
bad.
one.
अपने इधर shift मार
like,
सकता है
when it
zone.
comes to teams moving in around them, sometimes what you will want to do in those kinds of hot drop scenarios is take to the roof and use that as a vantage point to be able to try and put on some pressure against your opponents in the same city. But you can't do that if teams are moving it around you, and then it makes it even slower, and then it makes it even sillier that you're just like, well, I guess we're stuck in dancing
now. We need more
points.
Binks team ऊपर आएगी तो GG. डरते हैं क्या?
You needed to end it quick, and now it's just gonna stale out. And for all the other teams involved, right? I mean, Virtus Pro beating Hongshan as early as they were. Obviously, that's gonna be their drop. They've got themselves a nice central spot. Just Yoga Benito moving in north of them, so I would be a little bit wary. See, it's on a roof. Oh, I'm scared.
Yeah, that could be too scary.
Final. क्या बात है बे?
Take where they are right in the circle. Actually, very, very good spot.
यही बचा है, मतलब यही game बचा है अभी.
Big game here. Look at that. Hold on. Made it big.
No.
Dangerous. We need
3-1
a
करके मारेगा. किसके लिए रुका है वो?
headshot upper body shot to get him down though. But
headshot body.
Can he stand still for just long
Head
enough?
body.
Or could they do a 3-2-1 together? Let's see if they are.
That's usually the play, right?
Yeah, exactly. Simon finds Corexia on the other side. VP maybe spreading out a little bit too much here, losing Corexia at this point here with the even before first circle closing. Want to see them compete.
Not the best of starts for them. A lot of smokes go down to try and get towards that drop, but it's not going to be the case here. Looks like S8UL did decide to take those shots. And not going to be successful. It seems like there was a lineup. The fact that the Maddest shooting and Odin was the one that was lining up the shots prior means that definitely was that opportunity.
PUBG 69th
anniversary.
PUBG 9th.
Little while before. And there's the director.
9th anniversary.
Thanks very much.
Promo code PUBG 9th. Let's go. That's not the promo code you're looking for, by the way. That's not That's not code blue. That's not code green. You need to go to social media and take the code that you got from the broadcast here, and then compare that up with the other blue and green codes that you see here.
Yeah. Do we get code red later on?
इसको चाहिए code word ले लो भाई.
Maybe.
Do we get code Marco later on?
That's code Marco right now. That's for sure. With Bushido Wildcats and G Ching. Even if I actually kind of hope that the circle ends close to them, so there's just going to be a 20-minute stale fight. Oh, that's 4 damage, not enough. But Kristalny, most underrated player here, if you ask Luka Rooks. I wonder why. Maybe because they're they live somewhat close to each other.
Yes. And then did he say Noddy was the most open?
Yeah.
Well, he's got mixed feelings about Joga Benito.
Yeah.
And I'm not too surprised considering they're knocking their players right now. As they've already lost Corexia, of course, to Joga Benito. As I think that, technically speaking, I guess there was a world where Virtus Pro might have actually got that blue chip, considering that we're smoked down on Corexia. And maybe eventually move away from that and try and go for that res. But they know that now, after this much time has elapsed, there's going to be a lot of teams still kind of sitting around them here. So maybe they're a bit more concerned about making any of those kinds of moves.
Yeah, I think so too. Now with this though, James, after this big game here for them, 22 points, a little bit more, and it feels like they could be unless we see, a big Ascent game, a big Navi game, a big VP game, any one of those. These guys just needs to focus on that, needs to continue fragging and getting that consistency inside the placements here. But yeah, it's a difficult one here, especially on Rondo. Difficult game to do so here. Now Seoul on the other side. Inside 7th place. I had big expectations to them, but still, we're not done yet, and I definitely think we're going to see them end up in the top 8 and go straight to the grand finals after day 1.
Yeah, I didn't know how to take this after watching them in the cups, because they got themselves a decent standing across 3 of the cups overall. They kind of just squeaked into this first day, like the bottom 2, to be able to get into this first day of gameplay as a whole.
Right.
And I think there's definitely some potential there. Obviously, individually, there's some players that I'm not even that familiar with on our usual regional play. Obviously, we know Pains, etc. But I was curious to see how they were going to stack up, and so far it's gone well. I think that compound previously did help them, of course. I think coming in from the edge on a circle like this late might go against them. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how they fare. Remember the week 2 or 3 where they had a third place overall that got them a lot of points. And yeah, for Dan Ching, that's a great shift. We're going to see the stalemate going on a little bit longer in Dancheng, but Nami taking more space, actually leaving a little bit of Toon Ling here. I'm actually a little bit surprised that they go up to the kind of northeast side of this one here. Nemesis locking down center circle with Melman, of course, coming in. Slaven and Jogo Bonito here. Where's your sights? Where's your dots? Where's your holos? What's going on here, Slaven? You can't be double iron sighting the AUG and the M24. I want to see more. You have to call that to the guys and say, hey guys, I need a sight, I need a scope, give me something. Put it in the car.
One thing that's very easy for us to take away from that is the fact that they've prioritized trying to get to what was the previous center over an elongated looting period, right? Like, because there's no way you'll be leaving without that. Looking for something else.
Yeah, exactly. And also, that's the first 10 seconds of my comms. If I don't find something, I need a scope, I need a red dot. Please, give me something. No, with S2G, they look like they're a little bit cornered here. They've disengaged quite a bit, James. Maybe because the circle is actually laying out as it is. Not Cold Marco with the nade here. That can actually connect quite well. Double nade going on to Schiller here. Half HP. More damage done here. Actually with a great impact. Oh my god, almost got him down. Nade could get him down here, James.
Yeah, I think because he's going to be healing in that corner, so he's almost certainly going to be actually tagged out. So he's gone through the door and gone for a little bit of cover. So good job from Schiller. I thought he was on that corner. I didn't actually see him go through the door, but that's good in the end. That was so down to the wire. That was very close, and a bit of an oversight of exposure there from S2G. Who, I mean, technically, you've made your opposing team spend quite a bit of utility for that and not get a knock. So I guess technically it's a good trade for S2G. Technically,
yeah. I'm sitting here with crossed fingers, crossed toes, and everything for a Danjing ending. That'll be huge. To see how everything intertwines with everyone being in and crashing into Danjeng, it'll be fun, but we'll see what happens.
एक बार अपन thanks बोलेंगे JB, BW और राहुल को, तीनों को thanks बोलेंगे. तीनों स्क्वाड के बीच में से अपन कहां से जोन में पहुंच गए बिना डैमेज का. So big shout out to you guys. Big shout out. Love you, मेरे जान करो.
We talked about this kind of northeastern split. Actually, it's somewhat of a greedy one. Having locked this 2-2 split down, they have the heaven on the northern side. We saw some fantastic games coming in from PGS, where Boostic and the Bias are, so they know this area quite well. We need to see a northeast shift for this to be great for them, though. They might have to move later on. Now, construction workers, second last place, James, after dominating the cops here. Was it the gust of magic that's missing, or what's your take so far here after 3.5 games?
मैं अपन सेंटर में है, लेकिन वो जोन एरिया अच्छा नहीं है लग रहा है मेरे को. जिस हिसाब से कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्कर का बंदा मार रहा था.
Compound fight on Tego.
I think अपन open में है.
I mean, okay. So they got caught on the west side of that Erangel game, admittedly between a load of teams, so you're just going to get destroyed, just like everyone got destroyed. And then eventually they got kind of dismantled on that Tego compound. I can't take much away from it so far, unfortunately.
Sample size.
I think, yeah, they're better team than that. It's just not worked out for them in these few, right?
With this northern shift, it's going to be a rough one for them too. They're going to have to make their way in, and Dan Cheng is looking like All sitting dead center, James. This could be huge for them also. Is Navi going to stay in this 2-2 split? I hope not. Boostic's moving already. Players could also be taking his car off. Being picked up by Boostic.
Arrow देखो वहाँ पे.
2-2 split with this one.
वो line देखो, दर्र करके laser चल रहा है उस पे. जिंदा कैसे?
If they get pulled up on this, it's going to be difficult. Nemesis also looking good inside Toon Link, but it's also very, very crashable. Very easy to pull up on that side, on the southern side.
Unbelievable.
No, I completely agree. And at the same time for Na'Vi, I think for them, they're like, the fairest compound that they're currently in. It's a really good for this circle. Right, we've seen so many teams get so many good points from there, as you were saying before. But you've got to abandon it eventually. The other one is just too strong for a circle like this, surely, at this point in time, especially with how many teams are congregated south of you and also how many teams are in Dancheng. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, Keda, great nade onto Fex. Actually gets him down. Fex knocked here. Keda, the Danish prodigy coming in, and now it's going to be a pull-up from the rest of the guys. Now, look at this. TMO also with a big fight onto Viz here. For Viz, if they survive and get a few points from this, this could be huge. Killerkinds finds Pixel with the knock and the flush on Fex too. Just down Habibi here with a big nade to confirm that one.
It's not going very well from construction workers at the moment, who's been caught between a rock and a hard place. Mythov doing quite a lot of damage. Also, Mortar's going to be raining in on this position as well now.
Oh my god.
I mean, both of these teams are just like, you know what, we can just chill for a moment. Oh no, VAR hasn't been completely finished as well.
God.
Oh.
Well, the amount of explosive action going on. Explosive action we already see on this map here is kind of insane. Hitman actually finds Stratos though. Now we're down to Artun and Habibi. Can they hold this off as we see more Mortar coming in? X-Howl Flores as well. So said just absolutely slamming down onto this angle here.
Oh, so said. Oh, it's just, it never ends. It never ends. It's actually a true red zone created by the players at the moment. And the problem is for a lot of these teams that actually have taken this, like, trench, is that a lot of teams know the distances from their compounds to this trench because it's such a synonymous spot to be able to kind of scramble for those points and take later on down the line. It never ends.
Oh my god. Super well executed by TMO, and they needed this. This puts them into double digits here, but do they have more mortars? Are we going to see more ordnance coming in from the other side, especially from X-Howl? Now, next circle's about to pop here, James, and now surely Navi's going to converge on the 2-2 split. Joker Benito and X-Howl now. I actually like that they jumped this. Oh, the Mavasi, though, finds Simon and Slaven from this confirmation here. The circle goes southeast. We're going to get outside Dancheng, and that's actually kind of huge.
I think you were right about the Navi movie. I mean, it has to happen now. At the same time here for Joker Benito. Bear in mind as well what we were talking about before with them working on very limited resources by the looks of things. That's only ever going to slow them down on some kind of hold for this. Who knows how much utility they even have to try and deny this from X-Howl on the other side of things. Blue Zone and Picture as well. Crashing into these important locations and a doozy with a mortar now. He's putting in some work against the send.
I'd be life if I heard mortars and then I also got hit by mortars. Like, everyone's using them. There's just mortars everywhere. They're pumping the blanks full of the mortar. And obviously that's the car, not our co-cast I'm talking about. Paul Blank, yeah. T-Bone is going to get in, and Sin's going to go to bet to a 3-man though. On this southwest side, Soul's there, Nemesis is there. Virtus Pro has some feet inside the southern side of this circle, James. And Navi still with the 2-2 split. How long are they going to get away with it? They're getting away with it, James.
I don't know. I mean, eventually, right, this circle's going to move. I think they're really cognizant of the fact that maybe we want to deny any potential backfills for holding it as long as they have done. And they do see Twisted Minds up on that north side. Whether or not they know it's exactly Twisted Minds, who knows? But they know that somebody's there. And maybe they want to deny that. As soon as they move as 4-man down into there, that could be a qualification game for them. If they're able to make it work. They're only on 10 points right now. They need more.
Yeah, for sure. And this could be the game. I think they just want to lock down and hold the northeast of themselves, and then maybe from the angle that Boostic and Ferris has, like the amount of information they're able to have to support the other guys is just too big to say no to. I'm not going to question decisions made by players like Boosted and Ferris for sure. They have some insight, some knowledge, some information that they're basing their information off in there. This is some of the best in the game, right?
For sure. And we saw that prevail at PGS2 to being able to take them a championship, and I know that there are other championships in their sights here. That said, though, Twisted Minds is now moving to be able to try and make a move on between the positions of Navi at the moment. As we're on body over no slack, and Virtus Pro has themselves a BRDM. Cheeky boys. Looks like Navi's going to be regrouping though. I think they realize now, okay, Twisted Minds moved into our territory. We cannot be caught divided here.
It's a strategic move. The way they move their cars around, how the pressure they put on them. Not sure how much information they have on, in terms of what team and player that's in there, but yeah. Could be happening too. Now in tooling here with no slack and VP next circle. If it doesn't come their way, they're gonna have to finish and wrap this fight up, or get into the BRDM and kind of make into a new move here. But let's see where this circle pops, James, and where we're gonna be going on to.
We'll see. Chill up. They're finally doing some damage here against Vitality, who have moved in underneath them. Bear in mind that they came in on the east side of Danching. And the circle is going southeast as well. So all of these teams in Danching now need to wrap up these fights and get going. Santa getting hit by the BRDM as Nixie gets out and shuts down more of No Slack. Unfortunately for No Slack,
BRDM OP है मेरे हिसाब
से. To get the circle shift, they've got Virtus Pro to deal with.
अपन किधर है भाई?
Just try to send it to the middle. Try to finish somewhere where you can, sit up and hide in a bush for a while to see if we can get some place points here. Because No Slack, they are inside the top 8 and just a few more points. Feels like they're going to be safe and now Virtus Pro, and that's how these side games. It could be a big game for them. Everyone is on the west side. Everyone is outside on the northwest side. And there's going to be huge fights happening and so much shots coming, especially towards Bushido Wildcats. They're sending it. TMO is taking so much shot at them. Natas Van Zier here is taking so much shots at them.
And Bushido Wildcats' looting phase was kind of slowed down as well by the fact that they were embroiled in that hot drop for as long as they were. So they're probably not working with a whole lot, but they do clean up Scab. He's gone now. So being able to make this mad dash on through shuts down No Slack completely and may be able to take a decent spot, but they have now moved into what I would consider to be Virtus Pro territory. And I don't know if you want to deal with the Apex Predator in his natural habitat.
I didn't know that tooling was Polar Bear Sanctuary, but I guess it is. No, with Bushido Wildcats, it's actually a great spot for them, but they could be backfilled quite easily here once they get this knocked out. Once they look into maybe a peek into this crate, it could be huge, but look at that. Oh my god, shots coming in here. It's Twisted Minds. It's again the Virtus Pro here. Can they take this deep Ferris fight? Batulin's already, they're going to try to get some confirmation on him. Demon Steel it.
Heyman on the other side hitting double panzer against S8UL, but that's by the by here as Twisted Minds is getting absolutely battered by the position here for Virtus Pro. They've moved in underneath them, but I think Virtus Pro, it's only a matter of time before we move in here and get a flush and get a finish off here. At the same time though, on the right hand side, they do take a lot of damage there, thanks to Effectix being able to see huge damage with that nade as well as spray. They were unaware of the fact that he moved in underneath them. Virtus Pro will shut down Twisted Minds on this move.
Correxy and look, looks like they're going to be last. Yeah, Hakatori just finds these two open knocks here. Look at that though. The push on from Bushido Wildcats. They're a huge push from them actually aggressively towards which be super well executed by them.
See if we can get more from it. They know that they're over there. You've got to shut them out. The problem is that BRDM that's still in play. Looker's in it once again.
अभी last game पे depend करेगा क्या scene है.
Previous game, we don't want to be going down once again here as Melman.
एक दिन का नहीं है आज top 8 है तो अपन finals में वैसा है. और top 8 पे नहीं है तो हम लोग को वापस lower bracket खेलना पड़ेगा.
It's easy to spot them because once you put any of them on the back, it's going to be 50 more pixels compared to the other guns here. Celtic, look at this. This angle. It's going to lock this down. It feels like though the play is kind of open for the BDM to make something on that northern side here. Maybe try to log out Navi, maybe try to get a space inside. They also have an insane amount of utility. 4 or 5 boxes to loot from Twisted Minds and their common players here. But Correction, Looker's trying to lock this one down here. If I was Navi and I saw BRDM over there, I would be laying down the hammer and shooting all of it. Slaven though finds Sosa here, Nemesis.
Yeah. Get rid of it somehow, some way. So you're going to be the ones that have to move into it eventually. Mika, see what they can do alongside the Mythov here once again. They're in a bit of a danger zone at the moment.
JB और VP बाहर हो जाए अभी. साथ में रहे अपन सारे भाई लोग.
What they need to be walking into soon. The problem for X8UL is that there's multiple teams they need to walk to.
JB और VP बाहर आओ.
Mythov actually. So that means that might eventually help out X8UL, but they're going to need to be stalwart. They're going to need to be strong in order to be able to move through this trench. And we saw some of these teams in Schengen completely dismantles the Mythov.
2 grenades coming into just to make sure there's nobody in that other smoke here, but surely they have the information that the Howl is in here. They are in this angle. And with the amount
इसमें
of
ऐसे
cover
कि
they have
zone के
already.
अंदर जो रहेगा
And it
उसको
looks like
kills ही
the
नहीं
ADM, I'm not
मिलेंगे
sure if
बे.
that's broken already from earlier. Lukaruk finds Medabay though. That's an opening. Actually, great disengage here from them. Crossberg. Oh my God, Lukaruk's find another one here. What a great play from him. Vivix finds Gold Mago. It's falling apart completely for Bushido Wildcats, and Nemesis is backfilling this fight completely.
Yeah, considering that Bushido Wildcats technically had the center bear down on them completely, this is not ideal at all. But at the same time, you've got such strong teams also pushing in on this position. Navi's made a huge cross. They backfilled the position here of Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro had to abandon that.
कौन ऊपर आ रहा है भाई? BW और एस ज्यादा ऊपर नहीं आ पाएगा. सब लोग सेम किल्स पे है. मैं बोला ना 4-5 पॉइंट और चाहिए हम लोग.
They're out. Ascend actually on a big game here. 6 kills. Sure, Kilikai might be going out here, but that's a great step up for the next one here. Dante and Hive having confirmed their game, and X8UL is out in 7th place here. 4 kills for them. 4 guys strong on the western side for their campaign throughout this remainder of today. Looks like a quite easy top 8 for them. The question is, can they lock down first place? Can they get the 16 points
Next अगर
for
VP मरा,
the PGC points here?
सारे 22 साथ में.
After all is said and done here, Martin, we are getting some of the big dogs making a push for it towards the end of the day, because Virtus Pro moving into the top positions, good for them. Na'Vi still outside of it, but they are
नहीं जीत सकते. वहाँ पे हाइव का 4-man है, नेमेसिस का 4-man है, नावी का 4-man है. कहाँ से तुम लोग BW और VP बोल रहे हो?
One angle that they're wanting to be concerned about is all the way across the circle.
So
right? The fact that
आसपास से
eventually
अभी.
once Hive actually shows their head. Oh, Navi's already taking shots at them. You can see it here on this line of sight as well. They understand if they can shut them down, they've got so much room to work with on this north side, and it's perfect shots to start things off.
Cannot deny the discipline and the confidence that we have on Navi here. Staying 4 guys alive, and now they're looking so strong into this next circle here. Millman actually gets the blow up onto Rocks here. So, oh my God, damage done as well. Hive is falling apart a little bit, even though they had the BRDM, they had the cover, they had the smokes to work with, but the impact that Navi is having right now, and Nemesis actually also coming in for the third party is working quite well for them.
I think that M249.
ये लोग फाइट कर रहे हैं, जो 4v4 और 2v2 वाले चिलिंग्स कर रहे हैं अभी दूर में.
Didn't even crack that. I was just looking at the map. So now, yeah, Hive's got almost nothing to work with. A hope and a dream and a smoke. What can we do here, Hive?
आपस में लड़ लेगा लोग.
Oh, that is a banger of a nade coming in from Spiro. Doesn't get the follow-up. He would love to get those 2 confirms. Looks like Diffex is coming in to steal them.
That's one steal. Great play here from Nemesis, trying to make sure that they can lock down this first place right now. 37 points, 1 point ahead of Hive. If they can shut them down. Great push here from Millman. Nice. Oh my God, he's going to get another one. He's going to get away with it, James. Akatori, though, has something to say about it. He pushes him away from this. Akatori finds Dante. That's another steal coming to Navi. Oh my God, tons of damage done from State. They all have M249. So what's going on?
I guess they were ready for any BRDM encroachment. Because if they all started shooting with an M249 each, that would have been carnage. But at the same time, they're just shooting at everything. They're just seeing a few pixels behind some of these trees here. Lukarux is and Kirexi here are now very vulnerable as Virtus Pro, as he's still alive. But Lukarux with 5 kills on board as well here for Virtus Pro, who was able to rule a decent chunk off that east side. But the teams moving in behind him are going to have things to say about that, as Kirexi now is completely down. It's all on Lukarux to do something.
Look at that. He's got 10 for his knock. Oh my God, he finds Sosa as well. Cannot believe it. Can he lock this range down as well? Oh my God, he does it too. Insane
don't
play
tell me
here
1v4 कर सकते हो.
1 or 2 more points from this one. No, Melbourne has something to say about it. Our PGC 2022 winner with Navi locks that down. Nemesis in first place with 42 points. Hagatari, though, has something to say about that one. Navi is poised for the win, James.
Yeah, we're going to try and make the run for it here, making sure that the PGS2 champions from 2026 is going to be able to jump into that top 8 and get directly into the final here for the first one. As another nade, it is perfect. It's Navi getting themselves the win here, controlling and dominating Rondo.
बहुत close है बे, बहुत close है बे.
PGS2, it was Rondo.
जो भी अभी last में मालूम पड़ेगा.
From Navi as well. They just look so good on this battleground.
I don't need to think back to it. I dream about it every night.
1 match left.
I dream about that nade from Keta. Construction work completely locked down. 4 point में 6 teams है. It's all Navi. Look at that 2-2 split we talked about throughout the game, James. And them being able to play so smart, so patient, and then still coming into the late game and having such a huge impact. Stealing a little bit of kills here and there, losing some, but the nades and the mini gameplay was just on a different level here. And also the ordnance and all the explosions we saw on this debut was insane.
The way you describe it there, like a mini game, and blank, that's what it kind of reminded me of. Like the idea of like, okay, let's set up this trench that you've got to run through, and people are going to shoot 50 mortars at you, whilst you try and get from one side of the trench to the other. And it wasn't easy blank there in that.
Yeah, it could have easily been like a separate mode that they had, honestly. It's just
heavy, लेकिन ये area में heavy mortar nades molly सब हुआ था.
Yeah, pretty rough. We've got to anticipate where these mortars are going, and you can't really do that anyway. So pretty tough for a lot of these teams. But I will say this game was sort of a masterclass in ordnance overall.
8 points at least, 8 points चाहिए लिख के रखो सिर्फ और सिर्फ 6 points.
Incendiary. There's loads of really cool stuff that happened in this game that was basically all utility usage, and it has to be when you get to these rolling areas of the map where it's all that matters. But again, it was just so cool. All these highlights are just insane. But yeah, you can really tell we're getting to that stage in the tournament structure where we're getting in crazy teams in, like hitting these nades back to back. But last chance saloon here for Na'Vi as we head in towards
my god, come back Na'Vi.
And will Seoul be able to do the same? Because I think with that, I just about ekes them out into 9th place.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously only getting themselves 5 kills on the board admittedly, but that does put them down into what is, as you say, kind of, you were almost on the nail on the head. It's a tied, like, 9th place, basically. It's just the placement points that's been able to eke it out here for Bushido. Admittedly, quite a bit. It's still all to play for. Does that keep Na'Vi completely safe? Not necessarily here, Martin, but you'd like to think that our PGS2 champions should be able to ward it off in the next game.
Yeah, I would assume so, right?
24,
but still,
24, 24, 26, 26,
5 points from a few teams, and they are they know exactly
how to count
and calculate exactly what they need, right? But if you look at this one here, Hackatori says no, and I think that's going to be a no. Look at Lukarooks as well, actually 6 kills tied here between Lukarooks and Hackatori. What a game from both of these guys. Great game from VP overall, but imagine if they hadn't lost those 2 guys to Twisted Minds and, of course, also Na'Vi locking that down. They would actually had a great game from that eastern side because they actually had the terrain that Na'Vi took away from them. Good game for VP still. But yeah, I think it's 3 of maybe 4 spots open here, guys, with how close it is in our 9th and I think shared 7th or 6th place or whatever on the 26 points.
I do wonder
1800 damage.
That's a ridiculous ratio. Crazy. I do wonder how many times if you go back into the history of like Hackatori playing Rondo, is he man of the match from Rondo? Because it must be high. Like Hackatori on this battleground is just absolutely bonkers. But he's doing a lot of work for them so far, and it's not even Boostic that's in 2nd place. Spiro, of course, ever the veteran blank. Of course, we know him from Northern Lights Virtus Pro, basically the Twisted Minds X roster, and Tom has posed that interesting question of like, but what if this Na'Vi roster beats Twisted Minds to a world championship and Spiro gets it before those guys? That would be insane. And there's a world where they could because they've got the chops for it.
They do. I mean, although Spiro was sort of lower on the damage end there, I think that a lot of his damage was very clean and consistent, where whenever he was getting that damage on, he was getting a kill off the back of it. But overall, Na'Vi was taking pot shots all over the place. But Hackatori, man, what a player. I mean, even earlier today on Miramar, seeing some of the shots he was throwing out, just kind of a machine, right? It feels almost otherworldly watching him play. Yes, absolute cyborg.
Check UPI. Aisa Jerry da kadala bora.
Jerry. Na'Vi, 28 points. It's not entirely safe, but they're feeling way better than they did at the start of the day. Let's put it that way. I think currently it's a 10th, 9th, and 8th place tie, which is wild, and it's just off of those placement points. So this next game is going to be insanely cool to watch end out. I'd like you say, Martin, I think that it's a very interesting thing.
और जो bottom teams है वो लोग तो लड़ेंगे.
Can count, but it also changes the way you play too.
वो लोग को लड़ेंगे, वो लोग को matter नहीं है.
Before we actually get to Martin's points, though, we've got to check in with Twisted Minds comms that we can't understand, but we'll see what their POV is as we check in from this Rondo game.
270.
Единица, тройка, можешь в разные стороны.
Там 280
Сначала
плюс,
единица.
я уверен.
Давай мы поедем, а ты потом будешь стрелять.
Давай. 273 я буду стрелять.
Готов?
Да, стреляй.
Давай, Ре, Сари, решение.
Готовы?
Надо сразу ждать, пока она еще долетит.
Хуяк,
надо.
хуяк.
Стреляю.
Еля.
Слышал, Дип? Надо ждать, когда она долетит еще.
Я
Еля.
увижу. Я увижу.
Он тебя не видел. На нас будет заезжать. Базуку готовьте. А, бля.
Нету базуки,
Нету.
Нет.
Слева идет фул.
Два нока.
Ре.
Бля, там сзади раскручивает кемп.
NTV.
207.
Нет,
Yeah, I
बोल
don't
तो
think we
मारा
need
दो.
to know Russian to understand that Mithul is required a spotter for his mortar play during all
Brother,
of this.
bye, thank you for the membership, मेरी जान
Trying to deal
गड़े.
with what was going on that ridge line when they were pushed up against Virtus Pro. I think when you look at their push up against Virtus Pro, it was interesting to see that VP had just completely forgotten really to check some of that little bit of a lip, and Perfectius was able
Why
to
there
get
is
that
no
made and spread
girl
off the way he did.
esports
It was
player
a bit
in
uncharacteristic
Valo
of Virtus Pro
and
that push
PUBG?
there, Martin.
Yeah, I felt like the play that they were setting up to do was to take the BDM and send it over the edge, so
True, maybe.
Twisted Minds would turn around and
नहीं
shoot
है
it,
तो
and the
मैं
guys
क्या
would
करूं
run
भाई?
over. But yeah, that little copy there definitely felt a little bit forgotten for sure. But yeah, I am 34 points. They're still safe here, but they want to win everything, right? And there's 16 PGC points to go at the first place, so third is not enough for them. But yeah, that was a
तुम
huge
करो
play.
ट्रेन
But,
को.
yeah,
हम
we have
support
to come
देते
back
दूर
to
से.
remember, even for Perfecticus, nade and knock there got stolen as well. I think Hackator got both of them, and the 10 kills and 1800 damage. That's a record for PEC as well. Like, he's just unreal. And I gotta be honest, I think with after what we see here from Navi, I think 28 points is enough. The 26-point tie between Nosebag and Joker Benito and tied 6th basically. Those teams are gonna focus each other so much, and then the 24 points between Biz, Bushido, and Soul. That's going to be a focus as well for those guys. So I think there's effectively 3
उधर एक लड़की नहीं बोल रही, एक लड़का है क्या रे
but
अपने
yeah,
यहाँ
we'll
से
see what happens in the last game. It's going to be
जो खेल रहा है.
I mean, I don't even need to ask this as a question. I think
Huh?
Hackatori at this point,
5 साल हो
internationally
गए
as
game
well as
launch
regionally,
होके.
he's making a case for best player in the world. Like, and it's pretty undisputed the way he's playing at PGS, the way he's playing here, and
No,
the way
I was just curious.
even
I'm
when this
also
team
curious.
has, in theory, leveled up their roster as a whole. There's still
लड़के लोग
moments
क्यों
when
नहीं
he's
अपने यहाँ
carrying.
पे? 5 साल तो हो गए game
It's
को.
just unreal.
Yeah,
ये game तो बहुत
I mean,
साल से.
there's always that argument to be made
किधर
that,
है?
you know, even though your stats are really high, you're maybe not the best player in the world because someone else is more reliable to have in your squad. But Hackatori does make it look so good. And really salvages a lot of situations which would feel unsalvageable, and I think that's the difference maker.
भाई जिमटी करो भाई 15 पॉइंटर थे 15 पॉइंटर कुछ नहीं चाहिए ज्यादा प्रेशर मत डालो 4
once in a
पॉइंट
lifetime type of deal.
I mean, the
4
thing is
point,
all
no,
we have
sorry,
to do,
6
Martin, is
point,
think back
6
to the
point.
roofs of Miramar, the roofs of Picardo, and see how they won out PGS2, which was just insane. But of course, we compare to other big damage dealers in this lobby right now. Lookarux, who, I mean, there was some people, you know, looking at him as like one of the more underrated players because he's on a team full of stars, and then going up against Mogor, who's been able to make a real decent name for himself in these few games.
Yeah, for sure. And with the, of course, Lookarux in this game was massive here. And the total, we're talking total damage and kills here. When we come to it here. But we're in for the last game, James.
All right, well, let me go. It's game number 5. I'm going to leave it to you and Blank to bring us home, bring us to Erangel.
Let's
who
go.
gets top 8 into the final.
ये मैप याद मत
Straight
दिलाओ.
into it then, Mr. Avenger.
Yes, baby.
हम लोग का बहुत खराब गया था हम लोग #16 गए थे ये मैप में.
But we're going to see how this one goes. We are running out over on Erangel as per usual. Back to a little bit of normality.
Bro, इस बार ace
which
के
again
साथ
is
VP
nice.
भी है.
I would say that Erangel does feel like a bit more of a consistent map
नहीं,
for
VP का
teams
एक ही
just because
बंदा है.
they've played it for so long. But this is the perfect place to try and make up for those points or just get the exact amount of
भाई
points
VP
you
का
might need
अच्छा है
to
actually.
stay
एक
in
बंदा इस
contention.
तरफ बाकी लोग उस तरफ.
You know what? I'm just thinking of this and saying, okay, I just
Zone
want to
इधर
avoid
बना
the
ना,
top
VP
teams if I'm in the
पट से
chase and
आराम
then
से आ
focus
सकता
on the guys that I'm directly competing with, right? Because
Yeah.
these guys know where everyone's dropping. These
जेमडी
guys
जेमडी
know
जेमडी
exactly
क्लैश है कुछ क्लैश
what's
नहीं क्लैश
going
नहीं
on here.
है दूर दूर है वो लोग.
A direct contest we're not going to see, but it's a little bit scary if
Stalber
you're
वाला
close
zone
to
बन
that
जा, अपन
cutoff.
right से
Even if
सुमड़ी
you're
में
in
निकल
24,
जाएंगे.
26 points here, I'm not worried for Navi. They're going to
Stalber
get
दे
their
दे.
1, 2, 3 points. They're going to get into 30 plus
Stalber
points.
दे दे.
That's going to be enough. I think there's realistically
Stalber दे.
places to be fought for here from 6, 7, and 8. And we get a crazy circle after that plane path blank. Holy.
Yeah, it's a lot of water in that one. And very undecided as well, because that undecided part of the map where it's always rough. I mean, this heads down towards that south side, it's a little bit easier, but still you're playing towards those fields. But if it does head up towards that north side, you have these weird decisions to make, and you never really want to have those 50-50s when you're coming into a game that could mean the difference between you and qualification. So we'll wait and see what does happen with phase 2. For the meantime, most teams are on the move. VP, as per usual, we saw them do this on the very first game of the day today, which is a very fast send over towards the eastern side of Quarry. Just to give themselves a little bit more time to work with. And from this, they can
Yeah, easy peasy for them here. Hive looking to try to take first place away from Team Nemesis. 7 points behind right now, and Dead Center holding down.
Private jet
They're looking for maybe a repeat here. They could try to lock this down. They're like Nemesis. You're not going to get this one. We're going to take this. We're going to lock it down. Most like though on the South George, they could be encroached on from Team Vitality. And as you see, the general consensus, once we see, we just saw Corexy, the stream here, and then we see the rest of the Finnish guys. And my conclusion here is like that electricity in Finland is very expensive. So turning on your PCs, there's not going to be enough money for the lights turned on in the background.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to take something away to gain something. In this case, it's more PC power. One doesn't even have a camera on, that's fine.
Oh my god!
On the vertical, which is sort of unusual. I'm accepting it. I'm accepting it. Maybe that's just how he plays. He sticks himself to the side of the wall with some duct tape.
I think so too, man. Some have standing desks. Some guys have, you know, gaffer taped, duct taped their desk on the wall and is sitting sideways. That's fine as well. Over here to construction workers, a underwhelming day though for them so far. You could say with the 8 points they've garnered. I'm not too worried about them. We have 2 more days of playoff, 2 more chances for them to get into the grand finals here. It's top 8 today. It's top 5 tomorrow playing, and it's top 3 on Sunday. The last chance to try to get into that grand final that we're going to be happening already next weekend.
Yeah, I do think that you're right. I mean, construction workers are struggling, and again, it always hurts to lose Gustav for them. I think he was... We said it earlier today, but he's really good inspiration in terms of leadership for the squad. Has that experience to go by, and now you're in that moment where you need that kind of veteranship more than ever. But they're still making it work. They've got great players on that team. They've had a lot of experience over multiple tournaments in the past. It's just rough, like having that switch up happen. But we know that they've been scrimming. They have been practicing with Pixelic in. It's definitely possible, like you say, over the next couple of days. It's not over just yet.
It's not Joe. Vitality is the biggest surprise to me. We've seen great things from them. 4 points is not on form. What we know that this team is, capable of. Just alone, Levante, I think he got 3 kills. That's just next level for them here. But difficult circle. There's some water in play here. Both the river and also the harbor part of Georgipol has a lot of impact here. And also, with the teams that's locking down already, I think we're going to see a lot of teams try to get up. And there's Suji already doing it. Getting on to Everest here, locking down some of the sides could be massive for them. The amount of information able to gather up here is just next level.
Yeah, playing around Castle as well, and you've got that compound down towards the south side. The all really strong positions. It's an aggressive hold coming through from S2G. But it is a really successful one if it does play down towards that south side. I didn't really want to bring up Vitality. I'm glad you did, to be honest, because it really doesn't look great for this team. In the meantime, Spiro from Navi might find 2, but Vex is able to jump out of the vehicle just in time and takes down Spiro. And they should be able to get their player back up again. It is a bit of a tumultuous approach there for construction workers, but they live it.
I don't know why they would even go to that compound or drive by it, but maybe they saw a car there and engaged it. I don't have the information. Maybe they do. Timodo now finds stay here. Nemesis losing a player when they're in first place is a little bit rough. Obviously, sure, they might not get first place from it, but if they can hold on to it, would be great. The 16 points is massive. Could be a difference maker once you garner all your points throughout our playoffs and our grand finals. Obviously, way more.
क्या teams को जाना पड़ेगा? Navigate तो अच्छा अपने लिए.
16 points could be the difference maker once we talk top 3,
Meanwhile,
top 4. Bushido Wildcats as well here. One of the cutoff teams there in the 3-way tie here with S8UL, with this, and 5 more, 6 more, 7 more points. The cutoff is likely going to be high 20s, early 30s here. On Navi, another side there thinking.
Vitality by thoda idhar 4 word mil jayega.
They know that they're probably not going to be able to make it into the next day's playoff, and we just need a few more points.
Favorite team
Shots
bola.
already being done here. Boostic says, I'm not going to hide. I'm just going to try to take the fight early on.
Yeah, I mean, that is really early, but they have the angle to go for it, right? They've got the Overwatch over towards construction workers. You're right, they just need a couple more points. They're absolutely fine to just hold out this team. And that means that if S8UL
happy birthday
them, and they can steal a couple of points away, and
many happy returns of the day.
Play for Na'Vi to hold out construction workers. It is still a 3v4 though, so they do have to be a little bit cautious on this area. But did want to go back to Bushido Wildcats real quick, because they have felt like Wildcats. A lot of prowling's been going on, and then there's explosive moments of where they pounce out, and you just see them light up the kill feed. But other than that, it's been a little bit quiet. And I think that we haven't really seen those big endgame performances from them yet. Despite that, they're still in a position to qualify. But it is that late game I worry about, Avenger.
Yeah, there's not enough mangle. There's not enough lacerate from them just yet. I need to see more from them, to be honest. That's my big one here. The consistency has been there, but 24 points is the middling one. It's not to be certain to go into the top 8 here. And obviously a 3-way tie here is a rough one, but still, they're in a decent spot here, being close to Ruins, locking that down. But my worry is that it's extremely close to water. If the circle goes their way and they have a hard shift away from water once we get into phase 4 in terms of land ratio, that's going to be rough for them. I want to see them take more space, but maybe they're just ready on the pounce. They're stealth mode and trying to get ready to get onto Everest, because approaching it from that eastern side is actually the best way. Even though with S2G's 2-2 split here, it could be different from them here. Nemesis, though, holding down the garage buildings on the other side here. Oh, look at that. Grosa and a full 3 set. Probably easy for S8UL. See if they're able to get that early on.
5 points.
Yeah, that's probably going to assist them in some of the Hail Marys that they do like to go for. Would be a lovely close quarters tool, especially on top of Everest, man. If you get Groza on top of Everest, you start doing some manic peaks. You're in for a good time. In the meantime, though, I'd like to see that Bushido Wildcats play, right? From stealth, they pounce out, they lacerate over towards S2G. That could be good. That could be good. It is always a little bit of a worry for S2G playing this 2-2 split that happens, where you can't quite get that immediate regroup. But you have enough time from the top of Everest to really spot that play coming through. But you do have to be on a bit of a swivel. But I think we can trust S2G to do that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even they have 2 third places so far, but the kills haven't been in there. And that's really what I want to see. I want to have that full team engagement, get some team wipes, get the 4 points from that full team wipe, either from one player or from all 4 as a synergy across the team is actually quite good. But yeah, the consistency finding the placement is huge. But now they're pre-driving here. I like this. They're pre-driving this. Oh my god, it's perfect Bushido Wildcats here. No need to stealth anymore. Just lock down the position that they've agreed on and get into this one here. Shipless actually jumping up, maybe to try to get some info on Everest. He actually gets so much info. It's completely free. SG's on the eastern side. Correctly finds Schengen here from Hive, and they're losing a player. Oilon is super rough for them because they're in the hunt for first place. They're in the fight to actually take Nemesis as their first place here if they get a great game.
Yeah, I mean, for Team Nemesis, quite happy about that happening. With Hive going down to 3. The scary thing is that Twisted Mind's still in the game, and they could easily leapfrog both Hive and Team Nemesis in this game. Perfectus already starting things out strong. Over towards S2G, in fact, from Sissy and X. Surprisingly, they're able to pick up that one in the midst of all this. I think that's as they're trying to go for a little bit of a regroup over towards Everest. That's an unfortunate pickup for S2G when they were in such an insane spot.
Yeah, I would like to see them play all 4 in the same spot here. Survivability is insanely important here, especially being a 4 guy strong. Because like if you go up against another team that's 4 guys, you're going to lose if you're only 3. Utility might get you some way, but a 3-man versus a 4-man almost always
Next
loses
zone में कैसे
despite of
जाएंगे? Next
position and
zone में
agility.
slamming बोलती.
Oh, look at that. The sharks in the water. Twisted Minds know that they're up one.
Yeah.
And they might be able to get an opening here. Navi on that south side, though. Look at this. Drive-by from Nixie. Gets Dante down. Another point going the way of VP, and that's enough to secure them in my book.
Yeah, and I think for Hive, that's just rough, right? That's your first place kind of taken away from you now. Going down to 2 players.
ये लोग दोनों आपस में top teams मार के वो और ऊपर जा रहे भाई.
Get that E pickup, but you right with the fact that they were fighting as well. They saw all the traces.
BW
They
किधर है?
100%
Oh,
knew it was free to take. They immediately get a lovely position in the circle. S2G instantly regroup over towards the compound. They know they can't play Everest anymore because they need the beacon. Getting their 4th player up kind of means a little bit more to them right now. And it is crazy, you said earlier, 3 third places today. You're still on 14 points, kind of going for that pacifist run.
तक भाई से मिला just one crazy since meeting है.
coming their way. Sosa's fine.
QL
Simon here.
बात तो
Celtic
है
going
मंड
down.
भाई
Baltic
बात तो है.
Sambo. Lou goes down to Shilla. Huge fights going on, multiple sides here. Oh
बात
my
तो
god,
है.
Shilla finds Perfectix with the drive-by. Finds Lou too.
OP तो है.
That's crazy for
OP तो है
STG
मंड
here.
भाई.
Really
OP
well
तो है.
played
कहाँ
by
पे मिले
them.
by the way?
And yeah, might be not enough points to come their way. But if they get a big game, even if it's a 3-man here, it could be massive. And also, could they get the
next zone कैसे जाए chat?
Get all 4 up again would be massive for them, obviously. Habibi though and Viz currently 8th place, tied, but they have the placement points advantage here because of the win they had. But they need more points. They need more kills here.
दो
That's the
टीम
big one
बीच में
for them.
स्क्वाड फाइट करते ऊपर रेड जोन साइड की टीम मॉर्टार फिर अपन घुसेंगे क्या बोलते हो
all the way through towards that leg and that's nice to have. And even if you do get a high placing, you go with placement points, man. But Vex is in. They try to go for drive-by over towards Beamy, but he's looking good so far.
क्या अपन यहाँ पे थर्ड पार्टी करके जगह ले सकते हैं?
His way here takes down Beamy. Vards over towards Lucarus. Can't see much through the smoke, but the shots are coming through clean and fast.
If I am Soul right now, I'm sending it to this position here. Up and down compound is crazy spot right now. Next circle does go away. It's going towards the water. That's an insane shift. And now Nixie, can he find one? He finds Bard. That's huge. That construction worker out. And they're sent straight into day 2 of playoffs. They're not in the top 8, but VP with 6 kills they're locking down 2nd place right now. But can they take it further? Can they survive for longer? And can they get a few more points? That would be massive. Solo, look at that. Driving straight past S2G here, trying to get deep into this one. They need the points. They're not inside the top 8 currently.
It's a dangerous push, but one they know they have to go for. That's tough, though. I mean, going out versus Sonoff, it feels bad. But Pixley, I would say definitely pulled his weight in that fight, which is an awful
Oh my god.
This is the one-on-one fight that matters most right now because Bushido Wildcats, they're right on the cusp. Soul does take them down. There will be one player lying on the floor for Soul. He's Molodox. See if a doozy can be able to do this alongside the rest of his teammates. Nades have been sent their way. It's looking fairly good, but the bounce is not quite there. Over towards Bushido Wildcats. And through, and it's perfect.
Phil first straight onto Crossbreak. It's a direct competitor taken out as well here, Blank. Taking down Bushido Wildcats, the team that they were tied with. Now Soul being able to get the point here. That is massive. Locking down the center position. And I'll say this already, next circle shift is likely to come their way. Looks like it's going to go west or something like that, though. Mogor here from high finds Nixie. It's rough. They're trying to get the recall back. Nixie trying to get the guys back on side here, and Hive was just locking down Godcap because there's the recall station open and available for them. Prex is going to be left alone here, but they're inside the top 8. That's fine,
नहीं हुआ अभी तक नहीं हुआ
they survive for a bit longer. Navi though now take on to this the southeast side.
कितने बंदे मारे? 3
over towards Viz.
2 पॉइंट और अपने मेरे हिसाब से और 2 पॉइंट मेरे हिसाब से
the BRDM. Not like this move from Navi. They see the BRDM in play and they're just like, we're going to dip out. We can wrap around ruins. This is no problem for us. We don't have to take this fight right now, and it matters way more to us to get ahead of the picture. For Soul though, the fact that they're the ones holding out Viz is really, really important. Because like you say, Viz is on 24 points. Well, Soul on 27. They don't want them to catch him up.
Yep.
That's exactly right. And Navi also, it's actually 2 points just between these 3 teams. And they're all on the southeast side here playing. It's crazy. This game here. This though, they're just going to wait for this next Vitality in more shamble.
इधर 6 टीम एक दूसरे पॉइंट में ऐसे एकदम चुंबक दे रहे हैं और मैं प्लेयर्स को जाके बोल के टारगेट फॉर चिकन.
Great start for that one here. Hello, my friend.
Intense के टाइम पे बकचोदी.
Falling apart just a little bit. If Twisted Minds, Navi, or any of these teams that actually have more players alive have a big game, they could take first place away quite easily.
मैसेज क्या हो जहाँ मिले वो स्टोरी. By the way, आपसे भी मिलना है भाई. Love you यार, मैंडी भाई. Love you मेरे जान के टे. 10 से मिलेंगे. रेगा कैसे है? रेगा कुछ बोला क्या?
Some acrobatics into some perfect placement.
Chat, रेगा क्या बोला? ये मेरे को गाली देगा WhatsApp पे वापस.
Scary. How did he survive that? It's beyond me. Just the Minds here, 2 men alive. I don't really see them getting a few more points here. But look at that 3-way tie on second place. 37.
नहीं बोला कुछ. That's a center slam.
Really comes down to how much more can they lock down this. They're so looking to lock down this position from Navi here. Can they deny them this push here? Would be massive. Correctly finds Mogor. That's also VP pushing further ahead here. This and SG, big fight happening here for this, trying to survive in this top 8 here, Blank.
Dante Shengen bhai.
I mean, they're moving through SG on their sidelines. They do lose Schiller, but easily resable, I'd imagine, on this position. The Hive is currently just flying around. It looked like it was okay for a while until we realized that they'd res their players, they'd come back in, and they've got nothing. Like, they're probably going to end up swimming in the waters for a little bit.
TMO though, 19 points, 7 points from 8th place here. Dante currently, and all 4 live. And the utility of 48 teams and all the cars available to them, that could be actually a potential game to jump over either Noslack, S8UL, Joker Benito, any of the teams that's close to the cutoff here. Top 4 is done. The question is who takes second place, I would say right now, if Navi falls out early, even Joker Benito, S8UL here, I could see Viz and TMO jump up into a great spot here. So let's see who survives the longest. Is it going to be Navi and S8UL with their position? It feels like the winner of S8UL or Navi actually is the team that survives inside the top 8, obviously.
I mean, it's a cool game
26,
so far.
27, 27, 28, 24.
I mean, for TMO, it would be a very sick run. They get themselves up into top 8. And definitely possible with the amount of players they still have on board.
वो चिंजिन उसके पास वो नहीं है. वो kill मिला. वो अकेले किधर तो chillings करने गया था.
They can play in from this side. It's going to take a little bit to
Dante
make it
उसको
work,
वापस
but
rest देगा क्या?
find another knock from their side of things. Just wants to make this as safe as possible.
उसका kill किधर है?
Smoke coming out here, and that's easy. But yeah, Twisted Minds finding Hive here. It's falling a little bit apart here for Hive. That's very unfortunate. I'll blow your mind here. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
TMO has 2 more kills than Navi before this game started.
मतलब?
TMO has 0 placement points. Navi has 15. Sheila finds Batul as an example. Twisted Minds is out in 12th place here.
You blew my mind, and you blew Twisted Minds' mind too.
It's an explosive day so far, I can tell you that.
Oh. Christ alive. I mean, yeah, I think for TMO, it's been a rough day. But a salvage here at the end would be sick.
Pay them for though here is sending it on ascent. They need to take cars, they need to get kind of a foot inside the door of the next circle here and take on Ascent. I don't know how much information they have from where they are, but they're full 4-man strong. And Ascent is in a really broad, I think, involuntary split here with Kiliakai being on the southern side and Keter and Itzchris being inside the middle. Kiliakai here is on a mission. He's coming from Narnia, basically, through a door somewhere in a jungle, in a forest, and now trying to get over to the other guys. It's going to be an impossible task. He's going to have to move through Exile. And I think if TMO finds a perfect timing here on the Exile and Ascent fight, that could be massive for them here. Yeah, no slack. Inside the Harry Potter tower is also a little bit dangerous, Blank, because they're going to have to make them way in, and they're going to have to fight Jogo Benito for it, which is the team that they're fighting for here. TMO, as I said, trying to fight Ascent, though.
Kill Mila, Chad, kill Mila!
Oh, my God.
Kill Mila!
Finds it, Chris.
मिला रे मिला
right now. I mean,
JB
they are
का
able to do a
मिला
lot of damage
kill
towards TMO. It's just sad they kill you guys in
Gemini,
Africa.
Gemini,
The rest of the
Gemini!
teams in Beijing. We'll see if they can regroup at some
भाई
point.
क्या
It's
ये
looking
24
unlikely
27
with
27
Exhal's
28
position.
29
This
क्या ये
backstab
बे
could be insane, actually, as things do progress through.
The
S2G really haven't had to move at all. They have
ये
finished
last game को ऐसे
barely
intense बनाना
outside of their
जरूरी है
starting
क्या?
position on this game. But Ascend are given that opportunity to get their player back up again. He-Man, he's going to try and leave. It's going to be awkward though, and for TMO, those chances are dashed in a moment.
Bro, ये कौन है ये बाहुबली?
Yep, back to the lobby and back to playoff day 2 tomorrow, guys. A
नीचे
full
से
four-man pull-up would have maybe
mountain
worked. There were only
climbing
2
करके
guys there,
ऊपर
but yeah, the
जाके
third party from
chilling.
Exhal
अभी
would have been
ऊपर ये लोग का एक ही बंदा है,
impactful.
उनका वो लोग को लग रहा है
Information
सारा
that
खाली
Guys
है.
getting here is absolutely next level here.
Huh?
As Send might actually have a blinder of a game. If he can get 1 or 2 kills here, would be insane, Blank.
Oh, he sees one at least. He's
Durandar be one in the spy.
Oh my god, if they're close together. Oh my god. He's got to strike soon though. Damage is happening onto his Chris.
Around, right?
Yeah, damage is happening on his Chris here, Blank. He's got to strike soon, otherwise he might lose teammates to this.
Pulls out the nade. I mean, if you can get one nade onto one and then take down the other, yeah. That's what he wants to go for.
Oh my god.
Come on.
Oh my god, उसने देखा.
Oh, he's winning the trade. Stun grenade coming out. He has cover on the
उसने
vehicle.
देखा.
Push in front of the stun grenade. Kind of the same play.
Oh my god, उसने देखा. ए नावी का knock.
Unfortunate. Exhal
नहीं रे,
turns
नावी ने
around on
मारा.
him. He had an opportunity, but the time to strike and the window of opportunity closed quite quickly on him. Correction though, finds multiple S2G here. But then 249, he just mows down the entirety. Oh my god.
Odin चला दिया बे.
Finds Pains meanwhile, but Baron can't
ऊपर
down
के
to
सारे teams गए, अपना देखो.
S2G here though.
28, 29, 30,
Look at this though,
30.
Biz. They might be able to make it.
नावी बाहर तो अपन qualify
Still
है.
chasing, and Navi's down to barely
1 HP.
एक टीम बाहर नीचे से अपन qualify है. Mostly. Unless ace में chicken मारे kill bill खत्म करके.
So for Seoul, although they might stay in with the points they're getting at 31 and the 4 players, for Jogo Benito, as well as No Slack, it's looking worrying.
अभी प्राइस मनी चाहिए अपने को बहुत ज्यादा.
Gets Jogo Benito out.
और जाओ ranking में ऊपर.
This here, oh, this it's kind of crazy. I think Seoul is in though.
हाँ,
I'm not too worried
mostly
about them.
qualify
Their
ना.
position is good. Slack also 4-man strong.
रुको 5,
holding down
7,
the northern side here and actually gets quite a lot of
8,
impact from this angle. It's uphill. They've got cover. They've got things to work with here. Comes down to if Viz can survive for long enough, longer than Jogo Benito, and maybe get a kill here. That could be the impact. Stratos is just sitting alone in the BRDM.
I think we are Gucci chat.
Habibi bleeding out here. He needs to survive. He needs to get points. Ferraris finds its Chris here. Is Exhal making a run for it? They could win the game with a few kills and actually get into the top 8 too.
Yeah, I mean, they need a few kills off the back of this, but there's 4 players coming off the back of Everest, having the full wipe over towards Ascend as well, grabbing all of the loot, all of the gear. It's a nice reset for them overall. Pretty low on the ammo on that P90, but this is okay. They can still work with it. They can switch out the weapons. But S2G makes a swipe around here, Avenger. They're behind them. Exhal, he has a look behind them. The second time they've been backstabbed. It's so rough, but immediately there are shots going their way. But that's not before Odabavasi does
ये हॉल को मालूम कैसे नहीं पड़ रहा
Kills and a win here to make their way into the top 8 here.
Right side का map अपने पास है.
Oh my god. Flores taking blue zone damage eventually here. Surely they're going to get some reses off too. Howl actually surviving for much longer than suspected here. S2G now making a send for it. Can they survive for long enough here? Can they get the kills to make this happen? Molotov finds Jogo Benito. This looks like their campaign is about to end.
Yeah, I mean,
Finish नहीं मिला अभी तक.
He's going down. Jogo Benito looking like they're in a tight spot at the moment. Nate's going to the top, and that is Jogo Benito down.
Bro, अब भी तो हो गया यार, please. अब भी हो गए. क्योंकि 2 टीम नीचे के बाहर 2 ही आ सकते हैं.
Points would do it as well.
हो गया Jack.
1 placement points would do it here, and there is an Ascent player that's left alive as well. So It's looking likely if Kera gets found here, that is this jumping above Joker Benito. I think Navi is safe unless we see something crazy from S8UL or Howl here. I don't think that's happening though. They're going straight up against each other. It looks like mutual destruction with a third party from Noslack. From my point of view, with the amount of spots that Noslack has on this spot here, but Kera, man, he could have an impact. He could strike and hit a booby trap on one of these guys here. Flourish goes down, Scaff goes down, so X-Howl finding a lot of impact here. Noslack is safe at this point. 32 points is enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is interesting for S2G where they swipe over towards that western side, hoping for a little bit more of a weaker approach on the circle, only to run into 4 players from X-Howl. That's unfortunate for S2G, but they're looking to make this work either way. Odumavasi, though, it's a massive nade into a good knock with the M4, and you're right, it's just mutually assured either side. Both teams blowing themselves up. Noslack looking to take on now Soul, who have gone above and beyond what they needed this game.
Noslack's win was the start of this catalysator, and I love this. Soul having a little bit of an impact, poking a little bit, got tons of loot to come in and get some Noslack making most of it work here. Can Quetpa maybe get an impact here? Look at that. Strats is also driving around. He doesn't realize he just needs to survive for just a bit longer. And that's it. Look at that. Vis jumps into 8th place here. That is their campaign through, and Stratus just needs to survive for a bit longer. Maybe if Howl makes it, that could be crazy, but I don't see it happening right now. They need to get kills and the win. Ascend also 6 more points to come their way here. Stratus just chilling inside. Keter just chilling in behind a broken up car.
It is crazy for Viz that they're probably celebrating right now, getting back to where they were at the start of this game. It's a tough one. I think a lot of people really gave it some welly this match, which I love to see. For X-Howl, there was a chance. There is still potentially a chance here. But we'll wait and see as things do progress, because they would have to. They'd be going for the versus Soul, and you really just don't expect X-Howl to control over the map. We'll wait and see. Especially with Noslack playing on the top side of the road. As we've seen earlier today, they seem to thrive from that position.
अरे वो लोग मार रहे स्लिक वाले को मारने दे
Stratus comes out and tries to strike here, but he gets found.
Finish हुआ क्या नहीं रे रेस्ट हो रहा है वो
trying to get something happening here. Look at that. Keter is really the next. Oh my god, a blue zone onto him. That's going to force him out, force him away, or at least try to drive over there. Now, with everything happening here, Noslack jumps over to the other side here. If they go out, they maybe get a kill or 2, and they are able to win over Soul. That's it for Howl. That's a kill. That is 1 point for placement, 1 point for the kill here. Howl jumps up into 22 points here. Does Keter strike and destroy their dreams at this point? I'm not sure, but Noslack and Soul is going to be the next team that's going to be fighting just shortly here. The Mad is inside. Filfer is trying to put on so much pressure onto them. Molotov has a shield to work with.
Easy chicken है ओ सुनो ये उसके तरह नहीं है easy chicken है वो गेम कैसा हाइव का चिकन था लेकिन ओपन मैदान में स्मोक नीड में पिले गए 4v3 में
I mean, everyone's just medding up here for the final showdown inside the game. X-Howl is kind of struggling with the position they're playing with. It's a little bit closer on that side of the road. And they've still got Keter, like you say, on that side. It could be a real big issue for them. They've not quite cleared him out just yet.
No slack.
I think they assume there's a player still in this location.
अच्छा खेलेगा.
Did take shots and take a lot of names on Ascend, but no instant flush.
This nade's going to have an impact here for sure. Molotov finds Ike. Look at that. Molotov finds Santa as well. Snowslack's going down. The nade actually didn't connect anything. Now it's time for Howl to try to make a move here. Another placement point coming their way. Can he find something? Mad finds Phil first. Keter now is the man to destroy the dreams of X-Howl. That's for sure. Soul is down to a 3v3 with X-Howl, and Keter is on the side from Ascend here. He could have an impact. Imagine though, he could also win it if he kills them. If he gets an impact and gets the win eventually. Keter finds 1, he strikes 2, finds a flush as well, finds 2 flushes. Ascend is up into 26 points. And he's out. Ascend is out in 3rd place. That's enough. That's it. That's gonna be it. That's not enough. Jogo Benito, 28 points. Viz, 28 points. And it's a tie for the placement points. And look at that. Molotov closes off. And X-Howl doesn't stand a chance either.
Holy
13 kills here for Soul to win the last
Hashtag
game. is
16
insane,
hashtag
right?
1 baby.
How far do they go up the tables though?
कौन बोल रहा था रे?
How far
औकात
do
नहीं
they go
है?
up the tables there?
Oh!
After getting the chicken dinner as
By
well.
hashtag 16
I'm very
hashtag
curious
1.
to see where
What
they end
the?
up.
Hello?
Is it on top of the leaderboard, dude?
Hello?
I don't know. We got to
वो भी
ask
slamming
Hilarious, my
करके
friend. What do you think about
last
that
game में
explosive game? That was an
कोर्ट
insane
के
one. to
बीच
finish
में
things
घुस
off
के
with
बे.
the
That was
one.
wild, especially with the river
बाप
being involved for as long as it
Yeah.
was. That was crazy. So I think they're number one.
Bro,
I think
हम लोग
that
अभी
Seoul
global map पे
is
भाई.
number
Above and
one
beyond.
on the
Chat,
day. Yeah.
spam करो,
What a
फिर spam
crazy
करो.
lead from them. In
रुक
from
जाओ,
ruins. After
congratulate
watching
करने
the
दो.
highlights here and seeing how they're crashing on
Oh
down
my
against some of
God.
these teams. But this is the pedigree of this team Avenger, and I think it's fair to say, right? Like, we have watched this team, be it question mark, be it BB team, now Soul, just constantly subvert the expectations of these lobbies and be able to wrestle away.
Spam करो भाई.
Yeah, I mean, I talked a bit about it obviously in the start here.
Hashtag
I didn't expect such an
one
explosive
day.
finish for them. They sent it through. They sent it in between Ruins and S2G and took it away from Bushido Wildcats, a
Hashtag
direct
one.
competitor. And they're able to lock that down. That was just so well executed from them. And 13
भाई, लेकिन
kills to
कितने
prove as
अच्छी
well
अच्छी
to
teams थी
finish
ना?
the last game. To
सारे
do that.
नीचे.
Maybe taking first place, I don't know.
माफ
but
करे, माफ करे, माफ करे.
16
Hashtag
PGC
one.
points would be insane.
Yeah, what a
Interview
debut as well
interview
for Soul, right, as an
interview
organisation that is going
चाहिए.
to make the Indian fans blank unbelievably happy seeing how they were able to take that fantastic win.
I mean, playing from behind like that as well, you know, we were talking about the beginning of the game, and I think this is why it caught us both off guard so much. Is that I think they end up on 47, which is crazy.
kill.
But we were talking at the beginning of the game, it's like, oh, they just need a
Tera
few more
kill.
points,
Hashtag
but
one
that's
और
not good
दो
enough for Soul. They need
कसम
to end in first place, and to
माँ
do that on the final
कसम.
match of the day, and that's magic.
भाई crazy है बे. ऐसा not on top baby.
That first game was a bit
23 pointer उतना तो qualify होने के लिए था almost.
From there has been
Close enough.
great. So it's 23 points going their way. That said, Avenger, God, it was so close for some of these teams.
बाप रे,
in
मेरा
the pursuit,
favorite
right?
team
Like
Vitality तो
Cal
क्या हो गया?
trying to make the moves here from Everest, trying to make something happen, but they're
अगली
gonna
बार मैं
miss out
किसको
on
favorite
it.
नहीं बोलूँगा
24
भाई.
points is the end here for them.
हाँ?
And
Oh
Keta
my
towards
God.
the
Chat
end.
देख channel का.
So close.
So
If-
sad.
If
कैसे देखूं?
Kilya Kai on the
किधर
top
है?
got the kills,
Chat
on
कहाँ पे
Exile,
होता है?
they would. If Kilya Kai on the
baby,
top
सब
got the kills
जगह,
on Exile,
सब जगह अपन ही
they
है.
would have made it. If he got 2 or 3
Probably.
kills and the other guys on the center turned around, they would have gotten
Huh?
3 kills or 4 kills on Exile there, doing a burger on them.
एक
and
second.
it would have been enough. Or Exile didn't get striked on from Ascent, from Keta. They could have
Pikachu
taken on
technique,
Soul
Pikachu
and won
technique,
and also
Pikachu
been in, but
technique.
nope. It's
एक
going to be
बार,
day 2 of
दो बार.
playoffs for you guys. See you tomorrow.
Pikachu technique.
Crazy stuff. And those are the results. That's the top 8 that is going to be moving through into that final. And as you mentioned, PGC points are on the line
Control C,
every
Control V,
single
Control C, Control
day
V.
of the
Huh?
playoffs and also
Control
in the
C,
grand
Control
final
V.
as well. As Phil first,
Yay!
731 damage here for Soul to lead the
God is
charge.
so
As I said, like,
kind.
he's the
Yes,
Habibi
sir.
of
Yes,
PUBG,
sir.
and
I
he's
don't
doing
have
Soul
to
proud.
love you. I love
Absolutely is. I
you.
mean, this is such a fun
वहाँ
game
तक मैं
to
सिर्फ
watch,
सब
honestly.
technical
It's
issue
one
के
where you never
चक्कर में
expect to happen, where you're so
जो
focused on the middle of
first
the table, who's qualifying and who's
उसे
not.
ट्रॉफी दे दो.
All the
हाँ क्या?
while
ये
you've
सब
got,
कुछ तो अंदर वाला मसला है. ये नहीं
Soul
मालूम
with
मेरे
a
को.
few pickaxes out looking
ये
for
मेरे को
those
नहीं मालूम क्या
diamonds, and
सीन है.
they find him in the end. It just kept going.
गोटी कह दे
Yes, it did.
baby.
Molodux as well, getting himself 5 on the board as well. The stand-in for Twisted Mind at internationals when Perfectix wasn't there, so it's not like they've gone unsated when it comes to some international performances. But it does make you wonder as well, Avenger, like how does Soul, when it comes to that, and as we take a look at the PGC points that have been earned from
PGC points
today, which will have impact later on, how does Soul how have they been practicing without Molodox for like the PGS weeks? That's got to be a little bit rough, but they still seem to make it work just fine.
Plenty of time to practice that.
Song बजाऊंगा ending में ही song बजाऊंगा मेरे को अभी देखने दो कि इंटरव्यू आ सकता है कुछ तारीफ हो सकता है song बजाऊंगा सब डांस करते करते नाचते नाचते जाएंगे टेंशन ना लो
10 points per game on an average here, but yeah, what an insane day to finish off things, whereas Santa gets hydrated just a little bit.
रुक ही नहीं रहा है चैट किधर भी बे
Code red, panic. All right, you guys at home can use half of that code
Global
and then go on social
Championship,
media as well. Find the other half and
yay!
then redeem yourself some code for some lovely, lovely G coins. So make sure to do that. I need at least one of these
सिर्फ किल
days.
से
One of them's
क्वालीफाई
got to
हुए
be
भाई
code
क्रेजी
called
भाई
Code
लास्ट
Master.
वो
Please,
कैसे
production, please.
स्लैमिंग करके
Let's
अपन ने
do
ले लिया हो
that,
जगह
please. But if you look at the standings, there has been some very important kind of moves from some of these teams, of course. We can talk about those teams that have been able to get through in the top 8, but not necessarily the ones that really came to mind straight away when we thought they were going to be able to make the top 8. But before we do that, let's check in with Virtus Pro and some of their comms from the previous game on Erangel.
Top 2 from PGC points also qualify for AWC.
Nice.
Bro, मेरे को एक बात बताओ, ये easy game, are you telling me easy game हम लोग को वापस खेलना पड़ेगा? खेलेंगे भाई, कोई सीन नहीं, कोई सीन नहीं, खेलेंगे, खेलेंगे, कोई सीन नहीं, कोई सीन नहीं. Fuck बे, #1 बे chat. हाँ? पहला मैप एरेंगल #16, दूसरा मैप एरेंगल #1 बे. मैप वही और दोनों टाइम जोन देखा ना किधर, अपन उधर, जोन इधर, ऐसा. वंस लेजेंड से सिर्फ किल से क्वालिफाई हो जाएंगे, रोक सको तो रोक लो. एक बात बराबर है, मेंबरशिप क्यों नहीं है तुम्हारे पास? 1000 रुपए का सुपर चैट क्या है? मेरी जान कर बेटे. लेकिन ये क्या है, ये मेरे को मालूम नहीं, ये सब कॉन्टेक्स्ट मेरे को मालूम नहीं है. मैं अभी बोल रहा हूँ, मेरे को ये सब कॉन्टेक्स्ट मालूम नहीं है. मैं एकदम नया एकदम वर्जिनली ये देख कर रहा हूँ, तो ये इधर का मेरे को कुछ मालूम नहीं है, ठीक है? तो प्लीज खतरनाक वाला कुछ बैंटर वेंटर मत कर देना, बस रिप्लाई नहीं दे पाऊंगा. नकुल सेड इट स्ट्रीम, नकुल सेड इट सीम्स. किसको? आधा मसाला मत दे. किसको बोला, किसको? स्पिल द टी. हाँ, स्पिल द टी. इंटरव्यू में बोला था. किसको? लेकिन होस्ट को. थैंक यू फॉर द 1000 once again मेरी जान कर रहे हैं. सुनील सिंह भाई, लव यू, लव यू. जनरल स्टेटमेंट है कि किल से क्वालिफाई होंगे, नो नीड ऑफ प्राइज मनी. अच्छा सॉरी, पोजीशन पॉइंट्स गांड पड़ गई थी मेरी. पोजीशन पीपी क्यों पीपी है ना, अलग अलग तरीके का, अलग अलग लोगों का अलग अलग रहता है. वो पीपी का थोड़ा मेरे को कंफ्यूजन हो गया था. W अपने है क्या? किसका है?
Hello, Abby. How are you doing, mate?
EB का. अपन आने वाले हैं क्या यार? अपन आने वाला है क्या?
Better after watching the great action from
भाई Vitality को क्या हो गया? Sorry Vitality भाई. I would really like to apologize.
Good whilst doing it. My first question.
Congratulations भैया. Love you Mandy भाई. Love you.
Back of winning PGS 3.
Thank you for the 109 मेरी जान कर रहे हैं.
Very high for you guys. So kind of I want to
मजा आ गया बे.
High as well as what do you think of the teams coming?
भाई मेरे को सच्ची लगा नहीं था ये लोग मेरे जैसे खेलेंगे, लेकिन
kind of two questions very different to one another.
अच्छा रोटेशन था, सब एकदम परफेक्ट. नेड वेट सब ना. एक दिन में खेला था स्ट्रीम पे ये गेम, कॉपी कर लिया बे. स्टैट्स.
A lot of issues there as well.
Stats.
I mean, not a lot of issues, but we went through some things in the first 2 weeks. So it felt really good to come back strong. We got back here, everyone got back home, and we instantly started practicing again because everyone's still super motivated.
First match
we want to play versus the EU teams again to see what's going on. And yeah, meta. I don't know. Sorry, what was the other question?
Basically about the Cups teams, right? Because I think that I think Europe's just, or EMEA is just a very
Cups teams मतलब खतरनाक वाले क्वालिफायर से आने वाले कप टीम्स होते हैं क्या?
Still hang with some of the guys at the top despite being in inverted commas Cups teams. So what did you kind of make of the lobby?
Cups teams क्या है? Cups teams क्या है?
Those teams coming in.
I mean, I think that level definitely went up a little bit in EU. Like we have teams like Yoga Bonita now who are like showing how strong they are as well, and a few other teams. So it's not going to be only the same teams, I feel like, that we're used to, especially with the TPP shift as well. So
as a PUBG PC
yeah,
player
looking forward to seeing
का नाम याद रखना चाहिए. They are the new goats. बात तो है.
Your question?
Yeah, obviously.
Ice Boy, thank you for the 1500 as one बोलते हैं. #1OP baby.
your guys' kind of approach to this? Because obviously
Hashtag
your first
1 OP.
today, much like the first 2 weeks of PGS in Korea, only 3 points.
Thank you for the invited. I love you, मेरे जान कोटे.
What's the kind of approach both of you?
Team competing in global events are cup teams. Basically, BAP teams. Cup teams is equal to BAP teams.
Best of 5 days because there's so much on the line every single day.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we don't really have like a particular plan.
Shubhamay, thank you for the 20.
Play these games the same as we would do in the finals. But what is very important is that we notify when we cannot play for the win anymore so that we get those few extra points. But yeah, we started off a little bit slow today, like you said, with 3 or 4 points.
Slow,
but to be honest, we didn't really speak about it too much, and we just went into game 3, and then we ended with like 13, 15 points, and then we started rolling a little bit from there in the confidence. But yeah, I just know that this team can shift. But I know that everyone's mental is very good in this team. Everyone's positive. There's not like people that are like tilted, etc. And we just go to the next one and treat it like a completely different, like a new game. So that's very important.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the last question I have to finish this off is that I think it's very obvious you guys are confident, especially if your team comes so far.
मेरे को तो लग रहा है हम लोग आने वाले चैट. मेरे हिसाब से अपने प्लेयर्स गए पार्टी करने सीधा. मेरे हिसाब से अपने प्लेयर्स सीधा गए पार्टी करने. अभी सब लोग जगह पे गाना सुनते सुनते डांस करें. स्ट्रीम एंड होने वाली है. मैं सॉन्ग बजा रहा हूँ. स्पेसशिप बाय अरिजीत सिंह. Wait a moment. Spaceship by अरिजीत सिंह. ये रहा. डांस करो, इमोजी स्पैम करो, और बाकी लोग मिलते हैं एंड में ट्विटर पे बूम बम मचा दो. ठीक है? चाओ.
हवा नु चीरदा जावे लगे बास दी चोंजा हट हथ नहीं आंदा जट नहीं फड़ लेंदे इफ दे कट गैसोलीना फुल्ला टैंकी हत्थां विच बूजिया महंगी दे लाउंदे जांदे अड़िए नी सिर लाइटां लगदियां तारे चढ़े सरां नूं ने पारे जांदी उड्डदी फरारी लगे स्पैश लाइटां लगदियां तारे चढ़े सरां नूं ने पारे जांदी उड्डदी फरारी लगे स्पैश V12 इंजन ते गुंजे ललकार ने लहरन दी सेना नालों तेज रफ्तार ने 3 डिग्री हाईवे ते उड्डणे नूं जांदी जिद्दां इंजने लाया हुंदा बब लज़ार ने रौला सुणकार दा नी सीने उड्डी डारदा नी टैरां देख रोडे उत्ते छड्डी लट्टां लगदियां तारे चढ़े सरां ने पारे जांदी उड्डदी फरारी लगे स्पेस लट्टां लगदियां तारे चढ़े सरां ने पारे जांदी उड्डदी फरारी लगे स्पेस लाइटां लगदियां तारे चढ़े सरां ने पारे जांदी उड्डदी फरारी लगे स्पेस